Bing. All right, just wanted to double check the mics, make sure the mic's good. We can get ready to get into it. Real quick, before we get into the episode, I do want to thank everybody who came and, of course, made it over to the YouTube channel from the podcast app. I'm sure I know everybody haven't made it over yet because some people, take weeks off or whatever case may be. So I'm sure probably still got to get more people hip to the YouTube channel. But I do appreciate everybody for listening. And then real quick, a conversation that I had quite a bit on social media over the week was just I guess one of the sayings that people, especially people who got podcasts, or even if you're on social media and you kind of voice your opinion on the daily, I would tell everybody, and I even told people, like, stop sitting here saying, well, man, the media don't coverage it or whatever the case may be. Why the media don't do this? I'm like, bro, you can't realistically rely on whatever media form it is, whatever we talking about. It don't matter if we talking about sports. And of course it came from sports because a lot of people get upset because they feel like Angel Reese don't get enough coverage, where they kind of from the ESPNs or whatever case may be. And like I told people, if you got your own podcast, you kind of be able to believe in yourself to the point where you can't keep looking at yourself like, because if you treat yourself like you regular, other people gonna treat you like you regular. If you don't kind of feel like your voice mean anything, that's how other people gonna view you. And I know for a lot of people, especially if the views is not there when you're originally starting, it's easier to kind of not see yourself in that space, or even to feel like your voice ain't actually being heard like you wanted to be heard. But I just would tell people to just keep posting. Like I couldn't tell people no other thing than just keep posting. And if you even watch how like the media, sports media play out, even we'll talk about it a little bit later with Stephen A. and Jaylen Brown, right? It's just sometimes realistically, I feel like it's 2024. I feel like if you just kind of relying on sports media or the regular news or whoever to kind of give you the voice or talk about stuff that you want to talk about, you kind of see that they consistently not talking about it, or the way they talking about it is not being properly delivered. All I would just tell you is you got your own microphone and use it. Because I seen so many podcasts, and I was writing under there, John, like, bro, stop complaining. Then do it yourself. Like, you cannot sit here if you got your own mic and you complaining about what ESPN ain't doing. Like, you kind of almost like you defeating yourself in front of your audience or somebody who may want to eventually become an audience member. So you kind of just realistically, you already shutting yourself down. So I would just recommend to anybody, no matter how big or how small you feel like your platform is already, even if it's like you literally just doing social media clips, or you're doing your podcast, you're doing your YouTube channel, or believe in yourself. And whatever you feel like the void is, and that's one thing I would tell people, just study the landscape of whatever you're trying to get into, because you can't realistically, you can pay attention like, oh, this is a space that's missing. Like, bro, my Angel Reese Jones do so many numbers. I'm like, thanks. I'm happy that Stephen A. and them don't talk about it, because you leave a space open. And then I think, just again, for me, kind of just studying just the media space in general, I kind of just know what just certain men just don't look like. So when you get a man with women kind of like, all right, this dude have decent looking, or he always talk about other sports too, so he talking about the women, they appreciate it so much, 100 times more. Or like they be in my TikTok all day long, just thanking me, like, or even on Threads. Like Threads WNBA community is huge, but so many women be surprised that a man that just looked like a man that they may still sleep with actually even just going in depth and having depth conversations about the WNBA. So for any man listening, like, don't sit here, or any woman, no matter who you are, don't kind of just discourage yourself and trying to just pay attention to what's going on, and you can kind of figure out your own sweet space. Of course, I'm going give me like 30-40 minutes. My grand slam for Angel Reese is going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I do want to kind of thank her for just taking that choke slam, kind of almost absolutely stop people from talking about Caitlin Clark. And I appreciate you for taking that slam for the goddamn culture. I appreciate you, Angel Reese, and I'll definitely, like I said, give me like 30 minutes, and we definitely gonna get an Angel Reese for sure. So, of course, for people who don't know what's going on, and it was a huge conversation piece on social media. Deandra Sanders, of course, that's Deion Sanders' oldest daughter, is, of course, she's pregnant with Jacquees' baby. I believe they had their baby shower already, and their gender reveal, so they are having a boy. And Jacquees basically wanted it to be named a junior, and she kindly just shut it down. Like, nah, that one not gonna work for me because we're not married. And of course, a lot of people was. And I agree with most people that, like, all right, this should have been a conversation y'all already should have had before y'all actually sit here and lay down and had kids, because it's kind of crazy where it's like, you having it where it's like you already pregnant. It's like I feel like that conversation is a little too already late, and I do think that is one of the. I mean, of course, a conversation piece that we all have, especially in 2024, how freely people just move when it comes to having sex. When you're just jumping into having raw sex, and people realistically, you're just not having those conversations. So not having that conversation, it just like, all right, dog, what are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna sit here and now you got a kid and you telling and him realistically for him, it's like. You in a lose-lose situation because that last name just realistically carried more weight. Even if y'all was married, I'm sure realistically she would probably do the Gabrielle Union thing where it's like, I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure Gabrielle Union changed her last name, but everybody still call her Gabrielle Union. So it's not like a Gabrielle Union / Wade because people so already familiar with that name. And then realistically, on my thing, especially to a lot of the women, I seen, and this is not a shot, but it is a shot, bro. Just have a relationship with y'all parent, with y'all dad or your brother or your cousin or somebody, because you the first thing you jump in the comments section, oh, their name only carried weight in the 90s. Like, bro, slow down. Go find a man who actually loves you so you can know what you're talking about before you just be in the comment section actually just loud and wrong. Because the younger Shadir Sanders is about to he realistically projected to be the #1 draft pick in the NFL. So, hey, there goes that for granted. And then Deion Sanders literally for 2 years in a row now that sold out the Colorado season tickets before the season even started. Like, slow down. The man got a show on Amazon with his entire family. So making it seem like, and literally had every whatever top A-list celebrity from A to Z at damn near every game until they just started losing and people kind of just. Of course, what black people do, we hop off the bandwagon quick. But before they started losing, when they had a winning season, and realistically for most people, where was new to sports betting, like sports betting, literally, especially even for the DMV area, got legal in Maryland over the summertime. The first big hit for most people, especially if you don't bet baseball, was the Colorado TCU game. So that's what I'm saying. For people to just the first thing you sit here and say is, oh, his last name don't mean nothing no more. Yeah, I'm sorry. You just need to be a little bit more in touch on. Just find a man who loves you and just have those conversations. That's why I do think I'm not necessarily saying that women have to be that indulged in sports, but just be a little bit knowledgeable so you won't have those loud, ridiculous outlines. Because nobody knows Jacquees' last name. Like, let's be serious. We wouldn't even be having this conversation about Jacquees if this wasn't Deion Sanders' daughter. If this was him and Dreezy, nobody would care. Only reason why we care is because this is Deion Sanders' daughter. And that Sanders name right now and that family is very popular, especially in the sports world. And then that trickles down to social media. And even when we talk about just one of Marcus' famous things, when he bring up Joe Rogan and Joe Budden, it's like, well, Joe Rogan don't never be on the shade room or whatever the case may be. So, and that was one of the things I forgot when we was arguing last week when we was talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You kind of can't move when you was hit champion to Joe Budden and you kind of try to show shade at Joe Rogan. You can't sit here and be like, oh, at 1 second, it's cool if you make the shade room. Then the next second, when you're trying to defend your topic, the shade room don't matter no more. But that's a conversation we can have just a little bit later. But again, like I said, that is for that little generation of people of that Sanders family, they still big on all platforms, dog. So, like I said, I think that is a conversation realistically you should have early, dog. Like, that's a conversation you kind of have when you're just dating. Even if you're just flirting around with just like you having raw sex like the dog. How do y'all don't have that conversation where it's like, I didn't have it just recklessly a million times, like, oh, I'm trying to have a little Mikey or whatever the case may be. I still don't have no kids, but I've had that conversation probably way too many times. So for it to come up and he literally just on the jump and his face looked like his body, like his soul literally just left his body. I'm like, damn, dog, you all right? Like, you can literally look like he probably wanted to go cry somewhere. And don't get it twisted. I seen some people trying to defend him, like, oh, but it was not even the defense part. It was kind of nasty because people were like, well, just go get another girl pregnant and they can take your last name. I'm like, huh? How did that answer the question? Like, that's just so weird. And some people was like, oh, well, marriage is a setup anyway, so why she care about getting married? I'm like, bro, what are we talking about? So you cool with just sitting here, just bringing a bunch of kids in here and you just want to skip the whole marriage conversation. Like, I like what she said, but to me, it was just too late. Like, you can't have the marriage conversation after the kid is already healed. You trying to kind of peer pressure him. And to me, if he was smart, you probably should marry her, dog. Like, I'm not a Jacquees fan, so my upside and belief in him and where he think his career going to turn around, I don't see it. So I do think he hit the lottery and you kind of should play it smart. So, I mean, like, look at Corday. Corday played it smart. You don't see Corday geeking to put out no new music. He know he hit the jackpot. He's cool. And he can really rap and make decent music. But he was okay with sitting here saying, yeah, I surrender. I'm going to wave my white flag on this one. Cool. My baby mom's is like, she makes $60 million in 1 year. What are we doing? So, like I said, I think that is a conversation realistically that Jacquees and it should have had early.
I mean, even if you had it early or late, I mean, some people, feelings change about situations. So we could have had this conversation earlier, like, yeah, I'm for it. But then later on down the line, you probably realize, oh, I don't want to have the last name. You can have that conversation. People can change their mind.
No, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that people can't change their mind or it can't happen. But I do think realistically, if his last name carried a lot more weight, I don't necessarily know if it would be a change of heart. Because let's be clear, I think some women, if you're actually infatuated with that man or what he has created, some people you'd be geeked. Like, look how many girls just be geeked to have some of these celebrities' kids just because who this celebrity is. Like, even look at dog. Let's be clear, and this is no disrespect, dog. Look at the crazy names the Future get to name his kids. One of his son with Joy is called Hendrix, and his other son is Baby Future. His real name, his kid's name is named after his album. So like that's it. So it depends on how much the woman. Again, we always had a conversation. If you are really him, that's the conversation when we talk about Shaq or whatever case may be. It's some dudes who really just him, and women just are geeked to have your kid. And the Future is the perfect example that we can all sit here and say how trash of a father he is, but he kind of, when them women were in love with him, you obviously see, voila, look what they allowed him to name their sons. This man's son name is Hendrix. So it's a huge difference between, like, yeah, if I don't really like you like that, or I don't think you ought to catch. And obviously, we've seen enough shade from Deion Sanders where that family feel like he ain't the catch. He got lucky by getting her pregnant. Like Deion came around a little bit where he kind of like, all right, obviously the baby about to be here. This is about to be my first grandkid because this is my oldest kid. I'm kind of like, I'm. What else can I really do? Ain't too much I can honestly do but sit here and say, all right, well, you got it.
Okay, so is this the same as young boy and Floyd Mayweather's daughter?
No, because I think people probably look at it a little bit different because the Floyd Mayweather dynamic, his family dynamic. Like, to be honest, I guess for people, if like you're not a diehard Floyd Mayweather fan, I'm just, for me personally, because I'm not a diehard Floyd fan. To me, with the grandson, to me, it seemed like this is the most he's been hands-on. But to shoot him some bail, that's kind of like with our parents. Like, they are way more hands-on as grandparents than they were parents because, of course, they were working their jobs, you're chasing your career, you're trying to balance, be able to build up a career and still have kids. So I think for Floyd, with his kids, he was majority, he Floyd Mayweather, he Money Mayweather. So he out building a brand, he chasing his career. But now he retired and I don't got to train for boxing no more. He's literally like, you see his grandson with him more than you have ever seen any of his actual kids.
But right, but what I'm asking is that last name, the Mayweather last name, carry more weight than whatever a young boy name is. Because I feel like that's kind of like the same.
Yeah, but I think realistically, NBA young boy, I don't even remember what his last name is, but his music career is way bigger than Jacquees. So it'll be a different argument.
And I get that part, but what I'm kind of. But still, it's still that sports name or whatever, the Mayweather, because it's in sports and because who her father is, I feel like it's still going to trump whatever his last name.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
He don't go by his last name.
Of course.
So that's why I feel like it's still the same. It's kind of the same scenario.
But it's the same scenario. But the scenario will be different. Is how do the daughter value? Like, so basically, Deion Sanders' daughter kind of like she pulled almost like the trump card, where it's like, I'm just kind of going like big last name over little last name for the difference. I do agree with what you're saying. If that same conversation was to come up between Floyd Mayweather's daughter and NBA YoungBoy, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think it never came up because again, when we talk about the him conversation, like if you can see this girl stabbed somebody for this boy, so she actually just loved him and infatuated him. So I don't necessarily know sometimes if that conversation ever came up. So I think that's the little bit of the difference. Oh, again, on talking about the him situation, because I feel like this conversation ain't gonna be for everybody, and I think it depends on how the woman just actually treat you or how she feel about you. Because like I said, I've had that conversation so like loosely and freely, but women was always with it. Like there was never up for a debate. Like women was cool. Like, oh yeah, little Mikey, that's cool. We can name that. Like they was okay with that off the rip. So I think sometimes when we having these conversations, that's why I say I kind of felt bad for Jacquees because the world gets to kind of see her feel like you really ain't you ain't the big dog in this relationship.
But is she? Because at the end,
I think just because of the last name, like with her actual accomplishments on her own, then yeah, absolutely not. If she was just a regular girl and her dad wasn't Deion Sanders, you're absolutely right. Jacquees would be the bigger deal, but I think the stances are the stances.
But you naming the baby, whatever, Saunders, like who's going to assume that that's Deion Sanders?
And that's the thing I was going to say too, because I just feel like, yeah, you might have the last name, but it's just like, it ain't come from Deion. You came from one of Deion's children. So it's like, is it still the same?
Yeah, only reason why I would say yes, because we got to look at it like the Kardashians. people still treat them like, think about how they treat the kids. Like, it's still like, it's a Kardashian. That wasn't their last name. That's the last name that they have. No, but let's be clear. Kim has enhanced the last name, but the last name is still just a Kardashian last name. So it's kind of realistically in the black thing, we kind of would realistically, we just keeping it respectful. You treat that Sanders last name the same way we would treat the Kardashian last name. Because look at all of them. It's just like, what have some of them done? Like some of this, I don't know how many kids it is, but I know like the main three is what is Kim, Chloe, and then it's the youngest one, Kylie, and her last name ain't even Kardashian, it's Jenner. So it's just like that is just a little bit different. So so I'm saying, like, what did any of them do? But they use the last name to their advantage. They use the stardom to kind of like boost them up. I think Jacquees, if I'm him or if I'm his management team, you can't let your ego get the best of you. Don't let your ego, don't let this conversation tear you away from being a dad, because you showing up as a dad, you can build a brand around that. And I think sometimes some people just don't know how to deal the cost. Like you can allow your ego to get you butthurt, and then you kind of see and say, "Oh, she played with me." The social media, because don't get it twisted, she tried to defend him. Like she came back after she seen how the way social media, because of course people put stuff on the YouTube channel, and then again, like when we talk about the shade room, you never know which one of these blogs is gonna pick up these conversations because it's just on your YouTube channel. You feel like of course, I'm building my YouTube channel, my community. They may they evaluate stuff a little bit differently because they already may know you for just a longer term. So is that relationship is just a little bit different. Where for now the blogs pick it up, everybody ain't your fan like they is on your YouTube channel. So it's a little bit different. So now they judging it completely different from the people that you originally put the content out for. And they giving their opinion, and then she tried to defend them. Like, I didn't say that, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. And me and the homegirls having, I'm like, bro, she should have just stood on business. What you said was what you said, and a lot of people agree with what you said. Now, the way you had the conversation, yeah, you should have had the marriage conversation and told this man all this before laying down and bringing a kid into the world. Like, you can't, it's like kind of wild. You just throwing the conversation up now, and you already pregnant.
But it's kind of crazy, because let's just say she names the baby Sanders, and then they do get married.
Mm-hmm.
She can change her last name. It's going to be different to try to change the baby last name. So why not just name him the last name anyway? So
then, because my thing, when I agree with what you said, but when I heard that, I felt like she kind of knew that he wasn't going to jump out there and marry her. So which could be a red flag and could be a negative reaction as well, because it's like, if you really felt this firm on, like even I think she kind of like tried to throw like some Bible into it a little bit. If you really felt firm on all of that belief, of course, most people would say, well, you shouldn't have had sex with him before marriage in the first place. If that's the route that you wanted to take, because that was, I can't remember verbatim, but that it was one of the things that she tried to throw in there when they was having a conversation and try to make it seem more about a religious thing. So you're absolutely right. But I felt like when she said that to him, I think she feel like he never probably even thought about sitting here and marrying her. So you want me to change the last name, and the chances of realistically of us not being together is probably more. That's probably closer to that chance of really actually what's going to how way it realistically will probably play out, and that's probably how she really feels. So it's like, why me sit here and give you the last name, and then you end up just being a baby father.
But he's still a father. Because I mean, like I said, just speaking on that on the whole name, situation. I mean, me personally, I know how it is. I feel like, at the end of the day, if he is the father, if that's your truth, why wouldn't you carry his last name? If regardless of which you might think somebody else, but at the end of the day, even if y'all, so let's say y'all separate, whatever y'all don't, and then you get married to somebody else, that's your son is still gonna carry on your father's. You know what I'm saying? The Sanders name is not carrying your last name. So I mean, what would make, if it's still that's his kid, he's in his child's life, why would you just give him the last name? I mean, I can get it. Like I said, the whole junior. A lot of people don't like the whole junior situation, but even at the end of the day, I mean, the last name is, I would want my son to carry on my last name too. I get what you're saying, but then I guess I don't necessarily listen. I guess we can, even if we just go on, I guess a little bit more into, I guess, the conversation. Even think about the lead up to how we found out she was originally pregnant. It was because of Dreezy. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because she wanted to come out and sit here and say it first. So if in that, all of that is planning in the back of her mind, she may feel like, nigga, I don't necessarily know how much I can really rely on you. Yeah, all of what we saying is cool if he was just some stand-up dude, but you got to think about it. His ex-girlfriend was the one who exposed and told the world that he was pregnant first, that she was pregnant first. So it's kind of like, and now that you say that situation, then I get more reason why I don't want to do, you know what I'm saying, like, because what if I really was a sneaky link, or I was, I really wasn't your main joint. Now you got this baby and you put me in this, but nah, I don't know how it's gonna plan out for it. And I get that. Like I said, long run, long term, I don't know if he's gonna be here or if he's gonna be a part of it. Why would I attach him to it? And I understand that part, but I mean, you chose to be with him too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of those. I think to me, the biggest thing, I guess, when we're talking about just dating, how so many people skip so many steps. And it's not even just realistically not seeing him like saying, of course, one of Marcus' favorite lines is nobody's perfect, but we do got to kind of sit here and highlight where it's when you see stories like this, and that's why I like to talk about these stories instead of just relationship topics, because this is a relationship topic and it's a life topic. But I think a lot of people just skip so many steps and we just get straight to the raw sex. And then like now we get hit with a real life situation. We got to figure out this situation, and that is like we damn near almost too late because we skip so many parts because we just be so horny and so willy-nilly and just geeking. It's kind of like, all right, dog, like what we doing? Like, how do we just get here and skip so many? Like that to me seems like a conversation that should have been had when you're getting to know somebody. Like just even how important that is. Like if that's important to you, you could make a nigga wait if you wanted to. I ain't saying you got to wait for marriage, but you could have wait until you felt like something that like it was gonna be a real thing. Like not just posting some week vacation pictures like here and there, because that's kind of realistically what they was doing. Like they was just like randomly just posting like, a vacation picture or a Christmas picture. Like you don't like, I don't necessarily, I feel like you miss a lot of real conversation. It was just kind of played out when you looking at it right now, where it's like, I feel like you skipped a lot of steps. And I feel like a lot of people do that, especially in 2024. And I agree with what you're saying. Some people you can have those conversations, but then it's like,
so question though, if you in those, and when you say having those conversations in those scenarios or whatever, if you, and let's say you didn't think of her being your wife, or you thinking it being that serious, so maybe you didn't have that conversation, but do that still disqualify her? You're like, all right, when I first started talking to you, I ain't see, we was probably be hit it, going about our business, but then I started catching feelings with you. So did you? I mean, you might have skipped that step because I didn't plan for it to be this serious, but later on now, let's say 3 months later, now I'm in love with you.
I mean, I get. Let's say if you skipped it early, but I know. Let's be real. I mean, we all adults in here, and I'm sure 90% of the people listening are adults. So you know how sex leading up to it ain't 9 times out of 10 it don't happen the very first time. Like not saying it don't happen, but 9 times out of 10, especially if somebody in a relationship, it didn't happen the first time y'all had sex raw. So you know for a fact how intimate y'all getting when y'all having sex. Though them conversations gotta change. It can't, your conversations every day and y'all having raw sex can't just be like, hey, what you doing? How was your day? This, that, like, come on, dog. We eventually got
like that.
But that's my, and those be, but listen to what I'm saying. But those be the people like that you should have a red flag towards, where it's like, bro, when we gonna sit here and have a real conversation what we got going on? And to me, and that's where sometimes you gotta allow it to be like, I done had those conversations with women, and sometimes if your answer ain't the answer they're looking for, they would just go shoot and be like, all right, cool, you're not for me. But to me, I can respect that more knowing what I said. Like I remember, like especially doing like what was that? Like right before the winter time, and I was just like literally probably messed around with this girl like 2 or 3 times, and then she was like, and I think I just did an episode on somebody else, John, and it was like about cuffing season, and then she asked me like, oh, is this just like some little sneaky link, or is it just cuffing season? And I'm like, bro, it ain't even winter time yet. I'm not like, I don't know, like we literally had sex twice. What you want me to tell you? I don't know. But that answer for her wasn't the answer she was looking for. So I respect it. Though she never wrote me back ever again after I said, I don't know.
Well, that was your answer.
What? I don't know?
Yes. You know how they say no answer is an answer? I don't know is an answer. Because if you knew, it would be yes or no.
I agree
see, that's why I say with them conversations is like, how soon are you really having this conversation? Or damn, do you feel the same way later on? You know what I'm saying? Like you can have that conversation. But damn, what about later on? I don't feel that same way no more.
But listen, I get it, but that's my thing of why I agree. I definitely agree with what Eric is saying. I agree that when you give that answer, it's kind of the answer. Maybe it's not the answer that person looking for, but at that time, I don't want to mislead you because I can easily gas and say, "Oh yeah, this ain't. It's just whatever. We're gonna enjoy the holidays. We're gonna build something from there." But I don't want to give you that extra gas because I just know realistically that's not the headspace I'm in. So I'd rather give you my honest answer and say I don't know because it's like literally we linked up super fast. So this literally like this 2 times of having sex. You talking about maybe it might be a 2-week span. I don't really know you like that. So I don't want to, especially close. Y'all know me if you've been listening to this show long enough. When it get closer to the holidays, I ain't jumping out the window for nobody. So you sitting here looking at it like cuffing season because it's cold. I'm looking at it like on some financial shit. Do I really want to commit to spending some bread around Christmas time or have to sit here and bring somebody to Thanksgiving or whatever the case may be? So you're absolutely right. That I don't know answer. That's why I can respect her response. I never double text. I never did nothing because I felt like, all right, I get it. That wasn't the answer she was looking for.
It was the answer. It was the honest answer.
Of course, but it wasn't the answer she wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But that's so again why I said sometimes you gotta have those conversations where you can't be that delusional and be like, I'm gonna just keep avoiding the conversation.
But you have some people that will lie to get what they want. So I was like, oh yeah, I love you. I can see myself being with you, and later down the line to have a baby or whatever, and then they don't want nothing to do with it.
See, and that's why I say even having that conversation, if you did have that conversation, then later on it ain't work out.
Yeah, I mean that's where of course, and that's where it kind of get tricky. That is honestly where it gets very tricky. And then I guess we can tie it in where we don't have to keep it in a relationship place and don't got to go too far, because it is of course like the cookout season, and I do feel like cookouts may be a little bit more loosely when it comes to dating. So we of course had a family cookout over the weekend, and I was over just ear hustling, just conversations where it was like an older couple and one of our older cousins, and they were sitting here saying like, oh, they was about to literally, I think they was waiting until 12 o'clock. They was about to celebrate their 20th anniversary for marriage. And one of the dudes, he was just joking with our older cousin husband. And he was like, man, yeah, we was kept out there. They had like a little vacation spot that they go to like Deep Creek sometime in the year. They go consistently. And he was the only man that was consistently there for 9 years. I think they went like, I forgot how many years they've been in a row, but he made a joke of it like, dog, I'm the only dude here consistently every year. Everybody else keeps swapping out their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever the case may be. And so then my older cousin, her husband, he was like, and he remembered the story. He was like, yeah, I remember I told you that I was going to be here the next year. And then they was joked about it. He was like, yeah, you said it. And you've been around for the last 9 years. So, but I'm just thinking about that conversation. It was just like, how soon, I guess when we talking about like of course, I think realistically the safer, I guess, holidays for most people who are dating is cookout season, because it's not as intimate as like Christmas or Thanksgiving. But then I guess, like, do you start to judge like your cousins or your friends who consistently bring new people, or do you see how soon is like, if you come out of a long-term relationship, like let's say if you've been with somebody for 10 years and you've been bringing that person for 10, how soon do you bring somebody new?
I think it's on you.
On you to what? Like, did whoever say something? Because
the image you trying to keep up. That's what I'm saying. I think it's all on you. If you trying to keep up, I got a man all the time, or I'm always with a man, or always got my significant other wherever I go. Then yeah, you probably feel like, I got to bring somebody to the next function because now they know I'm divorced. I need a new,
that's crazy,
I think it's all on you. What's playing in your head? Because if somebody who don't care, no, it's just my friend. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I think it's just on you how you interpret it or how you feel about it, or what your image portray to everybody else is.
Yeah, because I heard one of the ladies, or the same lady who was her husband, they was waiting for the 20th anniversary. She was saying how one of her homegirls been divorced twice, and she's like, yeah, I went to both of her weddings, I'm always there for her. I'm like, damn, like that, how many, like, you talking about she's looking for a new dude right now? She already had 2 divorces, and you in your case of sitting here trying to date somebody else. And that's what my only thing was like, sometimes like, when do you give it a break? And I'm just bringing it into just the holidays. I do feel like, of course, like cookouts or family functions is kind of where you get to see those, how different your family members may move. But I'm just looking at it like, damn, dog, when do you take a break? You sit here and already had 2 divorces, and then you sitting here about this.
Some people just keep on. Like I said, I think it all depends on the person.
Do you think is that people just need to be in a relationship?
Some people, to validate them. Or just because you just don't want to be alone. It's a big, like, everybody like, nobody wants to die alone. But sometimes marriage relationships aren't for everybody. But it's the thing, like, you by yourself and you lonely. So people just want to have some type of companionship.
Yeah, that one's tough. That, I'm not gonna lie to you, that is one of the tougher things. And when
how do you swerve an invite?
I feel like I feel like you're a complete jerk if you swerve a cookout invite. Like a cookout one is the one I feel like you can kind of get off.
Okay, but let's just go tie back into the whole Jacquees situation. If you and her is not, we're not on that level. Do I really want to be around that?
Yeah, because it's just a cookout, dog. I feel like the cookouts is the easy. That's why I even kind of wanted to bring this conversation in, because I feel like during the summertime it's a little bit more easier, because even cookouts, everybody can just invite friends or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't feel like cookouts is not as intimate as like Christmas or Thanksgiving, because you're not giving away gifts. It's not as cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a cookout is just like a free falling jump where it's like everybody just coming, and if you got some friends with you, whatever the case may be, it probably depends on the age group of your family members, how old or how young. I think because most cookouts stop because of somebody's family member, then it'd be a bunch of other extra people. So I think that one is not as relationship commitment as it is if you sitting here doing it like, and you actually dating somebody. Yeah, I don't know though. Like during the wintertime, I feel like those holidays is a little bit more, they mean a little bit more. I feel like the cookout season, you kind of just can get off whatever you want, to be honest. What else was going on in the world? Oh, matter of fact, before I did see this, I gotta get into this pastor. He is out of pocket, though. For people who don't know who that is or what's going on in this clip, this is a 63-year-old pastor, and he has just got married to an 18-year-old girl. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, dog. That's trifling. I'm not gonna hold you. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, this is one of the things I hate when it comes to like the religious part, because you can tie that in when you see it, like when it's just a religious thing, and that kind of be one of the things that people who don't really have real faith, that's the first thing they're gonna run to is like, oh, see, this is why I don't go to church. This is the church people ain't nothing but hypocrites, because this is nasty work, dog. I don't care if it was in the church, outside of the church, and he tried to throw it in. And let's be clear, he absolutely right. If it wasn't in the church, we seen it when it comes to the Diddy and Young Miami thing. If this, or we seen it when it was what's the Russell Simmons' daughter, when it was. So we see people, and a lot of people do take that side of, oh, that's a come up, especially if he got some bread. I don't know how much money this pastor got, but 18 is just like, that's nasty, though. Like, that's nasty.
I just want to know, was he married before?
I'm sure he had to be. And I'm sure that's why, because I mean, that's why the conversation probably was what the conversation was. I'm sure that's why people probably were sitting here saying, oh, I can't wait to put hands on her, or I can't wait to see her. I don't know. Like I said, I was even looking at the screen thing. I don't even think his congregation is that big. Like his YouTube live, it was like 30 people on the door. So I don't necessarily, he sound like he may be like in a small church. But I do think a lot of pastors move wacky as hell. I seen, you know, so crazy because I just listened to, just because I listen to a lot of stuff. So I was listening to Tim Ross podcast, and I was just like, dog, in every industry, there's messy stuff. So he was, and I'm listening to what he was saying and the way he described it. Sure. He was shooting shots at Pastor Keon Henderson and Shawnee, and I just was like, dog. Sure. I said, hold on, time on, dog. I know this man because I follow Pastor Keon. I'm watching like he do his little walkouts when he coming to like he get out of the truck, he walking down the hallway, and it's him and Shawnee, and he showing off his outfits or whatever. So I'm watching the way he described it. I'm like, dog, are you crazy? Like, how you literally shooting at one of the biggest? But that's his thing. Like, he just don't kind of care. But he called him out where it was just like, you too worried about how you gonna look, and you telling people to come to your church because you look good, so you feel like you about to preach a great sermon. Like, I couldn't believe he took a shot with his description of it. I'm like, bro, you can't tell nobody you ain't talking to Pastor Keon, because if you follow Pastor Keon and you know that's how he give it up when he on his way into the church, who else you gonna tell me you was talking about? So when I heard it, I was just like, that's crazy that just pastors be having their own little thing.
But I say in that space, I feel like they still it's competition. I can't sit here. It's not like I can praise you all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's competition, because if your church right next to mine, I want more people to be at my church than it is yours. So I'm gonna throw my little, don't go over there low, Ricky Dick. They still been, how long they been doing for the fun,
I agree with what you're saying. And when you look at it in that form, I totally agree with what you're saying. You're absolutely right. It's still supposed to be competition. And that may be just a little naive on me, because I'm looking at it like, y'all pastors, I'm thinking that y'all should be above that or bigger than that situation. Like, that shouldn't be the bar where you still kind of just shooting at other pastors, where you kind of just like trying to throw shade at them. Like, to me, and you're absolutely right. It is still competition. I still may want to be the biggest pastor in 2024, the biggest pastor on social media or on YouTube. So you're absolutely right. It is still competition. But just me, somebody like it really actually listening to the word, I kind of just look at it like, damn, I thought y'all was above shooting shots at each other. But you're absolutely right. It still is competition, and you kind of can't be naive to that situation. So it is that. And I guess real quick, while we still talking about dating and we talking about pastors, Jamal Bryant and y'all know I've talked about this before, how I try to get women to listen to Jamal Bryant and try to big him up. So over the weekend, he did, I guess, propose to his new fiance, and people was mixed feelings on it. And I'm even gonna play a jump. I'm gonna play this clip of his fiance before she became his fiance. She was doing like one of those like YouTube y'all know how they got the bunch of the YouTube relationship people, and they be doing different little panels, and they be going to different places. And I'm not realistically, I spoke about this a million times. I'm not a huge fan of it, especially when it is where you kind of leaning on the single women for real. They don't get it twisted. Single men listen to it. And I told the homegirl of mine, we was talking about it when she was bringing up the Jamal Brown thing to me. And in this clip I'm about to play, this lady was sitting right next to the dude. His name is Stephon Speaks, and he's huge on Twitter, and he got a big space on YouTube. And don't get it twisted, he don't just talk to women; he talk to men and women. I told her, I was like, I at one of my biggest breakup, my probably lowest point, like relationship wise, I kind of felt and went down one of the rabbit holes and was watching endless his YouTube videos. Because when you in a low space and you really feel like you don't have other people to talk to, you kind of do run to YouTube because you're looking for somebody to kind of give you some words of encouragement or some different type of advice or giving you a different outlook on life. So you feel like, all right, these people, you know, they probably know more about dating than I am, especially if they're older than you or whatever the case may be. So I ran down that rabbit hole, but I understand still because I'm a student of just speaking. I know who you're speaking to and how you kind of like pander into the audience. And that's why you get such I'm going to play this clip from her. You get this little outburst when she's speaking. Cap. I ain't gonna kill y'all with it too much. I'm gonna just play the response of a homegirl of mine when we was talking about Jamal Brown, because this was hilarious. So again, and that is one of my things. Like when I tell y'all all the time, just how women feel about Jamal Brown. Like, and I'd be trying to be like, oh, he really be preaching a good word, but so many women already have their mind made up about Jamal Brown, where it's just like it's a dub for him. They don't care whatever he said. He can have the best message ever, but they gonna always like for most women. It ain't no changing for him. He can't change. It don't matter what he say. He can preach the best pastor message you have ever heard in your life, and they gonna be like, nah, it's a dub. Because realistically, they watch those shows, and his ex-wife, was on one of the most popular ones, that Real Housewives. It's a dub because her word is gonna be gospel to them, and they seen it. They seen him cheat multiple times, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like I'm looking at the lady, and I'm like, yeah, she don't look better than your ex-wife, so I don't necessarily know unless you really actually are a changed man. I don't know if it's off the table that you're gonna be a faithful man. And that's the sad thing. But again, like I said, I mean, everybody make their own decisions, but I definitely feel like a lot of times some of these pastors do be playing wild games, especially when it comes to the relationship stuff. And I don't get it twisted. I understand because I understand realistically when I just said about Jacquees, you can lean into it, and it's a lot of money on that relationship side because it's a lot of people who are gonna go through bad breakups and they looking for a different voice. Like I just said, that's how I got hip to the Stephon Speaks dude. Like when you just sometimes people just be looking for that voice that they haven't heard from, or you don't have nobody else to turn to. So I get how easy for some people it's just like, damn, I can make millions off of preaching to women and hurt men. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I feel like I just wanted to do a little bit justice, especially to the women who've been listening to the show for a while. I feel like we've been kind of all over the place with music and sports or whatever the case may be. So just knock out a couple of those relationship topics early. But J. Cole was getting dragged. J. Cole was getting dragged on social media for his verse on Grippy. And the dude, shout out to the dude Cash Cobain. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. That's what I'm about to say. And that was a topic that I really wanted to make. Like right now, especially over the weekend, though, I want to say he had like 4 or 5 different songs on the Apple Music New Today Joe. And I was like, damn, like they are running like, and that's one thing about I guess that is the benefit from being from New York, and that is the benefit if you are willing to work with other people where you don't get the big head and just shut off completely to everybody else. Because of course he got a wave right now, and I think I want to say he produced and he rapped on the Jones, because if I'm just going off that Fisher song and that little pop and the Jones, they come in like look on YouTube, it's a beat from Cash, whatever. So I believe he makes the beats and he harmonized rap, whatever you want to call it on the song. But people were cooking J. Cole, and they was basically, of course, 2 things. It happened to J. Cole and it happened to Drake over the weekend, where everybody was clowning them, saying this is the aftermath to the Kendrick Lamar that made y'all. And let's be clear, J. Cole had that song that I think they was playing it in the club in New York right after J. Cole even apologized. Like the next day after he apologized, and he was to Kendrick Lamar, and then I think he did a show with Bass in New York. I think he was in the club in New York, and I seen the video going viral. People was like, "Oh man, J. Cole rapping on the drill beat," but people was basically like, they don't like J. Cole when he rap about sex. And the Grippy song, of course, you can use your common sense on what Grippy mean, and basically that was the whole thing. And he used the Cash Cobain flow. It's that little drill sound, but they call it sexy drill, where it's not rapping about killing people, it's rapping about just having sex or dealing with women or dating in general. So people were smoking J. Cole. Like if you go on TikTok right now, it's a challenge where they're literally people just like giving their own facial expressions or their captions to how they feel about J. Cole rapping. I seen academics post it, but I seen it on TikTok already, and people were just smoking him. And they were saying the same thing about Drake, because Drake linked into the BBL Drizzy situation. But I'm just like, dog, I don't think J. Cole does an amazing job at rapping about dating or sex. And maybe because
he do. I think, but see, my only thing about that song, and like I said, what you're saying right now, I feel the same. Mike feel the same way, but I think it's just because of that song and that beat. But if it was more of a J. Cole or, you know what I'm saying, Ari Lennox type of, you know.
Yeah, because he smoked the Summer Walker joint. Yeah, and he smoked that. He smoked even on his, what was that project he had? I can't remember the name of the project, but he got that TLC song and he talked about losing his virginity.
Yeah,
he smoked that for sure.
So he rapping about it, but I think it was just because of that whole song. It wasn't really, you know, like the slow melody. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a J. Cole kind of vibe. It was somebody else. So for to hear him rapping about sex and not really, I guess, rapping about, you know what I'm saying? Like taking, I guess, that instinct probably would kind of throw a lot of people to the loop. But
I feel like, to me, I like it because I feel like J. Cole, you giving somebody a look.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. I'm sure he didn't know that it was going to call it the same because he probably didn't need that look again because that Don Toliver song and that and Charlie Wilson, Jesus Christ. Now that is a goddamn heater, boy. That Don Toliver, Charlie Wilson, and that cat. Oh my God, send that shit to the moon. That joint is out of here, dog. I promise you, that's out of there. So again, like I said, but I'm not mad at J. Cole for doing it. It's like, dog, I don't want to box myself in, and I can't. And realistically, to me, his his verse wasn't bad, but even for him and Drake, you kind of can't. Your first song after these coming back off of the after losing in the battle, you can't come back and talking about I'm the greatest rapper of all times or I'm this, that, and the third. Like, kind of slow walk yourself back into getting into those raps. So I'm cool with saying I'm gonna do it on a feature, like I said, with Drake with Sexy Red. And I think again, what's so corny about the Kendrick Lamar fans is like everybody just first thing they get in the comments, say, look to see this what Kendrick told y'all about. I'm like, bro, nobody cared. And people who sit here saying it's not gonna be a hit with Sexy Red, bro. No, listen to what I'm saying. That song is trash. Let's be clear. That song is trash if you're not a Sexy Red fan. But if you are a fan of Sexy Red, that song is going to be one of the biggest songs of the summer. When girls get drunk, they're gonna be in.
Everybody's going to be singing.
No, exactly. Because guess what? I don't have to know how to sing. Because she sounds like dog doo-doo. She sounds like a dog literally howling at the moon. Like, bro, I was like, oh, is she serious? But again, that's Sexy Red. And that's why I was arguing with this girl on TikTok. I'm like, bro, if I'm not a huge Sexy Red fan, but one thing I have learned, the songs that I really didn't think she was going to be here after Pound Town. But she's a year later, she's still here. So it's just like, how do we realistically I can't judge a Sexy Red song. It's not meant for me to judge. It's only meant for me to get in line. You either gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. But I know for a fact my voice ain't gonna be the dictating voice of what's going to work for Sexy Red, because obviously nobody could have thought that. Okay, let's say if you thought Pound Town was just gonna be a one-hit wonder, you ain't think Ski E was gonna be Ski E. You ain't think at the beginning of the NFL season, but no, let's stay at Ski E. Think about how many men ran to Ski E. Think about that run for Ski E when she had all them football players. It was on the Jets when they hard knock like dog. So I think sometimes with people, I'm seeing people just want to get their little last bit of their Kendrick Lamar takes off of. I'm like, bro, I hear what y'all saying, and it's cool. If that's how you feel about it, that's fine, but I don't think that goes in the Sexy Red universe. I believe Sexy Red and her fans move on a different type of wavelength. I don't feel like you can bully them to think one way or kind of do whatever you want them to do. It's just not going to happen for them, dog. Like, they just completely different.
And I feel like even with that, the whole still bringing up the whole Kendrick debate, it's like it's over with. I feel like at the end of the day, you still got to move on. Nobody got killed, so it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just dragging it out, trying to make it a thing. People want to still make music. They still going to do they, regardless if they respond to each other or not. People still going to make their music. For you to just be like, oh no, yeah, he killed you. You need to address him now. But you can't. I can't keep addressing that the same situation. You get tired of hearing that shit.
And I think even, and I'm sure people. I mean, it's like for somebody like me, anytime somebody even bought, like even in that topic where people was trying to just like trash, I'm like, bro, I'm not going. If you bring up Kendrick Lamar, I'm not going to argue with you about it. Oh, whatever your opinion is, your opinion. But I just know for a fact, none of our opinions on Sexy Red is going to dictate what Sexy Red goes. And I'm gonna play this clip of what she was saying when she was getting interviewed by Gillian Wallow. And I think, and that to me, the reason I just wanted to play the beginning of that clip, because I feel like that's the space that she owns. Mm-hmm. And I think people don't understand that. Even like what she said with the dirt, like people say, oh, your tattoos look dirty, they look cheap or whatever. Bro, it's endless people out here with cheap tattoos. We, especially if you of a certain age, we all have been to tattoo parties and you done just got random tattoos. Jailhouse, and yeah, you make that joke like, oh, look like you got a jailhouse tattoo. If you see a girl with a bunch of them jokes, like she literally got sleeves and look like she did, we're like, oh, you used to just sleep around with a tattoo artist. Because how you get all these you hope you didn't pay for all these wild jail looking tattoos. So if you got a whole body hit full of cheap looking tattoos, 9 times out of 10, most people gonna think that you was sleeping with a dude who used to do tattoos, and that's just realistically what it is. But I feel like that's of a certain age of people. So again, when people sitting here trying to make it seem like Sexy Red hasn't carved the lane for herself, she did, dog. And those people are really gonna always show out, especially during the summertime. So, like I said, I've seen girls even posting like, "Oh, this is about to be my mood all summer when I'm coming back from the club drunk, or I'm leaving brunch and I'm singing to my dude. I'm calling him on my way home." Like, come on, she just got a different lane. And like,
it's like she got everybody running around to get him sexy. You can't. I get it because you like, oh, she can't really rap, but it's still catchy. You singing the tunes, you singing everything, and 9 times I'm willing to bet this jump definitely gonna ring out. And just, you know what I'm saying, just in general, like club wise and even on social media platforms. And
shout outs to Drake, because Drake just kind of was like, all right, if I can't beat him, I'm gonna join him. I'm not, I can't sit here, and that's one thing a troll, like this, even just like 50 Cent. One thing a troll gonna do, he gonna forever troll. He gonna figure out his angle, he may take his L and figure out, all right, how can I come back and troll? So of course, BBL Drizzy, shout outs to Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin was at I forget that Metro Boomin is from St. Louis. Metro Boomin was at the St. Louis Cardinals game and he was DJing. And then he literally was playing the BBL Drizzy. Everybody going crazy. And I'm sure if you're on social media, you have seen every spin of it, from the African version to the Mexican version. You done seen the sped up version, the club version. You done seen endless. I seen a dude even on TikTok, he was going viral. And he did a New Orleans version where he made it sound like a bounce song. Yeah. He did a Baltimore jump to make it seem like it was a club song. And I forget. And what he did like a 90s jump. Yeah, he did a Memphis jump. Yeah, he did a Memphis jump to it, and I want to say he did like an early '90s like Wu-Tang type of beat to it. So he flipped it different ways. So like Drake sit here and say, and the crazy thing is, Metro didn't. This is when Metro slipped up. I did not know that Metro Boomin didn't copyright that song. So that's why even if you go look on Spotify, you look at the credits for the BBL, for that Sexy Red jump, it's just produced by Tay Keith. So Metro Boomin didn't even have to clear the song. So if he left it up and didn't get it, whatever the case may be, and then somebody else claimed to be, because it's not on no streaming service. He just put it up, on his Instagram and put it up on YouTube and allow people to take it and do whatever they want to it. So it's kind of like you just threw him an alley-oop and he just linked into it. And you haven't even seen them since the song been out. You ain't seen Metro Boomin post nothing or even say anything about it or call Drake a sucker for doing it. But it's cool. Like he just linked into the joke.
They're still gonna keep your shit around.
Exactly. But like I said, that was a sweet, but that was a smart move for Drake though.
Money from that. If you ain't getting no money out of it,
you're gonna be sick. But I mean, I'm sure he probably didn't even care. I know when he made that beat
because it's in the whole midst of jokes.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it was. It was just your version of trolling on wax instead of trolling with a meme. So you realistically, you probably didn't think nothing of it. You probably didn't think that Drake was gonna go that petty and actually rap over it. It didn't kind of flip what it was standing for, where you basically making it seem like I'm paying for all the BBLs. That to me was fire. Like I'm gonna lean into the joke, but I'm still gonna kind of change the narrative a little bit, and put my own cool, clever spin to it. So I respect Drake for doing it, and I respect J. Cole again for rapping on the Cash Go Bang Joint. It's like hop on the wave early. Like I think he had like 4 songs on the jump. If I know I can't be exaggerating, right. I want to say he had to have like 4 joints that came out this week.
I want to say he got like 3 features.
He on the Don Toliver joint. That's to me the best song out of all of them. Then it was the joint with him, J. Cole, and I want to say who?
Because it was one last. I think it was one last week that came out.
I know it was one last week too, but I was trying to remember what was the other one that came out this week.
Any on one with
who else? Was it? No, it wasn't Gold.
Was it Coi Leray?
No, Coi Leray got the joint with Skilla Baby.
It's a female, right? I know they got the Ice Spice, the remix joint, but it's another female. I think he on.
I think it might have been like him, Nav, and that girl.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. It is. As a matter of fact, it's called Favor My Lady. So that's what it is. That was the third joint, and Nav was on that song. So like I said, shout out to Cash Go Bang. He is right now the go-to guy right now, especially for that sound warming up to the summer. It's something different. It's more female friendly, which is a smart move. It's the summertime, though. Like make music that women gonna actually like or want to turn up to during the summertime. Like the clubs is gonna be open. The clubs will stay open later. The brunch is going to be hitting extra hard, so you do want your music to be in heavy rotation. And real quick, before we get off that whole Kendrick Lamar topic, I did see it was 2 different videos that was going around on Twitter. One, it looked like it may have been, I want to say like some Arab, not kids, but they was probably like in their 20s. And it looked like somebody's wedding because everybody had on like suits and dresses and stuff. And they were rapping Not Like Us. Not Like Us came on and they was going crazy. So then, of course, somebody reposted the video and was like, who gonna tell them they not like they're like this don't mean y'all. Y'all are not the us in the Not Like Us. So of course people were dragging it. Then I seen there was a group of young white kids and they was rapping it word for word on crack. And these was young. These was actually kids. They rapping it word for word. And then somebody retweeted and was like, these are the people who actually like Kendrick Lamar. Besides, minus the diss stuff, if we wasn't the diss and people were just hopping on the hate Drake train, these are the people who actually support Kendrick Lamar. These are the people who actually love Pimp a Butterfly. And the dude was like, this is why I don't like it. This is why I'm not a huge Kendrick Lamar, the super woke situation, because realistically behind most of these Abby pages or these people that we don't know, outside of them, of course, we know diehard, backpack people who really may be on the Kendrick bandwagon, but they talking about for all the other miscellaneous people, when we see how crazy numbers he do, and we always throw the conversation, especially now it's on the summertime, cookout time, like people ain't running, outside of the Not Like Us, people ain't running to sit here and go play some new Kendrick during the cookout, but to watch all these white kids and watch these Arabian people in their 20s and they just turning up the Not Like Us, and it's kind of just like, yeah, that'd be the crazy thing sometimes when you just rapping so crazy and you just using like the N-word crazy and you just saying certain things. It's like it just be a little bit different. Like, don't get twisted. That's not no takeaway from the song, but it was just people kind of wanted to acknowledge that we be acting like we the only person listening to this music, and when they be talking and people rapping it word for word and we watch these songs do crazy numbers, it be kind of because it be these other people. And then again, like I said, when we talking about just the battle and like who was going to be like, let's be clear. I'm sure unless Kendrick about to drop an album, which some people was saying he was, which I doubt he probably will, the summertime going to end up rolling out, and then Drake probably going to slowly but surely take his space back with that he had before the whole beefing thing, because it's just going to be like, we still don't have a song of the summer yet. And I'm sure if you don't live on the West Coast, I don't get it twisted. I be still in the gym. I do still find throughout the week, I'm still going to play Not Like Us maybe like 10 times throughout the course of the week. If I'm working out and I go to the gym 6 days a week, out of that 6, I'm going to play that song at least 10 times. So that song, let's be clear, that song is still fire, but I don't necessarily believe it's a song of the summer. So I still feel like it leaves a space for Drake where it's like, the door kind of ain't never closed for him. So, I mean, it's just something to look forward to, something to think about. Just because, like I said, we're going into the summer and the summer's getting ready to come up. But like I said, I got to get to my girl to get this conversation out the way because she handled it like a champ. and what champs do. Oh, and we kind of didn't even talk about it last week when I said what champs do. It was that commercial that what is it? ABC and ESPN is running with for the finals, and it's called Champs Only. And throughout the commercial, they talking about, they got different champs. They got D Wade as the leader of the whole conversation, of the main person in the commercial doing the conversation. But of course, you got Draymond in the commercial. You got Queen Latifah in the commercial. You got Dirk Nowitzki in the commercial. You got what's the white dude to be bang bang bang? Mike Graney. He in the commercial. It's a bunch of different champions in the commercial that people who have won championships over the last however many years. So of course, realistically, the last two champions for the college basketball was Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, and they both do play for the Chicago Sky, so they are in the commercial as well. And she was the person who literally said champions only in the joint, and put on, and her and Camila put on their their imaginary crowns. So of course people love that one, and like I said, it kind of went under the radar. And that's why, like I said, because I'm one of those people who, I tell y'all all the time, I just literally be on social media reading different conversations, taking in everybody's hot takes or however anybody feel. And of course, realistically, to me, today will be my last time. I'm not even, because I think that's something that, especially if you are tired of hearing the conversation, you can't just keep saying Kayla Clark name. So today, for me, this episode, unless you do something out crazy, like drop a 50 ball on a team that's just like, and they win the game, I feel like you're giving somebody a voice who don't need the voice no more. Like her space in media, the bigger media outlets are already going to talk about her. So still even bringing her up is kind of pointless. And bringing her up, it kind of, to me, if we really talking about sports, we don't talk about losers in no other sport. Like, we don't sit here and talk about we ain't talking about Bryce Young. Bryce Young was the number 1 draft pick. The Carolina Panthers was doo-doo. We ain't not one time came on this platform and ever talked about Bryce Young. Not one. I don't think not one game. And I don't even like nothing. And when they play, I forget what game was that. To me, you both was watching it together, and I think they was playing the Jets, and they both was having like who was going to had the worst record in the Jones. So it's just like I said, I'm not talking about her no more. This is the last time, and I'm only talking about it because Angel Reese is just Angel Reese. Okay, so for people who don't know what happened, of course, and I do, we can get to that part, and I don't want to speed up, because I do want to sit here and say, especially because I've been on Twitter, the WNBA got some fire dating storylines. Like, for women who just literally into, like, if you like the Housewives or you like loving hip hop, bro, the WNBA got those storylines in it, and I don't be hip. So I be asking women, I'm not too cool to sit here and make it like I've been watching the WNBA for 20 years and I know all the backstory.
And that's why I told you last year how like all that stuff was going on, even with the whole Brittany Griner and Sky Diggins and all, like how stuff was just going on in their workspace. And I'm like, that's kind of sad that they don't have like the NBA TV or their own little show where they can talk about, hey, well, why is the fuel in this locker room? Who is, you know what I'm saying? Like how we got the NBA where they talk about them and we hear those rumors or whatever the case may be, such and such don't like such and such, and they used to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's even more messy now in there, and because they starting to get more of a voice, so now we starting to hear these backstories.
And then people realistically, and this is the crazy thing about the WNBA, so many women who've been watching the WNBA want to let it be known, like, I know all the backstories because I've been watching the WNBA for 20 years or whatever the case may be. So they got you hip. So realistically, like I said, I'm going to skip a week back because, of course, it will tie into the Angel Reese situation, because like I said, the lady who chokeslammed Angel Reese, I didn't know that the lady her fiance played on the Connecticut Sun too, and I believe what's her name? I know her initials is like DB, but her jersey number is 24. She was cooking. No. She dated the girl for the Indiana Fevers, the girl with the blonde hair. I was so sick that I found out that she was gay. Like, that shit kind of crushed me. I'm not gonna lie to you. But she dated a girl to play for the Indiana Fevers. I'm talking about the two taller women that play for the Connecticut Sun. One is the center, and the other one is, I think, the power forward. But the lady who there was AT, the one who choked slammed Angel Reese, that was her girlfriend, was the one number 24. So anyway, like I said, I didn't know that those two dated, and people was making like joking about it, saying that was the reason why she choked slammed Angel Reese, because she was cooking both of them. I'm like, oh, they date? I didn't know that they date, because both of them kind of look like a little bit studdish, because one girl got like the twist, and one girl is, let's be clear, number 24 is way prettier than the old head jump that chokeslam Angel Reese. But like I said, I didn't know all of that little backstory. And going back into the week before when it was the Fever versus the Connecticut Sun, I didn't necessarily know that neither. But then people pointed out that the two girls had the matching shoes. But I seen that somebody tweeted out and was like, that pussy must be good if you sitting here stopping your teammate from talking trash to somebody after they blocked their shot. And I'm like, huh, what y'all talking about? So then, of course, you see people making the video. It was, I wish I would have bookmarked the joint, but it was a little white girl who did a breakdown, and she was sitting here showing like how they both used, I think they met, they both went to Baylor. So I guess they started dating when they both went to Baylor, and then the girl with the blonde hair graduated first, and then they both end up playing, you know, for two separate teams, but they still had a relationship. And then I guess people thought that they must have broke up, and then after that little situation happened and the girl tweeted out and the tweet started to go viral and they had the matching shoes on, and the people was like, and then I think the girl with the blonde hair tweeted out like as she's supposed to, basically saying like, who, if this is your teammate, why you breaking up your teammate, getting into it with another girl? And she's like, as she's supposed to, basically letting people know, nah, that's still my girl. So that was kind of crazy. Like I said, for women who not really into the WNBA or you feel like it may be too sporty, if you can kind of catch some of these little side stories, I know for most men y'all may not care, but you may, because if it's some of these women like
we did talk about one last year. The girl, I think was the girl that went for 50.
No, we talked about that last week. The girl, she had 40. I'm talking
about last year, during the last season. It was one of them. They played on the same team. I think it was like New York or one of them. And I don't know because I think I don't. If we did, I can't remember because I think the only person that had 50 last year was Asia Wilson. She dated a dude. She don't date a girl. So I don't know about that one. But I do know for, like I said, the young lady. We talked about the young lady last week. I cannot pronounce her name, but she played for the Dallas Wings. She got a crazy one of those like African names. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not trying to screw her name up. Her jersey number is 24 though. I do know that much, and she do be cooking like niggas. She is a guy. She is literally, realistically. I seen a lot of people on Twitter comparing her to Kyrie Irving. She really get to her bucket like ridiculously. Like, bro, her 40 is like damn near effortless 40. Like she put up that 40 like easily, and I think that's realistically, again, like I said, I think that's. The Angel Reese stuff is what made the Caitlin Clark conversation go completely silent, and it kind of let people know how Angel Reese realistically probably is the bigger draw, because that same night that game happened, the Aces played the Fever. The Aces is realistically Asia Wilson. Realistically, as if you're an Angel Reese fan, that is what you want to see Angel Reese become. The way Asia Wilson plays right now, her jump shot, the way she could drive to the basket, her defense, all of that realistically is the model that you will probably realistically, you will hope that Angel Reese can get to further in her career. But just as right now, this is the defending champs. They are playing supposed to be quote unquote the hottest player in the league is Caitlin Clark. They played them like so. And let's be clear, some people may have didn't cover because she laid an egg. She had 8 points. And they got cooked. So realistically, and she played damn near the whole game. So some people probably, it's two things. All right, we ain't got to talk about it. We can just talk about Angel Reese getting slammed. And then people, but again, leading into that conversation and why Angel Reese said what she said was because people kept talking about take it easy on Caitlin Clark. Well, they were sitting here talking about the screens. When we talked about it last week, when Breonna Stewart set that screen and basically put Caitlin Clark to her knees. So that realistically, people was comparing like the hard fouls that Caitlin Clark had over the course of the 6 games that they have already played, where it was like, all right, comparing that to Angel Reese, like, bro, you talking about basketball plays to a non-basketball play. Like, people was literally calling for that AT lady to get suspended. Like, I seen like grown men who cover all types of sports saying like, nah, bro, she probably should be suspended for a couple games. But then Angel Reese kind of shot herself down. Like, she didn't get on there crying. And you seen her coach, because her coach, of course, played for the Liberty. And then everybody, like, sit here and they kind of always say that she was the one who kind of ushered in and made it easier for Rebecca Lobo to be Rebecca Lobo. She was the point guard on that New York Liberty team when the WNBA originally started. So you have all of those backstories. You had that conversation. But like I said, again, you just seen people slowly but surely, like early in the week when Charles Barkley and LeBron both had their comments, and I'm sure everybody has heard them, where LeBron was sitting here telling the girls. So that was realistically throughout the week, building up to that conversation, was Angel Reese was kind of responding. And she really talked crazy after they beat the Liberty, because the Liberty smoked the Fever twice. And the Liberty, like the first game, they beat them by like almost damn near like 30 points. So then, of course, and I'm sure for all the gamblers, nigga, that one was, I'm not gonna lie, I was so mad at myself for not betting more, because I seen it earlier. Like I want to say, I can't remember what day of the week it was, but it was the day before the jump, and I was kind of, matter of fact, it was like, I want to say the day before was game 2 of Dallas and Minnesota, and I was like, all right, let me see if I win against this Dallas and Minnesota, I'm gonna take whatever winners I get, and I'm just gonna place it on this Chicago Sky game. I mean, the Chicago and the Liberty, because I was just like, I don't want to just. Sometimes I be trying to wait, like, let me win some money and then let me bet. So I did. So I didn't end up winning because, of course, Minnesota lost. And we'll get to that in a second, because Anthony Edwards just be blown at this point. But realistically, anyway, I did. So it went down, because at first originally it was like plus 930.
So of course, for people with plus 930, let's say if I would have bet $10, you would have won $900. So that's, I mean, no, you would have, if I would, you bet, my bad. If I would have bet 10, you would have won 93. If you would have bet 100, you would have won $930. So that's what a plus 930 would have been. So I quoted it at a plus 830. So it went down to, like, literally the day before, it went down 100. But still, the Liberty, I mean, is the Liberty. They was in the championship game. They are the Liberty. They do got the reigning MVP on their team. So realistically, most people just didn't think that they were going to win that game. So they just worked the favors. And Chicago Sky came out and realistically dominated the whole entire game. Like, they lost the lead maybe once, but majority of the game, they had an 11-point lead for majority of the game. They were cooking. Man, they was cooking. They were cooking the Liberty. And Angel Reese had her breakout in the fourth quarter. And she, for the last couple of two games that they won back-to-back against the Wing and against the Liberty, it was like she kind of shined in the fourth quarter. So that was one of the reasons why people were so upset with the lead into the next game when they played the Connecticut Sun and she gets slammed, because this was the first game she had coming out the gate. She was having a great first half. She had like 11 at the first half. Like, she was literally cooking AT and her fiance. She was cooking both of them. Like, she was catching the ball at the free throw line, like hitting them with a little hezzy and driving to the bucket. Like, she had all her highlights was literally on one or the other. Like, she was literally cooking both of them. And that, like I said, that was her breakout game, because most of the games, I think she didn't, she didn't teeter, like, averaging probably like 13 points, 15 points, but most of her points have been coming in the fourth quarter. And that's even how the nickname of the fourth quarter Bobby came up, because majority of her games she showed out in the fourth quarter. So for her to have that breakout early in the game and the momentum, I'm talking about Chance the Rap, shout out to Chance the Rap, but literally his kids look just like him. Like, he had his two daughters there. D-Wade had his youngest daughter. Him and Gabrielle Union was there. It was a bunch of celebrities at that Chicago Sky game, and you could just hear it in the arena. Like, they were going crazy for them. And when she chokeslammed her, that literally changed the whole entire tempo of the game. Because realistically, you think about it, you lose your best player. That felt like most people thought the Connecticut Sun should have lost that game after losing your best player. But realistically, you don't, because it's just like, you just, the momentum completely changed on. Like, she literally knocked the whole air out of their jump, because it looked like, if you watched it in real time, it looked like Angel Reese could have been injured. Like, that didn't look like somebody was just about to get up and just, like, she laid on the ground for a minute, because that wasn't no slight slam. Like, that jump was a real live slam. Like, gosh, she got slammed 2 plays entire before that. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, if you only seen that clip, then some people may be like, damn, why the refs kick her out for that? But you realistically, it led up. She literally got slammed to the ground 2 plays. Like, and the refs let them play, like, the first 2 times. But Angel Reese was just kept, like I said, literally, she just kept bouncing up. She was literally, you watching her, that energy, like, for somebody old, that's a bet. Like, bro, ain't nobody trying to keep bouncing with this young ass girl, bouncing up and down, getting all the rebounds, putting her hips into my goddamn body. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm old. Like, relax. I get it, because it was almost like if y'all got, like, and I ain't trying to compare them to dogs, but if you got a big ass Doberman pitcher and you got a small Chihuahua, and you know how, like, the Chihuahua just keep fucking with the big dog, that was literally what Angel Reese was doing. Like, she literally, and then the girl was just like, nah, enough is enough, bro, and literally just slammed her and got thrown out the game. So that led up to it. But after that slam, bro, that team just lost its swag. And then the young lady, what is her name? Kennedy Carter. She was coming off the bench. I do think before the season is over, Kennedy Carter will be the starting point guard for the Chicago Sky, because she was balling out of her mind. Like, she was OD hooping. But she fouled out. And I was like, damn, she picked up them 6 fouls fast. It didn't seem like, so it literally, in that whole time frame, all that happened. Like, she fouled out the game. Angel Reese got slammed, and literally, like, this took the whole swag away from Chicago, and they literally lost their lead and ended up losing the game. But like I said, all of that conversation led up to, again, it was just like, even Angel Reese's response when she was telling the reporter was like, bro, because people kept trying to say, like, I'm a rookie, but ain't nobody supposed to take it. I'm a player too. Ain't nobody supposed to take it easy on me, because that was the conversation leading up to it, where people kept saying, oh, these vets need to take it easy on Caitlin Clark because she's a rookie, or she's this, whatever case may be. And that's why she, even again, after the Liberty game, she pointed out, like, the Liberty game was sold out. And that's why I even sent you the clip. Like, when they introduced her name was, people screamed the loudest, like she played for the Liberty. So it was just like, let's be clear. I think a lot of people wanted to shun, and of course, when I'm talking about a lot of people, I mean mainstream America. Mainstream America, the mainstream media, and of course, realistically, if we're being honest, and we talking about Stephen A. or we talking about Barkley, no, they get it. And we sometimes, as people, we got to be honest, they get their checks cut by white people, so they gotta pander to that audience. I'm not mad at them. Of course, you'll be sad and be like, damn, y'all black men, you want them to kind of view it the same way everybody else who ain't getting a check cut to speak how they feel. Because I'm like, you black, I'm sure y'all, I don't necessarily know what their dating history is or what their wives are like, or if they invested. Because if your wife ain't invested into the WNBA, you probably can get away with saying certain things and she probably won't care. Or even just for like LeBron. And then some people felt like with LeBron, it's like, and people was cooking LeBron. And y'all know I love LeBron, but I'm looking at him like with that take is like, bro, you ain't said nothing else about the WNBA. You ain't took up for nobody. And now you just kind of jumping out the window to take up for Caitlin Clark. It was just like, come on, dog. What are you doing? And I get why he tried to do it. You try to do it because you want people to get off of Bronny. Because he kind of in that same situation right now. He young, he's trying to figure it out, and people is cooking Bronny saying he should go back to he should go back to college and he only gonna get drafted because his dad. You hear all those conversations. So he was kind of trying to do two things. At one time, he was trying to shoot Caitlin Clark some bail, and at the same time, he was trying to get like people to, loosen up off the sun a little bit. But it was just like, come on, though, you could have zipped that one up. Like you didn't have to. So realistically, her comments, and then some people was like, they was upset, like she felt like she was dissing Caitlin Clark. No, she was talking to Charles Barkley and LeBron James. And she wanted them to know, don't sit here and people got on Shaq too, because they was like, dog, how you call Angel Reese your niece and you allowed Charles Barkley to say that and didn't give him no pushback? The only person who literally said something was Draymond Green. He's like, oh, they're gonna cook you on social media. Like you literally just walk into it. And of course, Charles Barkley don't got social media. I think he just got an Instagram page, so he probably don't care. I can say whatever I want, and I don't never really got to hear the noise. Because if you're not on social media, you don't have to hear people's response. So, like I said,
I mean, personally, I just think everybody, you don't have to be in a defense mode or even. I think you should still just appreciate the conversation. It's still a conversation being had, whether I'm praising her or not. We still having this whole conversation. We bring it light to the WNBA more. And they need to take this like the Bird and Magic era. Like the NBA, when the NBA was about to go pretty much bankrupt until you had the Bird and Magic era.
No, I think people. I don't think people. They're not. They don't. And I think that's where they're getting frustrated. It's not the fact that they don't mind the conversation or the outlook that she's putting on it, but they kind of where it's like, you're not highlighting realistically. You're not highlighting the rest of the players. It's just we're only talking about her. So if I'm watching First Take or if I'm watching any of the other sports shows or any of them, it don't matter. Pick one of them. All of them only talk about Caitlin Clark. They don't talk about nobody else. And again, I think that's why I said the conversation. I paid attention. I made sure I watched the last couple of days. I looked today and I was just like, I watched how it was no conversation at all. They didn't bring her up at all. Like they didn't talk about her because of course, like, all right, how do you, I guess, even keep your integrity as a sports commentator if you still bringing up somebody who's literally 1-6 and the only game that they won, she didn't have a great game scoring wise. Like the only game that they won, Aaliyah Boston showed up and people kept complaining and she had to even get off of Twitter. And that was my thing where I'm just like, sometimes even when in LeBron, he tried to just throw her like a little sour, like something that like, oh, AB, keep your head up, whatever. Nah. Like, don't say, if you're going to talk about it, really talk about it for real. I think that's what people get frustrated at. It's not just about not talk. If you're going to talk about it, if you're going to talk about it for real. Don't just half-heartedly and just mention Caitlin Clark and keep it moving. If you're going to mention the WNBA, have real conversations. Because Aaliyah Boston literally, for them couple games, not the last two games, but the game that they won against the Sparks and then the game that they played against the Aces, she looked like Aaliyah Boston, like how she been looking, why she was the rookie of the year last year. But earlier this season, she didn't look like herself. She looked horrible. She was playing horrible, and they was killing her on social media. They were like, "Oh, why did she like?" I'm talking about, dog. That girl got called everything besides a child of God. They were telling you that they need to fire the coach, everything, and they was putting all the blame on Aaliyah Boston. And that's what people kind of like. It's hard to sit here and say, like, you realistically, if you just still after that, if you watch the Sparks game and they won, it's hard for you to still talk. Let me keep bigging up Caitlin Clark because it's like, damn, she only had like 11 points, and she got. 6 of those the last 11, like in the last couple of seconds. Like she hit the game winning 3, but realistically, it's like she had 5. Literally, it was like she had 5 points maybe until like the last 1 minute of the game. She hit 2 big threes to help seal the deal, but realistically, Aaliyah Boston was carrying that team the whole entire game. So it's like there's no way you can steal whatever you were trying to judge it off of. You're gonna have to have a different conversation on if you're gonna continuously still want to talk about it. And then again, watching that Angel Reese get slammed, it was just like, bro, you're gonna have a different conversation. Like I said, again, my only even reason why I wanted to bring up, if you're gonna talk about the WNBA, to me, have real conversations, because I do feel like it's a lot of people who do want to learn more about the game, hear real conversations like these about the game, because you don't find them on TV. And that's, again, when I'm talking about just studying, you got to see, okay, well, it's an empty space right here. Like when I told you about academics, like he talks to an audience that's not being talked to. So if you build a platform on talking to an audience that nobody's talking to, bro, it's going to be there for you. But most people just so quick to you looking. And I understand if you're of a certain age, you kind of almost brainwashed to like, if it's not on ESPN, then it's not worth talking about. Oh, Stephen A. Smith, like, but to me, then you just regurgitate whatever you already heard Stephen A. Smith say. Have a different take, bring up conversations that he not bringing. Because look at Kyrie Irving. So you know how crazy it's about to drive. So like they watching how sports media are trying to figure out how they going to re-talk about Kyrie Irving. Because like for a year, y'all was smoking him. For damn near 2 years, y'all was smoking him. Nike gonna have to reevaluate because people sit here buying these off-brand shoes because that's how much people love Kyrie Irving. The U.S. sports team is gonna have to have a real conversation, and you're gonna have to hope that Kyrie still actually want to play on the Team USA after he didn't win a championship. Because now, how you gonna explain having him on this, having Joel Embiid and having Kawhi Leonard on this team, and both of them was hurt, and both of them went home in the first round, and Kyrie Irving gonna make it to the finals, and he gonna be the reason why they make it. And if they win it, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna have to be because of him. They only beat in Minnesota right now 3-0 because of Kyrie Irving is showing up. Because we already know Luka's gonna walk at 30, so that don't even matter. He was gonna do him regardless. But that extra piece that people wasn't kind of trying to write off, it was Kyrie Irving, dog. Again, when I said it earlier and I mentioned it about Stephen A. He brought up Jaylen Brown and he said that Jaylen Brown was reason why people don't try to push Jaylen Brown as much as they do Jason Tatum because people don't like Jaylen Brown's ego. So of course that went viral. And then people and then Jaylen Brown got on his Twitter and said, "This dog, stop doing the anonymous sources. Cite your source. Say who said that about me." Because everybody, realistically, Jaylen Brown don't talk about nothing besides black issues. You're the only time you can actually sit here and say two things you can remember Jaylen Brown talking about. When George Floyd passed and they was in the bubble, and every time somebody put a microphone on him, he was talking about the black issues that was going on while they was in the bubble. And then the only other time is when he got his max contract for the $300 million, and he sit here and said, "I'm gonna try to figure out a way to make Black Wall Street." And we talked about that on here. That's the only sound bites you can even get from Jaylen Brown. I don't know what music he like. I don't know who his favorite rap is. And I said that I wrote that to Jamel Hill on Twitter. I was like, dog, think about how many rappers we know who James Harden's favorite rapper is. You know who NBA YoungBoy. You don't know nothing about Jaylen Brown. So how do you sit here and tell me that this man got an ego? We know nothing about him besides he stand up for black people. So if you sit here saying that this man got an ego, then so basically what you're saying is the NBA and people don't want to push Jaylen Brown because he puts black people and put black people's problems in front of his voice. Anytime you give him a platform, that's what he talking about. Because that's all you can sit here and say. You can't sit here and say like, "Oh, he's some wild selfie taking dude." Like he don't do none of that, dog.
Yeah, but I mean, even in that situation, we don't know how he is off the court. When they, you know what I'm saying, like. They can probably get that from doing interviews or whatever the case. We might not see his interviews, but that don't mean like, oh, he's not, that big ego. I don't want to talk to nobody, or I don't feel like they're involved. But when they try to interview if it's coming from them in the sports world, the Stephen A's and all that.
Yeah, but guess what? Isaiah Thomas, obviously, trust me, it was a lot of people who are in the sports world and was called Stephen A out on that because Isaiah Thomas called him out. Isaiah Thomas like, dog, man, I known you for years. If you want to sit here and say something about Jaylen Brown. And because most people know everybody know what they have heard from Jaylen Brown. So most 9 times out of 10, especially if you're a black person and you hear that come from Stephen A. Smith, the first thing you're thinking about is, oh, they basically saying we don't want to promote no black person who's promoting black people or trying to uplift other black people because there's nothing other out there. And that's why Isaiah Thomas was probably one of the bigger people. And then a lot of other sports media people was calling Stephen A out. And Kendrick Perkins tried to even defend Stephen A a little bit like, nah, the clip was took out of context. We was having a different conversation or whatever. People smoke both of them. Like Stephen A was in his feelings, he was like, dog, that nigga was tweeting he was on his Meek Mills, he was trying to defend himself because he know he looked crazy. And in the moment, I get it. And that's why sometimes Stephen A be looking so desperate for clicks, and he always try to make it seem like sources say and try to seem like he is more popular with the players or bigger than what he actually is because you still trying to separate yourself from the field and from the rest of the people on social media, because I think I see a lot of people starting to say that back in the day we kind of, and I think we talked about this for a second when we were saying even about music or in sports even, is the best takes really coming from the people who actually play the sport? And at this point in time, I think now people get more exposed and you get to hear these people's opinion. I think a lot of people don't feel that way no more. I feel a lot of people feel just because they play the sport don't necessarily mean they got the best takes. Yeah, because you may know Kevin Durant or you interviewed him or seen him before, that don't mean that your takes is better. So I think that makes it a lot harder for people. So realistically, I mean, that's just one of the things that's going on. And like I said at the start of this episode, bro, don't keep looking for ESPN or Fox Sports or whoever to give you the takes you're looking for. If you got a microphone, you got a phone, dog, voice your opinion. Don't sit here and hide it because dog, you may have a better opinion. And your opinion may become the popular opinion, but if you don't never jump yourself out there, you won't never know if you ever had that popular opinion. So, like I said, that was my sports take. And besides, the Timberwolves is realistically, by the time y'all hear this, before this week over, it's gonna be Boston and Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. I can't see it no other way unless a miracle happened. Anthony Edwards is wet the bed. All that Michael Jordan conversation, he the next Jordan, he looked like baby Jordan. You can throw all that out the window. Last night for a second, third quarter, he had 10 points. He looked like he was about to be Ant-Man again. He put a dude on a poster, and then the fourth quarter came, and Anthony Edwards went and sat in the corner. Wasn't calling for the ball, wasn't looking for the ball. He went hiding. Anthony Edwards ain't that guy. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm disappointed. I bet on him. I lost literally all 3 of them games. I thought he was gonna get one of them. He ain't getting none. Sorry, I hate to tell you. Like, it's over. If you will see the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics.
Boston up 30 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
And shout out to Drew Holiday. And I guess that to me is, again, when we just talking about just basketball, your taste on what type of player you like. Drew Holiday ain't the highlights guy. But in that game, what was that, game 3? Drew Holiday is the reason why they won that game. The Pacers was up the entire game, and they kept lingering around, kept playing with their food, and left Boston in a situation where they could take away the game. And they did. Drew Holiday came up with 2 huge steals at the end of the game. And that's one of the things, like I said, people don't highlight defense. People don't highlight the defensive play as much as they should. But Drew Holiday showed you it's not all about the slam dunks. It's not all about the threes. It's still certain places and certain positions on the floor. Can you play defense? And Drew Holiday, he showed up. He played big defense, and he got a steal. He got a huge steal that carried them into that victory. I guess in other news and other popular news that we probably realistically need to get to is Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is free now, but Nicki Minaj did get locked up over the weekend for some weed. I believe she was performing in Amsterdam, and of course, I believe the weed is legal there. I don't know what the real.
You can't have it in the airport.
Okay, so that's what it was. Because I mean, and I guess because Nicki even resurfaced or brought up that Ari Lennox got locked up in that same place in that same area for weed as well. And of course, both of them got let out. I believe. And Ari Lennox, of course, her story wasn't as big because it's Nicki Minaj, and the Bobs are like.
Was Ari drunk or something like that?
Yeah, I think she was drunk. I think she was drunk. I think hers was drunk, but I think she had weed too. And that was one of the reasons why she got locked up. But I do believe she was drunk. I can't really remember the story off the top of my head, but that was one of the things. But again, like I said, the Bobs Nicki Minaj got the greatest cult following of all time, though. That's one thing that none of these other females will ever have over Nicki Minaj is that large, crazy, rabid fan base. Like, bro, they were literally outside of her hotel room, like, just cheering for her. Like, I'm talking, it was hundreds, like, it was probably thousands of people out there. Just in the middle of the street with free Nicki signs and this, that, and the third. And it was just like, bro, she got a different type of fan base, dog. Like, they were in the arena. They canceled, like, I'm talking like the arena was picked. Like, I guess people thought that she was going to get out early enough so the concert still was going to go on.
She got out, but I don't think you got to think about it. She missed rehearsal.
No, of course, but I'm saying, but the fan, they still let the fans in the jump. Like, they was in the arena when they canceled the show,
which is crazy though.
And the jump was literally sold out. I'm like, bro, Nicki Minaj fan base is different.
I wonder how that played out because, of course, they said your tickets gonna be valid for the next time or the next show, whatever she could be doing. But it's just like, damn, I paid for parking. Or maybe I caught Uber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I caught Uber. Regardless, if I can go back to shit, maybe I had this one day off. I ain't gonna be able to reschedule another day. That's fucked up shit.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know how that one gonna work, but like I said, they are different though. She got a different type of loyal fan base. That fan base is just crazy though, and a lot of people just realistically, you don't have that type of fan base. I don't care if you feel like you put out better songs, you rap better, whatever the case, whatever you think about what you got going with Nicki Minaj. Guess what I'm telling you? Don't got. You do not have a more loyal fan base than the Bobs though. They are different. Now, let's be clear. I'm sure if you be on any of the blog pages, they get annoying because anytime they post any of the other girls, it'll give you a headache. Because it'll be like people not even bringing up Nicki Minaj and they just be in the comment section and they be talking about them. And I just be like, what's the point of this? But I mean, her fan base is different, though. She got a crazy loyal fan base. Shout out to the Bob. Shout out to Nicki. She did get out and then she did end up performing at another show, I guess, that she still had in the UK over the weekend. I believe she performed because I think what's the dude, DJ Booth, he was signing some girl boobs or something, and then people was like, I don't know if she was trolling him just playing, but she was like, yeah, if you do that again, I'm firing you. So I mean, I don't know if she was just
he been the DJ for the longest.
Yeah, so I don't know if she was playing. I want to say him. She DJed. I believe he DJed for her, and I believe he was DJing on the Wendy Williams show, if I can remember correctly. But like I said, again, shout out to Nicki Minaj. But she got just a crazy fan base. And I guess while we're talking about Nicki, we can kind of get into Cardi. Of course, Cardi came out and performed. They at Madison Square Garden, and like I said again, just to reiterate, because when I guess when the tickets was going on sale and those $25 tickets were going on, and we had the conversation. You was the one who told me about the live. You know, Live Nation was just doing whatever special they had. So Meg Thee Stallion did sell out the Madison Square Garden, the whole thing. People was wondering, was it going to be the actual garden? And it was the garden. So Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla did sell out the Madison Square Garden. And of course, that's in New York City. So of course, they brought out Cardi B. And Cardi B performed. Then they played around with Cardi getting on the remix to Wannabe. Because, you know, at the end of the song, when they hit Get 'em Glow, Go Meg. So then Cardi had a part. He came in. And of course, it didn't sound like it was mixed down or whatever case may be. So Glow, I believe they took it down off of all socials. But I'm sure if you follow Glorilla, you did already see it. Most people heard it. Most people even start talking about it. So that was a big deal. But of course, one thing women going to do is body shame. Women will body shame other women, and that's just what they're going to do faithfully. So of course, Cardi kind of being a troll herself and kind of one of those people who can't put down the phone and kind of look at everything that she see going on social media. She was one of the people who realistically she wrote people. I mean, she made a video responding to people seeing her saying her body looked messed up, like she went to the doctors one too many. Or do you see a lot of people in the comment section even saying that they thought she was pregnant? She looked like she may be pregnant, so they kind of just didn't know if she was pregnant or not. So you've seen those rumors going back and forth on the socials as well. So it was kind of just like, I felt bad because it was like, I'm a dude, so I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell if it was the angle of the phone or like the people was recording from off the stage or whatever the case may be. But I just be like, damn, I couldn't imagine being a woman where you're going to be conscious to all of that stuff. Because I see people saying, doing the same thing to Erica Banks. Like, don't be clear. Like, I could look at Erica Banks and kind of see, because she kind of like trying to always show off her butt, and it kind of do be like, damn, maybe you did go to the jump one too many times. But I do be feeling like those conversations is cool, if that's what women gonna have, or there's gonna be gay men who had a conversation with them. Cool, y'all knock yourself out with that conversation. But I do still, just as a human, I be kind of feeling bad for Cardi, who is like, damn, dog, you just be like, she can't do nothing without somebody sitting here commenting on it. And don't get it twisted, she was trolling people, because at the same time when they talking about her body, she literally was doing a response video eating like 5 pancakes and just dipping them in endless syrup. So I mean, it got to her to a certain extent, but she kind of just was trolling back, like, all right, y'all can say I'm looking fat, or I'm looking like I'm pregnant again. Cool, I'm just gonna eat these pancakes in front of y'all. You say whatever you want, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I am looking forward to the Wannabe remix with her on it. I do think that will help get that song life again. Yeah, for sure. It'll help give it push again, and it'll help put life back into that song for sure.
So I mean, even stand on that whole body situation. How do you about Lizzo with the whole South Park app?
For people who don't know, of course, and I don't want to play it because I don't necessarily know if it'll get flagged, but Lizzo basically, South Park did instead of course, y'all know the Ozempic thing is a huge thing, and South Park found a way to make a joke about Ozempic, but instead of calling it Ozempic, they called it Lizzo. So basically the same shot, everything that Ozempic is supposed to do for you, they made a new drug and it was called the Lizzo. And you kind of just like,
it was funny.
No, it was hilarious. But I didn't necessarily know how she took it. It seemed like she kind of took it as like, oh, that's fire, because though it's South Park. Like South Park ain't just naming some random person. Yeah, they smoked it. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was just like, and I don't know realistically.
But it was fun. I mean,
it was hilarious.
It was on point. What they were saying, like, oh, you don't give a fuck about your body, do the Lizzo. You don't want to do the Lizzo. The Lizzo, it was on point. It was on point. And I feel like that right there is just like, oh, damn, I'm getting reached out here in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? Like, they actually know who I am. That's a good look.
No, especially for somebody.
I don't even know if she's from that area.
She's from Minnesota.
She is from Minnesota?
Yeah,
okay, so then, all right, yeah. So, yeah, that's a good look.
Now, it's a good look, but of course, you got to have thick skin to take it as like, it's a good look. Because if you're a sensitive person and you kind of still like, if Lizzo is really who she say she is, like if she really believe in the body positivity thing, like that's what the firm grip, and that's how she really gonna stand on, and that's how she actually believe about herself. And when she see herself, then yeah, you'll take it as a compliment. Like, damn, I got mentioned in South Park. Because I'm sure if Lizzo of a certain age, like that, we all grew up watching the South Park. Like that nigga.
South Park and The Simpsons. Those
yeah,
are like
exactly.
Like what I was mentioning.
Exactly.
In the actual episode.
For sure.
That's a big achievement.
No, of course it's a big achievement. But
if you a joke on that.
But if you got soft skin, it might necessary. You may not take that as a joke. If you got soft skin, I'm sure you may not feel the same about it. Like if you do, like if you got tough skin, you're gonna look at it. Oh, like it's fire. South Park mentioned me, whatever the case may be, and then I can move on.
So what's the difference between the Cardi B body shame and the Lizzo? That's the same thing. Because it was on South Park, that make it better.
I mean, you got a point. I don't know. I mean, you're a woman, so I mean, you have to kind of.
I mean, I don't see a difference. But y'all don't say, oh, well, you know, this could be mentioned on like South Park, but it's still body shaming.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I can't. I guess because we grew up on South Park, so we kind of look at South Park maybe differently from just a bunch of random people in the comment section giving me their opinion. So what you're saying, you're absolutely right. It is the same thing, but then I'm just looking at it like maybe because, like I said, I grew up on South Park, so watching South Park, like I can only imagine if like you feel like, damn, I got to the point with I get mentioned on South Park, even though it's a joke on me. it's still kind of fire because they didn't have to mention me.
And I think just even with the whole body shaming situation, I mean, even Cardi B, I think she might take, even though she probably don't care, don't bother her, but I think people probably saying more of it because she did have her body done. And I Lizzo didn't have her body done, so it's just like, she just natural. She is what she is. You know, she can't fix it, whatever, regardless of how it is. But Cardi, you chose this path, and you chose this body part, and you chose to get this work done. So you did make that decision. So I get maybe people probably feel more want to attack Cardi B on that than I'm probably sure anybody's tagging Lizzo for that South Park. Because really, it's just you making a joke, but these people are judging you, or you speaking on how your body is, or you need to go back, or you look this, you look that. This is how most women take offense. If somebody say, "Oh, how far more along are you?" Mm-hmm. But not knowing, I'm just thinking, you know, you look pregnant. That's not really. But is that considered body shaming?
No, some people take it as disrespect. I've heard people lose their job for something. I've heard people lose their job.
But I'm not body shaming. I'm just like, oh, you know, congratulations.
I guess I will ask you as a woman, what would be worse is if let's say because I agree with you. Let's say both of them are body shaming. Which one is worse? Is it would you be more sensitive to it, or would you feel more disrespected if you actually paid to get some work done and people still body shaming you? Or you kind of like what Marcus said, it just at least Lizzo it's just natural. It's who she is. So which one is kind of more disrespectful, I guess, or hurtful?
Oh, probably Cardi B, because she had her body done, so you chose to look this way. So that's probably
a little bit more hurtful.
Yeah, because I mean, people have been clowning Lizzo for a long time.
And that's why I say that's what I'm saying. If she feel like the way she comes off, and I guess when she preaches the body positivity thing, I feel like I said, if that's really how she feel about it, then I don't necessarily know if it will hurt her as much as like you said with a Cardi B, because it's like you are going under the knife trying to get a look that you want people to kind of admire, not clown. Mm-hmm. So it's like for Lizzo, it's like, bro, this is who I am, and this is kind of how I put myself out to the world. So it's kind of like. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, but I don't necessarily know. I mean, how I will feel or which one is more offensive or is not offensive.
And they didn't have her body up there.
Yeah, they just had it like in a box.
They were just singing along and using her name. So it wasn't like her body was up there and we see her body. But Cardi B, you actually seeing her body and talking about her body. How, you know what I'm saying?
But we've seen Lizzo.
No, we've seen, and you're absolutely right. We have seen Lizzo, but I just think they just used her name, not you actually your body. We not, you know what I'm saying? We just use your name. It's like, oh, you don't give a fuck about your body. Because I think like that's how one of the songs was. Oh, you don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like how Lizzo got that mentality. Oh, I don't care. I'm, you know, who I am. Okay. Like if you don't feel like you pretty enough, do the Lizzo. That's how they was kind of, you know. that's how they was painting on the
which is I want to show y'all this picture and then I want to just you seen it? All right, so while I'm passing the picture around to them so they can look at it, it is a picture that was going viral of a young lady, and it was at her son's graduation. And I'm going to describe it for the people who are watching this on YouTube. This young lady got on like it almost looked like almost like a sports bra, basically like a sports bra and some Daisy Duke, some booty shorts, literally showing all thighs, have her bottom of her butt cheeks hanging out. And I don't even necessarily know. She originally covered her son's face, or the people in the video. I mean, the picture started going viral. They just covered it. But this was at her this was at her son's graduation at a school. And of course, like I said, these are the conversations you can have more about just bad parenting, time and place. And it's just like some people just get too carried away with just not really. You kind of almost got to bring shame back. I see people say that all the time, but I do think it has to be a thing. And a lot of people were just like.
She probably come to the school picking them up in her bond.
Man, this is worse than picking up in a bond. Like I'm cooler with the bonnet than you just literally. She damn near half naked, dog. Like this is one of them outfits when you come out the house, you know for a fact you're gonna get a million looks the whole entire day. Not even if you wasn't going to a school. If you was literally just going to the mall or you going to a cookout, wherever, nigga, all eyes is gonna be you. Because let's be clear, this lady got a nice shaped body. So all eyes is gonna be on her. She got some nice legs. You can see her cheeks hanging. Like this is from the front, and you can see her cheeks hanging out from the back. So that let you know that this lady got a nice body. So you can clear as day see it, but it's still to the point where it's like, dog, like you had a graduation. It's a bunch of other parents. It's a bunch of other kids here.
So, okay, but would it be different if it was a dress and it just fitted her the same way?
A dress you covering up more. Like if you had on a dress and it came like to your knee, like let's say if she had on a sundress and you just stick, you can't help the way your body is shaped. But you sitting here literally damn near almost naked. Like, bro, these shorts ain't covering up too much and nothing but her coochie. Like these is some real live booty cutter shorts. Like these are the definition of Daisy Dukes or whatever they call them, coochie cutters or whatever you want to say. That is the definition of all of that, dog. That's literally the whole entire. Like you can't sit here and ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is what absolutely what this is. Like you can see her whole entire like, bro. It ain't nothing up to her imagination. Besides, if she got her and I think she got her pants unbuttoned.
Especially,
I mean, y'all parents. So I mean, if you was going to your kid graduation and you seen somebody like that, how would you feel? I'm not a parent, so I just can still say this out of pocket. But I mean, I would rather want to hear how the parents will feel.
No, it's inappropriate. But I mean, what can you do? Ain't nothing you can do.
But do you feel like people need to, I guess, realistically call this out more often? Yeah, it's like you absolutely saying, what can you do? Ain't too much you can really do, but I guess be like how we're doing now, you kind of call out this behavior because it does just get a little out of pocket, dog.
But then it's like you just probably feel like somebody saying, like it'll just blow up bigger than what it is. People might do it just to get the attention because they see that people are feeding into it.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people do some of that stuff too. I do feel like a lot of people come out the house and take pictures or post videos just to get people outraged. Because you do know realistically, we live in a time where people do get outraged about damn near everything. So, I mean, realistically, you kind of know that that's going to happen. It don't realistically matter what you post or what you got going on. It is going to happen.
And that's just like the one, I think it was her daughter's birthday party. She was probably like 1 or 2. And the mother was like twerking down the aisle and the father was holding the baby.
Oh, I think I did see that.
That's along the same lines. Like people just gonna keep doing whatever they gotta do to go viral.
Yeah, and I guess realistically we can kind of even tie this into Summer Walker because Summer Walker was performing. And realistically, I'm sure if y'all know enough about Summer Walker, you kind of know how she has been critiqued, especially at her concerts and the shows, saying she is a horrible performer. Like she literally used to just stand in front of the microphone, like, or she'll sit in front of a seat and she would literally just sing and wouldn't move. Like she still sound incredible, but people were so upset. Like, bro, we paying to see a show. Like you literally ain't putting on a show. You just standing here singing in front of a mic. So over the weekend, Summer Walker did a split pop, like literally pulled out one of her old stripper moves with no drawers on. So she had a dress and her cheeks was, I'm talking about them Jones was clapping. And then, of course, London on the track, one of his other baby mothers jumped into the comment section and was like, thank God this is not my baby mother. Just imagine this is the woman that you had kids by, whatever the case may be. But I'm glad that you finally came out the shell and you learned how to perform. Of course, this is nothing but baby mama shade. This ain't nothing but hate. But realistically, it was just like, I was surprised with Summer Walker. One, it looked good, but it was kind of just like, and I just kind of like, that she got an ass, but it seemed like for some reason, it just seemed like it was way fatter in that video. But it was just like, I think realistically, if you've seen Summer Walker perform before, that truly definitely caught me off guard. And just the baby moms kind of hating. It was like, do you kind of, I guess, do you give moms or even just fathers, like if they're in an entertainment business, can I still judge you by that same? Yeah, because I wouldn't want my baby mother doing that. If that was just my baby moms and she wasn't an entertainer, of course, I wouldn't want videos like that of her going viral. And that's kind of like a one-on-one, like, I wouldn't want that video. But she's an entertainer. She's obviously she's getting comfortable enough to actually be able to put on a stage performance. Could you argue, yeah, she could have did that same thing with some pants on? But would it have went viral if she did it with some pants on? Probably not. It picked up more steam because she didn't have no drawers on.
But that whole conversation, that couldn't be my baby mama. Like, okay, what about like the Tiana Taylors who, perform sexually on their stage, and it's just like, all right, I see her video on, I forgot who that was. She was getting a lap dance or teasing the,
Oh yeah. I think she was giving Lala a lap dance.
Yeah, so when they say like, oh, I wouldn't let my baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like you can get, if that's her job and she's, like you said, an entertainer, how can you get mad at whatever, you know what I'm saying, she's doing?
Yeah, she entertainer.
Because like at the end of the day, I gotta pay these bills.
No, of course. Yeah, the bills ain't gonna pay themselves for sure. Of course. The bills ain't gonna pay themselves. And real quick, a TV show that I just mysteriously, because at once, like earlier during the day, the little app that I be using sometimes to watch TV shows wasn't working. So I was just like, I wanted to just watch something because of course the gym closed early and it wasn't as many topics. So I didn't have to sit on social media all day. So I went on Netflix and I found this show called After Age. And it is Tisha Campbell, Damn, why am I drunk? What's the lady that plays Sugar on Friday? I can't remember her name, but she plays Sugar on Friday. If y'all remember, what was that Friday after next, and she plays Sugar. I can't remember her name, but she I want to say she used to play on I want to say Different World. I mean, not Different World, but in Living Color as well. She got like attachment. I want to say with the Wayne brothers or whatever case may be. Oh man, did she play on the Wayne brothers? I think she might have, yeah. But anyway, so they on this show together, and there's another lady. I'm not sure who it is, but the episodes are literally like 20 minutes. Some because like most Netflix shows, they kind of keep them like under like 25 minutes. But it's a good show. It's an easy watch. Like I said, each episode, and I want to say it's like 18 episodes. So I think I'm maybe to like episode 10 or something. Like it's like I said, it's a quick watch, but it's a good show. Like Tisha Campbell is hilarious on that show, and it was kind of just making you be like, damn, this is like one of those like when people always complain about what type of black shows we don't have or why we only got like BMF or Power or whatever the case may be. I just stumbled across this joint, and this is one of them shows where I'm like, if you like the Upshaws or any of those type of black shows where it got humor in it and it still got like real life scenarios, but it's still kind of like, I guess, undertone with like some TV where you kind of know it's like TV. And I guess the lady who plays Sugar, she is, and the crazy thing is supposed to be shot in the DMV. I don't know if you're watching the show, you can tell it's not. It looked like it's shot in New York, but
Kim Whitley.
That's her name. Kim Whitley. So she is supposed to be a real estate mogul. She's supposed to be a real estate mogul from the DMV area, and she is like well off and like in all the like whatever list. She's like at the top ranking of all of them. So she's off. The other lady, I can't remember the other lady name on the show, but her husband just passed, and her husband was like a huge politic person. He was huge into politics, and she was just kind of like basically like the first lady to him. She was supposed to be kind of like her Michelle Obama, and what I just said, what's the other lady name I just said? I'm drawing a blank now. Tisha Campbell. Tisha Campbell is supposed to be like the freak character. Like she's supposed to be the one that's like a little bit more energetic. She's like the life of the party. She's the one more sexually free. So she kind of like always kind of like trying to put them on dates and get them some action. So all of them live together. It's kind of almost like living single, but they live in a way better space. And all of them do in their own right got their own money. So it's not like they all living together like they just living off their rich friend. Like, of course, Kim Whitfield's character is the more successful. She's well off, but Tisha Campbell's character, she supposed to have like industry connects or whatever the case may be. And like I told you, the other lady, her husband passed away, and of course he left her. He left her definitely some good bread to like kind of bounce on. So all three of them kind of live together. And then the crazy thing is, Kim Whitfield's son and the other lady's character kind of like flirt with each other, like whatever the case may be, but they both kind of like scared to cross the line because they grew up together. Like they're supposed to be like damn near almost like cousins or like play brother and sister because they didn't grow up with each other for their entire life, but they're getting older and they kind of like flirt. But like I said, it's a good show. It's a 20-minute watch. It's on Netflix, so it's an easy watch because I don't like how
all episodes on it.
Yeah, all 18 is on there. Yeah, all 18. So it's like I said, if you got one of them days, especially of course the sports season in a minute, only thing you're gonna be able to watch actually is WNBA or baseball. So like I said, I'm sure it's more time for people to be able to watch other shows. And then let's be clear, Power do come back in a week. Yeah, I think June. Is it June? Is it June 1st or June 7th? I can't remember. I think it's June 7th. So it'll come back in 2 weeks. And Power will be back. The Shy is picking up. We ain't got to get into the Shy, not this early in the episode, but I just wanted to just because that was just a show off the top of my head. I literally was watching it all day, so I kind of wanted to just bring that up in the air. Young Miami is trying to walk back her statements or getting peed on. I think Young Miami tweeted out and saying, "When did y'all fall in love with me? What was y'all most favorable moment when you became a Young Miami fan?" And a girl tweeted her and said, "When you said you like to get urine on." Because I like the same thing, and then Young Miami had to kind of be like, "Oh, slow down. Yeah, it's cool. I like. Did you like that moment?" But I was just lying because I was trying to sell these cards. And I do think I'm not mad at her if that's her truth, but then it's kind of like, damn, like it's so misleading. Like realistically, of course, it's an entertainer. Her job is to entertain, but it's just so sad where it's like, how much other stuff do you people lie about to kind of build a brand, and then you kind of backtracking it out.
Fucking everything. We see that now.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Like that to me is like a crazy lie. Like, dog, who?
But I don't think that's a crazy lie. I still the product. We still have to sell the product. So if that's what's going to draw or get your attention,
and which it did
to buy, or even like, damn, they ask questions like that. Well, I want to see. You
For
can't
sure,
just ask,
course.
oh no, I don't do nothing. Could you be like, oh, that's trash, you know?
No, but let's be clear. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying because that marketing scheme for that absolutely did work for that product. People did buy into that product. That product did have a moment where people bought more into it because of because of that whole situation. That people did buy into it. So you're absolutely right. It did work for her, but it was just kind of be like, damn, it's like you walking it all back now. Especially, of course, after all the Diddy situation, and we can tie that into, of course, her and Southside was singing together, and I guess he went and bought her some bags, and that's just so crazy. Where it's like, to me, where how messed up the world is, because is that supposed to be her rebrand and her cleanup is like, I'm just gonna go back to my baby father and he gonna buy me some bags, so it's still like it's literally when I'm watching
it. On bad terms, right?
They were never on bad terms, but I'm just still saying it's like how easy people will kind of just try to like erase the whole Diddy stint from her because you're trying to make it seem like I still got another rich dude who's willing to trick on me. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like you're still trying to brand yourself as Young Miami and still saying, well, Diddy is not the only dude that I got that's going to trick on me. My baby. Yeah, but it's like, bro, you should probably rethink your whole entire image. To me personally. Because I'm watching JT perform. She performed in Baltimore, so of course, you know, I follow people from Baltimore, and I'm watching people at the concert, and it was literally like it was in a smaller venue, so it's tight. Like you can see like everybody on top of each other. But I was so surprised on how many people were there, and then how many people had their phone out. Like people was rapping the junk word for word. Like they were literally like songs that I didn't even know. Like it seemed like they might have been like B-sides of the City Girl songs that like people were just rapping and had their phone out the whole entire time and just rapping it, or just even calling her by her real name. I was like, what's her name? Jatavius or whatever case her name is. Like I seen people even like writing that into their screen, Joe. So I'm just like, damn, that's kind of fire to me. Where I'm just looking at it still, like she ain't got a bunch of chains on or nothing. Like I'm watching her like she performing in like I think she had like a black dress on or like a black tube top or something. Like it was just something slight. It wasn't nothing crazy. She didn't have a bunch of jewelry on, but I'm just looking at it like how she's putting in that work again, where it's like she's literally still separating herself so far from Young Miami. And I think she's kind of figuring out also how to build her brand where it doesn't have to hide behind material stuff.
But so my question to you, when we talk about these brands and who can't really afford to change or even go take that other route, like with Sexy Reds, like I don't think we can, would more people even look at Sexy Reds or even listen to music if she tried to clean her image up, start, you know, I'm not gonna rap about the ghetto shit no more. I'm rapping positive. Like, she can't change her brand, right? She still have to be with the whole ratchet, sexy.
I don't think she needs. I'm not saying that she can't change her brand, but I don't think she needs to. I think her trying to. And then we talked about this on here before. I think sometimes you can change your brand too soon. And of course, and we seen it with Glorilla. I mean, of course, Glorilla, they kind of pulled back on hers a lot. Like she pulled back on that cleanup a lot, where she figured out, okay. And she had to kind of learn through Sexy Red, because trust me, if Sexy Red didn't come along, I'm sure they still would have kept trying to clean Glorilla up.
Because that's what when you saying that she got to rebrand her stuff with Young Miami, but I'm just like, what can she really rebrand herself to? Because if that's your image, we know you as, and that's what we like you for. How can she really rebrand herself to be?
But the reason why I would say she would have to figure it out, we can kind of even tie this into like the Wendy's and the McDonald's or the Target topic that we had last week. It's like realistically, I understand how social media tries to betray itself, but then you got to still pay attention to big corporate America moves where it's like, okay, McDonald's for the whole month of June, they about to come out with you can get 4 items for $5. Wendy's got the 50 piece for like they got a 50 piece chicken nugget box for $15. You can, and these are talking about big corporations who were striking with the inflation. And then you see a lot of people, like, especially if you're on like the woke side of social media, where they're trying to sit here and tell you, oh, you better go out and vote and stop playing with Donald Trump, or this, that, and the case may be, because the times is about to get worse. So if we believe in all of those things, we paying attention to all those things, even if I'm an entertainer, I gotta pick like for Sexy Red or for Glorilla, where it's like, I can still make myself liberated to women where it doesn't have to be attached to material stuff. Because a lot of those things, like, bro, I told you, I think I joked about this on here before, where like when you meet so many women and their favorite thing is, to travel. Even let's be clear, I'm gonna like like I told y'all, if we just break off and it's just on okay, you ghost me, we just stop talking, I still will check out your page. I still remember when we first meet and you was telling me your favorite thing to travel, and you still ain't putting no stamp. If we almost 6 months in to the year, I ain't seen your passport get stamped not one time. When you tell me you like to do something, I tell you I like to watch sports. I'm gonna come on here, even I know for a fact I got a huge women audience. I can't help myself. I gotta at least talk about sports for 35 minutes, at least at bare minimum, because that's just what I do every day. So it's just so hard. You can't tell me my hobby, I like to travel, and you still ain't got no stamps, because I know how rough it's really getting in the real world. I don't care how great your job is. The more the prices go up on everything from gas to whatever the case may be, guess what? Your job could have been great 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but now everything it's a little bit different. So that lavishly spending money, I think that circle of women And that audience is getting smaller and smaller by the day. And please don't let Trump get in the way. And the way people trying to scare you to say you got to go vote. If that's going to go bad as they saying it's going to get bad, then that space for Young Miami is going to really be pointless. And then it's like you built your career on materialistic stuff and then nobody can relate to you no more. And the girls who may be able to relate to you, I don't necessarily know if are like how big of an audience is that to really be able to help push your music career. Where for somebody like Sexy Red or for somebody like Glorilla and it's just hood or it's just Meg and it's just body like me shaking my butt, like that costs nobody nothing. It cost me $0 to sit here and listen to a Meg Thee Stallion song or a Glorilla song and post and put my butt up on a sink and take a thirsty picture. That cost me $0. I walk past the sink every day when I'm brushing my teeth or using the bathroom. And it don't cost me nothing to put my cheeks up on it in some underwear. And I can post one of these songs and make it like I'm liberating something else. And I don't have to go to the Chanel store. I don't have to sit here and buy this bag. Because realistically, who can realistically at this day and age, they can't really relate to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Young Miami brand is dying off so much. I understand people on social media want to play like they rich, but your brand wouldn't die off at a rapid pace like it is. Besides it just being attached to Diddy, but again, because I don't think that lavish lifestyle isn't more as realistic as it was for people a few years ago. So I mean, I don't necessarily know if you can save her career. I think that one is kind of like it's to the wayside. And then because we was just talking about Southside, I believe it's what's called the Cans Fest or whatever the case may be. I don't know what that is because I did see Kelly Rowland had a problem with some security guard while she was walking into a venue, and I don't know who the white lady was who had. I looked like she had like a Jesus Christ dress on. I couldn't tell. It looked like from the.
I didn't see that. It's an image on her dress.
Yeah, I thought it was Jesus. I wasn't 100% positive, but that same security guard that got into it with Kelly Rowland got into it with that lady as well. But anyway, whatever this festival is or whatever this event is, it was obviously it had to be a concert that was going on with it as well. And it was a fight between Travis Scott, Southside, and I believe he's Tiger's manager. His name is AE. But of course, for people who may know him now, that's Admiral's baby father, and it is now Cher's boyfriend. And I can't, what the crazy thing is, y'all got better eyes than me because I felt like I'm looking at it on the phone, and I got my glasses on and everything. And I got my phone literally like to my face. I couldn't see nothing. I'm like, how y'all could tell who getting beat up and who not getting beat up? And I'm
saying like Tiger got his ass whooped,
but Tiger wasn't even in the fight. So the story came out later that it was just that dude fighting Travis Scott and fighting Southside. And then people in the way they were describing it, like
Tiger put that video up him on the boat, and he's like, "Oh, it looked like he didn't get no scars."
Yeah, they said he wasn't in the fight at all.
So he just played into it.
I don't know because I couldn't. I literally see. I'm reading the headlines because I can't see it. I'm trying to look in the comment section, and I'm like, how can y'all tell who is who? Like I could tell who the dude is, but I couldn't really tell who he was fighting. Because don't get it twisted. One of the videos was a little bit clear, and I just know because he got blonde hair. So you see a dude with blonde hair, and he looked like he was kind of getting out on somebody. So I don't necessarily know if he was. And then people in one of the descriptions, I believe it was on the Neighborhood Talk, and they was kind of saying it looked like Southside got a lot of body shots thrown at him. So it looked like I don't know if the AE dude beat up Southside. I don't know. I can't because I'm not gonna sit here and act like y'all. I looked at that video 20 times on two different angles, and every time I looked at it, only thing I could really see, I could see the dude with the blonde hair. He did look like he got out on somebody, but I couldn't tell who he was getting out on because I couldn't see. Like, bro, it was people in the way of the video, and it was dark as hell. I'm like, how the hell y'all see stuff? But I'm looking at people in the comment section leaving comments like they can actually see what was going on. I'm like, how can y'all see this, dog? I cannot see nothing but this. I can see this boy blonde hair, and that's it. I can't see nothing else. And a bunch of security guards in the way. But like I said, man, shout out to them. I don't know what that event was. I don't necessarily know what it was, but they got it going on. I mean, of course, and this is one of those weeks where it's like it's a slow news week. It's the holidays. It's not a lot of certain things. If you're not about to talk about sports the whole entire time in the music situation, it's kind of like it's slow. You got to you be thankful for the Drakes or the J. Cole's for getting out there and putting out certain songs. What else was going on over the weekend? It was kind of super crazy. There was. I seen something with people. I guess it was people were kind of mad at Tootsie for like it seemed like he was almost begging Brent Fires for a feature, and people kind of felt like YouTube popping to be begging somebody for a feature. He's like, dog, I'm not too big to beg somebody for a feature. I want a Brent Fires feature. I know the song that I want him on, and the song is going to be fire. So I'm going to chase him down for that feature until I get the feature that I'm looking for. I appreciate for him, one, for saying it and being honest and not allowing his fans to gas him up to feel like he's too big to chase down Brent Fires for a feature. So, I mean, it's cool. And it was just so funny because I remember I was doing a DMV documentary for Dre all day, and we were just bringing up like how that crew song, and we were just kind of talking about how Brent Fire is kind of realistic. Of course, in the DMV, that is a Shy Glizzy song. Everybody know the Shy Glizzy verse, but Brent Fires kind of was the runaway star out of that song. Like that song is so small in his cat. He wouldn't like. I'm sure when Shy Glizzy performed, when Goldlink performed, both of them still have to perform that song. That song is so smart, so small on the totem pole for Brent Fires. If you go to a Brent Fires concert, I'm almost gonna go out on the limb. He's never performing that song. Unless maybe he here. If he here and he might bring Shy Glizzy out or something, then he may perform it. But I'm outside of that, I'm 100% positive. Exactly. He's on the hook of that song, but you just don't realistically like he used that song to help him get his leverage, like probably into a deal or get his foot in the actual music business. But now he is such a big enough star and he got so many big records now. He ain't never performing that song though, ever again in life. Literally, unless he kind of like doing them a favor. Like I said, if he in the DMV area or he's somewhere in Shy Glizzy there and he performing, bring Shy Glizzy out, or he might bring Goldlink out, cool. But for Brent Fires, I was just like, damn, it's so crazy how just like one song can kind of like change your life. Like the momentum can shift so crazily off of that. It's just like, to me, it's kind of wild. And then because we do talk about Coi Leray a lot, I do want to give her just, I don't like the project. I do like it's a song on it. The song I like the most is the joint with her and Skilla Baby, but she did put out a new EP. Again, oh no, it's a whole EP. She put out a whole EP. It is how many songs is on this project? I don't know, but they let her get her.
She's been putting out.
It's a 6-song EP. Like I said, my favorite song is Coke Bottle. That's featuring Skilla Baby. She cranked that joint. I'm not gonna lie to you. She did crank that song. Oh yeah, and I do want to talk about Sexy Red real quick because I did listen to her that whole project because it was one of them songs that I really like. And I wish she would have put like a street rap on it. But anyway, for Coi Leray, like I said, I think one of the conversations we was having last week about her is like she don't have no real sound. She don't have no real identity to her music. And if you go listen to this project, like I said, it's a 6-song project. It's literally that the project don't have no identity. It's just songs. It's just like it's an EP. It's literally just an EP. And I guess people you dress EPs up as mixtapes. It's just 6 songs. None of them kind of sound like in sync. It's just literally like 6 different songs. And like I said, to me, the song that's going to probably stick off that project for is the one with Skilla Baby. And we talked about Skilla Baby a couple weeks ago, where I told y'all basically he is the go-to dude. If you're about to make a girl song, I'm going to put Skilla Baby on the song. So like I said, I mean, I just wanted to give Coi Leray some because I just do feel like she put out a lot of music and her label do allow her to put out a lot of music. I just don't think necessarily the music won't stick because it's just like, and I would really wonder how she feel because it's just like, damn, I put out a project set, and I'm sure she listened to Sexy Red project and be like, bro, this is trash. But it get more conversation, to get more talk about. The songs is more relatable to people. And I know, to me, if I'm an artist, that would blow me, dog. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like that would piss me off if I'm literally putting out music and then it's just like Sexy Red drop a project and I'm listening to this and I'm like, bro, this what people like. Like that to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was an artist, that probably would defeat me a little bit.
Then that's the question: what you really doing it for? Are you doing it for the fame, the money, or you just doing it because you like the art? I like putting out music because, like I said, you can't. What might be catchy or what might be the trending thing for Sexy Red? Let's say, all right, it's trending now, but long term, is it still gonna last? If she's still gonna be able to perform those 10 years from now. Now, Coi Leray, she might have the leverage with, all right, I can still perform my songs and they still hit. Players gonna play. That's the old song that I just sampled and changed, and I mean,
I don't necessarily know because I think for like even if you say that can I perform a song 10 years from now because it don't sound outdated, but then it'll be like if the song don't have no nostalgic feeling to it. Because let's be clear, if you say 10 years from now, and the average person who maybe like Sexy Red or really into her music, they're probably in their 20s or their 30s. So you say, okay, if I'm 35, I like Sexy Red. 10 years from now, I'll be 45. At the pace that we going right now, most 45-year-olds gonna still think they got it. They still gonna be out. So if they still hear Get It Sexy or if they hear Ski, they probably gonna be like, oh, you remember this used to be my song, girl. This is before I had them 4 extra kids or whatever case may be. Or this was off my first Baby Daddy. Remember that song, F Your Baby Daddy? Like, I feel like Sexy Red and her music still will have some nostalgic feel to certain people who are actually still trying to enjoy life 10 years from now. Where for Coi Leray, like, yeah, is her music more timeless? Like, does it sound better? Does it sound a little bit more effort been put into making the music? Absolutely. But do I think 10 years from now, still, if I hear Ski Eat come on, I think Ski Eat still may have that same response for me 10 years from now. I still may, if you hear 10 years from now, you at a cookout and you hear Ski, I think everybody at the cookout still gonna say Ski. I don't necessarily know if, like, for Coi Leray, she got songs that's going to have that same type of feel.
That's right.
I don't know, because I don't feel like it had the power as a Ski. Like, it was a cool song. I like the song, but I don't know. If I'm talking about to the masses and watching how the culture responds to that song, I don't think you can compare that song to, like, I don't think you can compare that song to too many of any of Sexy Red songs, to be honest, especially in her big songs. Like, I don't necessarily know if you can compare Best Friend to Pound Town or Ski. I don't know if you can compare it to Hellcats and Track Calls. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, you can't go get it sexy. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, them two did a versus. I think if they go 10 songs, I'm almost going to I'm going to be 100% positive. Coi Leray might get cleaned up like 7-3. And she got to pick them 3. She got to play them 3 at the right time. If she played them 3 at the wrong time, she can lose 10-0 and lose 3-2, like 3 bad songs. But again, it was a song off of this Sexy Red project that was called Fake Jamming. And it was more like a trap song, so I kind of wish that she would have put maybe like somebody like an ESTG, or even if you wanted to go old school, because she does kind of steal a lot of old Gucci cadences. She could have put Gucci on there, or even she could have used like that return favor from Chief Keef and put Chief Keef on that song to me. Like, I felt like that song just needed a dude's voice on it, because it's a very street oriented song, and it was kind of just talking about trapping. So I just kind of wish she would have put somebody like a Gucci, or somebody like a Chief Keef, or like I said, an ESTG, or even some of the younger dudes. Or she would have put Boss Man D-Lo on there, or put Boss Man D-Lo probably would have slid on that jump. Boss Man D-Lo or YBT Fat, any of them. I think she could have put any of them on that project, but it was another story that was kind of going super viral, maybe just on my mixtapes and just on Twitter. But it was, people were saying that Lil Boosie had more influence on Louisiana than Lil Wayne. And then I guess for most people, the response was, okay, cool. I would say we can all agree with that, because if you look at it off of that Boosie family tree, we talking about just style and cadence. You can put the Kevin Gates, you can put the NBA Young Boys, the Fredo Bangs. You can put a lot of those guys under that conversation. But for Lil Wayne, of course, Lil Wayne has more of a influence on hip hop as together, like just in total, as in totality. That voice, just Lil Wayne, is different. So I get it. Like, I'm almost with the cool. I can go with the for Louisiana for that type of the sound, if you want to say that for Boosie, but I don't necessarily believe that's for the entire world. I don't believe that's for the entire hip hop community. Like, nah, Boosie is just a little bit. I mean, Lil Wayne is just different, though.
So the statement is kind of true. Just
for Louisiana, for sure, because that sad, emotional music, that music is more emotional driven, from, like I said, the Young Boys, the Kevin Gates, the Fredo Bangs, a lot of those younger dudes from like Baton Rouge and Louisiana, or different parts of Louisiana. I do agree with that statement, because it's not too many people that come from Louisiana, any parts, even if it's New Orleans or it's Baton Rouge or whatever the case may be. A lot of them, you can hear more Boosie in them than you can hear Wayne. Because Wayne don't got no real storytelling songs. We always talk about Lil Wayne may be the greatest rapper of all time. That rap about have nothing in it with any real substance in his music. So for that to be said, Boosie do. And all of these rappers, even for somebody like Rob 49 may not be as, I guess, detailed in his music like Young Boy and them, but you kind of just get that. Yeah, that more of that Baton Rouge sound from them people. So yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that's a statement that too many people can agree with. I think just, of course, if you just reading it and not really paying attention to what you're reading, when you hear Boosie over Wayne, it's like, nigga, are you crazy? Like, that don't make no sense. But into and I guess in the context, and if you actually listen to the context of Boosie music and actually listen to the context of the other music from people who come up under those two rappers from that same region, you can hear the way more of the Boosie influence than you can hear the Wayne influence. For sure. I don't feel like too many people can really argue on that one. What else was going into the world? We did talk about Giselle Brown. We talked about that. We talked about Lizzo. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson. We didn't. What was this? The 100 meter. I believe she broke another record for the 100 meter. So she is leading. I don't necessarily know how many people seen there was a commercial that her and Cardi was doing it for. I want to say it was for NBC. Yeah, to promote the Olympics, it was Cardi B and it was Sha'Carri Richardson. But again, I do think, and that's the sad thing, I guess, when we talk about the media spaces, because sometimes you can do something so big, and especially it's still kind of in the heart of, like I said, we're talking about for women, kind of the WNBA, talking about the men's, it's the NBA conference final. So it's kind of like sometimes you can have certain weeks where it goes kind of go under the radar. Like people see it, but then it's like it may not become a huge headline story because it's still so many other things that's going on in the course of that week. So it's like I said, but shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson, and Olympics is right around the corner.
I think that was the first win in the Olympic season. I think that's what they were saying.
Oh, maybe I'm not 100.
Yeah, that's what it started for the Olympics.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I mean, of course, like I said, when the Olympics really actually go on, and that is like what towards like August or something, and that's not gonna lie. But shout out to the women in the WNBA who gonna have to literally go right from the WNBA season, especially if you got somebody like Asia Wilson, who realistically 9 times out of 10 will be playing in the finals, and you got to go from the finals to that. That's kind of gonna be like, damn, that's a lot of basketball. I mean, this is the realist.
I mean, the same thing with the NBA too.
Now they're gonna have a break though. Yeah, I mean they're gonna at least have like a month off.
No, I think they go because remember last year who was it that they had the crowd there? Wasn't it was it Drew Holiday and Booker? I think something like that. It was one of them when they had to get them out there.
Yeah, it was. But I think that because I think at that time the NBA that was the very next season after the bubble, so the season was pushed back some.
No. That was during the
It was. That was a very. What you did? Yeah, it was no right after the bubble. Because you got to think about it during the bubble.
I think it was during the FIBA tournament. That's the right. It probably wasn't the Olympics. It probably was the FIBA tournament.
No, the FIBA tournament we lost. That was the regular Olympics. The Olympics got pushed back a year.
But that was the one when they had to bring. They was like, oh, they need them now to beat. I think
no. You know, listen to what I'm saying. The FIBA tournament was last year. That was the one that it was Anthony Edwards and it was Austin Reeves in them, and they lost. The year before, the year you talking about when you're absolutely right. It was right after the NBA Finals. It was the Bucks and it was the Bucks and the Suns that played in the finals. Because you're absolutely right. I believe Drew Holiday did play on that team. Devin Booker was on that team, and it was right after the finals. But we got to remember the NBA that season started later because it came right after the bubble. And you got to think about it. The Olympics I think started earlier because they canceled the 2020 Olympics. So all of that kind of went right behind them. They kind of like ran right behind each other. Before, think about it, the NBA season will be over in June. I think the Olympics don't start until August?
It starts July 26th.
Yeah, so damn near August.
July 26th to 11th.
And I think that's another reason why I think a lot of people complaining about with the WNBA, like saying how the games, like especially I guess for the only two teams that played that many games like back to back was the Liberty and of course the FIBA. But the reason why is because they got to get the season over quicker because it's the Olympic season. So they're not. I think last year, I want to say the WNBA kind of stretched out a little bit, almost until September. It ain't going until September this year. I think it's probably the season will be over by July. It got to be. That's the only way I can see it, even for them to still even be able to play in the Olympics. Or it's going to have to be completely different teams. I wouldn't even make no sense. What else is going on? I guess we kind of just to tie in and kind of go back into the Diddy conversation just slightly. 50 Cent is probably absolutely one of the pettiest people on planet Earth. And I've seen a lot of people, especially, and that's one thing I hate about social media. Like people be wanting to be like so right and so smart. A lot of people trying to give me pushback because I said, because 50 Cent did pick this up and he said it was a bidding war on who was going to pick up the show. So if Netflix ended up picking it up, but I was like, I want to see it kind of be done like the Dahmer series. And a lot of people at Homegirl, man, we was like, no, he can't rush it though. You can't do it too fast because the story ain't, is not fully finished, is not fully completed, it's still going on. So it's like, how do you realistically even say how the story gonna end? So if 50 picking it up and he gonna bring a series to Netflix, I don't necessarily want to see it documentary style. To me, I would rather see it done more like the Dahmer thing. Like actually kind of get some actors to play it out. To me, it would be it would have, because it's hard to sit here and say you really want to watch a documentary of the Diddy situation because we live it in real time. So how do it hit the same? I mean, don't get it twisted. It worked. It got R. Kelly in jail, but I feel like that was kind of the surviving R. Kelly was still that came out during the pandemic, so it was a little bit different. TV was a little bit different. The response on TV shows or documentaries and everything was a lot differently because look how big The Last Dance was for Jordan. Like ESPN still put out 30 for 30, they still put out different documentaries, but none of them as big as The Last Dance. And I don't think it was just because of Jordan. I think it was because of the time we was in it. People didn't have as much other things to watch. So I think for 50, I was saying I wanted to look more like a docuseries, like the Dahmer thing. And people like, oh, how they can't look like you can't read. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you what I prefer. I don't care what it's worded. Like if it says it's supposed to be a mini documentary, I don't want to see just like a regular doc. Because I mean, like if that was the case, if I wanted to watch it, like when 50 was clowning TMZ, like y'all can go on Tubi and watch their version of it right now. Like I'm sure it's endless people you can go on YouTube and just do a random documentary. So I don't. And to me,
seen that advertising earlier when I turned the TV
on for what for the Tubi for the TMZ John. Yeah, so that's my point. Is like who really? I don't want to see that. To me personally, perfectly. For me, my opinion, I would rather see them do like the Dahmer thing. Like actually get characters to sit here and play Diddy. Like even if he wanted to let Woody play Diddy. Like I'd rather see that to me. Like if you really want to knock this out of the park and make this a home run, probably push it back. Don't release it until probably like 2027. Allow the story to play out. Like you can go into coming up with the scripts or however you want to do it. But to me, it would make more sense. It would be more fire, more people to watch and talk about. Even like when we did with the Griselda Blanco thing. Like that's a docuseries. It's a documentary, but it's a docuseries where you can alter it a little bit, where you make it more TV friendly. It makes it a lot more exciting. Again, like the Dahmer thing. I don't necessarily think just a regular documentary will hit if it was just a regular documentary on Netflix, just because it was done by 50 Cent.
Kind of like how them, what's that, like a New Edition, like that kind of.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like the New Edition, John. That's why I said the Woody dude, the dude who played Kanan on BMF. I mean not BMF, but on Power. I think he can play Diddy. I don't necessarily know how it would play out, but again, I guess because I brought that conversation up to kind of tie it in, because Keke Palmer and her baby father wanted to kind of call it truce. And I do think that video, it has done a lot for people, because it kind of make for some people like, and I'm sure Keke Palmer and her baby father probably watched that video and was like, and they may have just and probably thought to each other, because I did hear a lot of people talk about even how some people normalize their relationships not being that bad. And a lot of people throwing that around like, well, my relationship not that bad. So Keke Palmer and her baby father probably seen that video and was like, our situation ain't that bad. Do we really want to drag it out in the courtroom? If we can call it a truce and we both can know that we were wrong and we can admit that where our wrongdoings was, can we kind of call it a truce so we don't have to drag each other out through the courtroom? Because then, of course, if you get dragged out in the courtroom, then it's also going to get dragged out on the media. And if both of y'all got crazy stories amongst each other, I don't necessarily know how it's going to play in your favor when it rolls out, honestly. So I'm not mad at her for that.
Who do you think make that call?
Probably Keke Palmer, because she got more to lose. Of course, because she got more to lose. I mean, this dude really don't got nothing. He just realistically, people know him as a Keke Palmer baby father. What do he really got? He don't got nothing to lose. He got everything to gain, to be honest. I mean, you kind of don't even got everything to gain, because if you sit here, take your baby moms to court, and she realistically the breadwinner, you try to destroy her career or destroy her credibility, then now what? Now you have to really step up as a dad, and you have to step up to bringing more money to the table. So realistically, it's probably in both of y'all interests to kind of like, let's call it truce. But on the other hand, then you got somebody like Jeannie Myway. She kind of was like, showing her thoughts and prayers to Cassie, but also kind of making it seem like, oh, you making other women is making it easier for us and making us be stronger. And I'm kind of like, damn, Jeezy, you better find a way to tap out early, my brother. I don't necessarily know how bad you want this to go in the courtroom for yourself, neither. She's going to play a different type of she's going to play a different type of victim, and then this is when you're going to learn people hear victims a little bit differently when it's not black women. And not a woman who's been on daytime television for years. That daytime television audience is completely different from somebody just having a podcast or somebody being on YouTube or being on BET. It's a lot different. And that audience gonna hear them words and hear them stories completely different. If Jeezy kind of want to salvage his career, he better pay attention to them hit signals that she's throwing out there for people to. A lot of people didn't pick it up like that. I seen like, of course, some of the smaller spaces they picked it up. But if I'm Jeezy, you better kind of pay attention to what's going on, because I don't necessarily know how that one will play out for you. We talked about the 63-year-old Bishop. Oh yeah, another video that was going viral over the weekend was a video of Savannah James. I seen people kind of taking it two different ways. Some people looked at it where it was like she shaded Zach LaVine, and then some other people made it seem like Zach LaVine didn't want to acknowledge Savannah James. So for people who don't know, let me kind of paint a better picture for you. They were at, I want to say they was either at Bronny's NBA workouts or they were at Bryce's AAU game. I can't remember what it was, because Anthony Davis was there as well. He was literally sitting right beside them. So Zach LaVine, people don't know who Zach LaVine is. He plays for the Chicago Bulls. He was in the dunk contest versus Aaron Gordon a couple years ago, probably like one of the best dunk contests in the last 10 years. So he come into the gym and he shake LeBron's hand, give up LeBron some dap. Now, Savannah, it may look like it was kind of cold in the gym because she had like an oversized hoodie on, had her hands like in the hoodie, but she was kind of like cuddled up in the hoodie. So it was like, and her facial expression was like, nigga, don't say nothing to me. Like her facial expression looked like, nigga, you bet not put your hand out to me. So that's when I kind of, so some people made it look, it seemed like he was being disrespectful for not reaching her hand out. But one, she didn't have her hands even in a visible space where you can see her hands. And her facial expression looked like, nigga, you know not to speak to me.
But I mean, just in general, ain't that kind of respect? You speak to the man first before you acknowledge his wife.
No, that's what people wasn't mad at that part. Yeah, that part was right. But then they were saying when they got to Savannah, it was like he kind of like glanced at her and then just literally went straight to Anthony Davis and shook Anthony Davis' hand. But I'm looking at the video and it seemed like it was different. Like I said, different people interpreted it differently. Some people looked at it like that was Savannah standing on business, like just because you my husband friend don't make you my friend. And then some people was looking at it where it was saying like Zach LaVine was being disrespectful. I took it as, yeah, I was with everybody else, the people who felt like just because you and my husband cool don't mean me and you cool. Like you don't get an immediate dap or shake up from me.
Yeah, but if I never even really met you or interact with you, I don't really necessarily have to go out my way to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to speak to you, no. That's my point. So that's why I'm looking at it. So that's how I felt.
I was just, like I said, we play basketball together. I played against him. I don't, because see, I feel like even with Savannah, I feel like she don't really interact like that with, and she don't seem like the type to interact with everybody.
Yeah, no, not at all. She looked like she got hurt. Whatever, like the people that she cool with in the NBA, them is the people she cool with. Like she don't seem like she ain't a mixy person and trying to be buddy with everybody. I'm not trying to be everybody's friend.
And in that situation, I just feel like, because it wasn't like it was a walk past. It was, they were sitting down, and you know, I acknowledged, hey, what's up, bro? You know, cool. I just, now if they just crossing path like for walking.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen to what I'm saying. The crazy thing is when you see it, and that's what I do kind of like that she got her own podcast, because bro, that personality when they out in public and when it's just her and her homegirl is literally night and day. Like that facial expression and that body language is you see of her 90% of the time when she out and people trying to interact with LeBron and she right there, it literally be look like, nigga, don't speak to me. You speak to him and keep it moving. Like I don't want to do the small talk. But when she's doing her podcast, like you can see a huge different, like she looked like, when we see LeBron and you see him out and interacting in different places and he look like a big kid, you can kind of tell like she looks like she's just as much of a kid as he is. Like she looked just as playful. Like when she's in her space of comfortable, when it's just her and her homegirl and sitting on the couch and they doing the jump, even when they doing people calling in. I want to play that clip of that girl because this is so crazy how people want certain things, but you can't even pronounce words. Like this was hilarious to me. Oh my God, dog. Did I send you that clip? I think I did. I hope I did.
You know the one where when the sun called.
No, not when the sun called. It was when it was Joan. I might have didn't send it to you, but I think I sent it to myself. Oh man, this Joan was hilarious. This woman couldn't literally even say the word. She was trying to say monogamy, but she couldn't even say it. Oh my God, this was.
Oh yeah, I say that one.
Oh man, I got that thing. Yeah, I do. Hey, dog.
Smell the bullshit.
Oh my God, dog! I swear to God, that was hilarious, dog. Oh my God, that was. But
okay, so
you can't want something that you can't even pronounce.
Right. So I'm asking you as a guy, if a girl came to you, saying that, oh, I want to be.
No, because I wouldn't have known what you were talking about. Shout out to Savannah for even having the patience and even be able to comprehend, because that lady was so off with that word. Like she wanted to say Montgomery and she was trying to say, oh no. So that was hilarious. But that's again what I'm saying. But even when we kind of tie that back into the Young Miami conversation, what I'm saying you can build a brand and it still can be luxury without it have to be luxury in people's face, because when people know Savannah's dog, she is rich. If anything happened to LeBron James, God forbid, or if they got divorced, God forbid, we all know that this lady is well off, and she put them fits together, and it don't be designer from head to toe. It don't be like like she still looks well put together. And a lot of times it be with a bunch of Nike stuff on or a bunch of sports paraphernalia. So it's just different. And I just like even just how a lot of women actually just like her for even to have people even calling into the podcast. Like that to me is tight, because when you get to see any celebrity come out of their space that you kind of think people are already in, and you get to see them as somebody completely different, and see that they got a personality, and just to see that she kind of look like she got that same big personality as LeBron, but she kind of only just put it on when she's in front of her people. That to me is even tighter than just sitting and saying like, that's just tight. I ain't gonna lie to you. And while we talking about basketball wives or women of basketball, wives of basketball players, shout outs to Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry. They welcome a new kid, but they got 2 for 2. They got 2 girls and 2 boys. So their 2 youngest is going to be 2 boys, and their 2 oldest are 2 girls. So like I said, shout outs to Ayesha and shout outs to Steph on baby number 4. I feel like, to me, if I'm them, I'm calling the raps. You got 2 of each. You might as well call it quits right now. But shout outs to them though. Shout outs to Steph Curry. Shout outs to Ayesha Curry. And then we didn't get to, I guess, while we was talking about just the WNBA. Shout outs to Cameron Brinks, because that is, of course, Steph Curry's god sister, and she's been having a great season. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's probably, out of all the rookies, she's kind of getting the short end of the stick, because she really, we talking about just stat wise and even just percentage wise, she probably is putting up the best numbers, offense and defense. But of course, again, if we talking about people shouldn't be celebrating the losing, no, the Sparks is just as bad as the Indiana Fever. And of course, the only win that the Fever got was over the Sparks. So again, like I said, shout outs to Cameron Brinks. Let me find another little relationship conversation piece.
I just think that there's nothing wrong either with finding the right person to tell. There's so many.
Yeah, she smoked her. I'm not gonna lie to you. Y'all know one of my favorite sayings that I always say, I hope and God willing I'm gonna be here 10 years from now, because I do want to see the actual almost the aftermath of like how when people like sit here and talk about the crack era. I do want to look at the social media dating era, and I feel like that is the 20s, like the 2020s. Like I guess how, of course, when podcasts became super popular, the relationship topics became even more popular on social media, and social media actually became social media, the birth of TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all of these things. I do want to see how a lot of people, because like I told y'all, again, I'm one of those people that if you call it quits and we don't never, of course, end on bad terms, I always pay attention. And I'm one of those people who go back and kind of look at it like, you still single just like I am. And I feel like you're probably actually still trying to date and I'm not. And I just always kind of wonder how so many people kind of were looking for the perfect person or the perfect man or the perfect opportunity, or the grass is green on the other side. And you kind of get to see the grass still ain't green. You're still trying to cut the grass. I like it. I like I said, that is one of my biggest things that I kind of am always looking forward to as we leading down. I do want to play this clip.
5 things that you have to offer a man. But I think we are going to take seriously.
Y'all can bring this topic down.
You're not serious though. I am serious. So why would a man even want to look your way if you can't add value to his life? Well, not if you got the bag down. Right. Maybe you should spend the money down. So let's say the man has some bag and he wants to spend the money. What does he get back? I ask him out, like, what's my favorite color? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's be the noise. No fucking real hair. Well, we don't keep it shallow over here. We talk about real stuff. And when it comes down to the money, why does your man have to have it? Because I get it. So how much you make then? That's none of your business. I'm a nurse and it's none of your business. So how much do you want your man to make? We need to be in the streets. Later after we come up. You want a good guy while you're in the medical field? I want a good guy, bad guy, whatever brings the money and make me richer. That's what it is. If he can't pay all my bills and take care of what else I got going on, then you know.
Of course. So I mean, that was just one of those topics that, of course, like I said, they almost gonna be timeless when it comes to social media, when it comes to podcasts, and it's just like I'm sure most people be tired of them. You hear these topics, you kind of roll your eyes, but sometimes I just laugh at them, especially if you actually get to look at the people in the video, because it's just like the first thing I'm looking at is like three girls and they just going off and they going crazy, and I'm like, I'm looking for a rich man, I'm looking for this, or when they ask them how much do you make, or whatever case may be, and you kind of spin it, and I'm like, bro, do you think like on what planet do you think actually? I'm not talking about a trapper. I'm not talking about a scammer. We talking about an actual a rich man, somebody who's paying in taxes 6-7 figures in their taxes. Do you really think that they want to date you? Like, what are we talking about, though? I think that sometimes that's when people are not being realistic when we having these conversations.
But I think that still goes back to what you said earlier about the whole, I guess how the image or whatever you're trying to portray. Because let's say you're talking that, but then you got niggas sleeping in your house. You know what I'm saying, that you pay, he ain't paying shit. He's staying there, but that you in love with that nigga. So you might say it trying to just, I just want to talk in peace, or I just want to, I want this to be catchy in real life. You're not living what you're talking about.
I mean, I think two things can be true. Those can be some women out there, but then I think sometimes, especially for these group of women, they look like they're young. No, they look young, and I think they believe it until they realize. Sometimes I think sometimes the realization don't come to you, and it may be a little bit longer for a lot of us because you get to see the women like the Dre's and like the Bernices, when we always talk about that, where age kind of doesn't define them, where they kind of still are living their best life and they are still getting treated like they in their 20s, but they in their 40s, closer to 50. But I think the difference is where some people don't pay attention and realize these women have been in these circles for years, so they are used to moving into these circles. They live in proximity to these people. They go in the clubs of where these people that they get booked on. They are getting actually booked on these flyers. I think a lot of times, a lot of women and men live in la la land and don't even realize, like, I'm not even in nowhere near in the proximity of these people that I'm looking for to try to date, or trying to sit here and say, oh yeah, I may get married to this person, or I want a baby by this type of person. Like, bro, you're not even in the club with these people. You're literally not even getting booked on a club flyer. How do you think you're going to just dramatically jump from A to Z? Some people think they can. I don't necessarily believe in. I believe if you believe that, you can kind of believe the pig's gonna fly as well. I can't see it happening for you, dog. I mean, good luck on it if you think that's what's gonna happen.
Well, what about them says they can't get it? Like, what you saying based off their looks?
Yeah, to me, because I don't think it's just like if you're going off of the track record of. I mean, if we just going off the track record of what we see athletes date. You see, we know it's kind of a look. Even I'm thinking about the conversation that we was having. What was that? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a picture, and it was a Christmas Day party, and it looked like. I mean, of course, and I tried to shoot the Eagles some bail because I'm like, it's 50-some dudes on the team. It only looked like it was like 15 women in it, but it was all white women. So it's like, how do you think? Like, where are you going to fit in? Like I said, I think sometimes people get, of course, you get it mixed and screwed. Like, can you look a certain way and still be hood and ghetto and get you a street dude? Yeah, but what we all know, that run on that is only going to be for so long. It ain't. In 2024, the world ain't producing another Big Meech. That's just that type of lifestyle ain't coming from just trapping. And if we talking about scamming, like we talked about that window, that maybe you can good if you get a 10-year run. But if you talking about building a lifestyle, 10 years ain't gonna help you build a lifestyle. 10 years, what you gonna do for the next 30 or 40 years? Like, I think some people, we live so much in the right now moment. Okay, what you gonna do when you're 50? If this person get locked up, or if you get sick, or whatever, anything, I don't necessarily know. I just looking at these women and the way they talk and the way they carry themselves, and I'm just looking at even the younger dudes from even the Ja Morants. Let's say even when him and Drake was supposed to have their beef or back and forth, that became from women who didn't look like women like this.
And I think even what Mikey's probably saying, it's just your image or how your lifestyle what will make them come. You know what I'm saying? Come because like the lady said, she a nurse or something like that. How you know that you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you at work all the time. So how you know you're going to see a rich man come to your, the hospital or anything like that? So if you're not even presenting a way or even living that lifestyle, what makes you think that the rich man is looking for you?
But I'm quite sure people probably said the same thing about Sexy Red. And look at which, I mean, she don't have no billionaire or whatever the case may be, but she went from where she was to where she is now.
But how can you put that as a requirement in your dating where a person has to be this certain this stature of level, but yet you still at the back parties, or you know what I'm saying? Like you're not in those places, but you saying I want a nigga to make a 6 figures, and you're not in those places where the men with 6 figures got.
We don't know where they are. And you don't know what you might run across.
Okay, listen, I'm with you on that one, and I'm glad you brought in the sexy red because that probably realistically is the closest thing I guess we can get to that. But then I still kind of wonder how many of these rappers, I mean not rappers, but basketball players or athletes are actually even beating down the door sexy red. Like, I mean, I think we like her music, but I don't necessarily know how many dudes is just running to go date her.
But we don't know.
I mean, we don't, but you kind of like we know how many dudes is just geeking for Meg Thee Stallion. You kind of can even see them in the comment section. I think we can kind of all virtually kind of know what Meg DMs look like.
Okay.
Right or wrong? I mean, you can tell me you're a woman. You can tell me.
I mean, I get it because you're going based off of her looks and her body and stuff like that. But that's not. And I understand what you're saying, but that's not to say that sexy red. She might not have the same amount, but she got something.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I'm listening to. I'm sure it's a crazy dude like a Zion Williams or something who may still shoot that shot. I'm not saying that nobody ain't shooting a shot at sexy red. I'm not even saying that she may be really, actually Drake might actually be clapping her cheeks. I don't necessarily know if Drake is the bar for that, but if that's what we're gonna judge because we know his track record ain't to marry neither. So again, like I said, I think it depends on what you're actually looking for. But I think this, if we're talking about the ratio of how often or how close you may be able to actually get to, I think it's slim to none, dog. Like it sound cool, but it ain't as many rich dudes out here. And if I'm rich and I got my choice of do I want to date the ghetto nurse that's sitting here yelling at a street microphone compared to if I could just slide in one of these Instagram girls who really don't say too much of anything on their page and they just take nice pictures, I kind of always think that's what it's going to be. Even if you kind of bring back into the Diddy situation, as trifling of a person of as he is, still look at the caliber of women. We thought, dog, we talking about this man is at this point we can all agree this man is the scum of the earth. But even he still got a type. Like Young Miami she portrays a hood rat from Miami, but she still don't present as a hood rat from Miami. Yeah, when she talk on her social media or whatever the case may be, but she still clean up like one of the Instagram girls. So I don't necessarily know. I just think that is kind of like a very far reach. I don't know. Like I said, I got high hopes for him. We're gonna see. I do want to play this clip. It was of a guy in New York City, and it was a gay guy. And I guess the dude was mean mugging him because he was gay. So the dude probably was like a homophobic, and he see a gay dude looking at him crazy and probably mean mugged him and act like he wanted smoke. And I guess the gay dude had a strap on him and pause, no Diddy, not that type of strap, the real, the glizzy.
So since you already went viral on social media, I'm gonna make you go viral again. I was staring at you because you're cute and you look like you got a big dick. What happened? Do something. Back the light started, I got this pole and I'll bust your shit open. Why are you so quiet now? You was just gangster when you ran up on me with that knife. What are you looking tonight about, sis? You're not gangster no more? I bet you we both put these weapons down and I'll smoke you. When it's blood, there's nobody can break it up either. Oh, but because I'm gangster like when I came looking for you, you don't got nothing to say now. Nigga really just tried to run down on me with the knife because I was looking at you. So what? What are you gonna do about it? I'm looking at you right now. Scared. That life. So since you already went
Nigga, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Nigga, the way he was talking, nigga, walk away. Leave with your pride. Walk the fuck away.
Nigga, listen to a hotel.
Right.
You ain't no more pride, though. Your pride is gone.
I ain't even see it, but the way he was talking to you, go ahead, dog. He already got you.
Listen to ain't no pride, though. You don't have no pride no more. You're mad. He literally just emasculated you. It's over for you, dog. Whatever social media, whatever woman you thought you was about to go home and talk to, try to play tough with, that is out the window, though. You literally got demasculated for the world to see, dog. It is a rap city in the basement for you. There's nothing you can say after that. Like
that's one of the mothers. Don't be with your girl. Oh, you ain't act like that when that faggot approached you with the.
Yeah. Oh man. Damn, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. He did that man dirty. I'm not gonna lie to you. He smoked. He did that man. He did him extremely dirty. I do want just because we in the DMV. Like I said, it's not a crazy work week, but I do want to play. I played this dude last week, but he got a DMV jump when he was talking about New Balances.
Today, New Balances are worn by celebrities, sneakerheads, and everyone in New York. The reason why I say that is because back in the early 80s sneakers were a sign of prosperity and wealth in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia tri-state area. Before that, people were only wearing New Balances mainly for running shoes and not necessarily for streetwear. But that all changed in 1982 when New Balance released the 990s. This premium running shoe featured plush suede, leather details, and came out in classic New Balance gray colorway. But more importantly, the 990s came with a price tag of $100, which was unheard of at the time. This also made it the first sneaker to ever hit the three-figure price point. So in the 80s, when D-boys and hustlers wanted to rock a subtle but fly look, they opted for the 990s. They were comfortable enough to wear on the street elbow, plus the $100 price point was seen as an actual flex and a status symbol among the peers. Logo culture was also essential to the spread of Nicki's popularity within the region. A staple part of attending the logo event was getting your picture taken at photo booth or flipping it up as they call it. Later, New Balances became more than just a way for hustlers to flex their wealth and comfort. They became a staple fashion item in the Washington, D.C. area and almost a rite of passage. Parents passed down the tradition by buying New Balances for their own kids. And I experienced this personally when my dad bought me my first the DMV and had the popularity of New Balance.
Again, shout out to this dude. He definitely do a good job when he's doing the breakdown with the clothes and stuff. And I just wanted to play it, of course, because we are based out of the DMV area. And I just like people giving the DMV credit when because we don't get it a lot, especially just period, a lot on a lot of things. Or the arguments just kind of always go left. And it seems like they always go left even between with DC and Maryland people and Baltimore people or New York people. And especially when it comes down to fashion and different fashion pieces. And it just shout outs to New Balance. Because I just, of course, growing up in this area where at one point in time, New Balances like literally was only just gray. It was gray on gray. It was maybe gray in one other color, but it wasn't as... Yeah, maybe like a gray and navy blue or like a, yeah, that's probably it. Like it wasn't a lot. Like I think the one that probably kind of played around with the colors a little bit, maybe in the mid to early 2000s was the 574s. And I just try to remember that off when I was working in Shoe City. They just had 574s, probably was the only ones that had a little bit color too. But that wasn't the popular one. Of course, the 990s and the 999, those was the popular ones. So that wasn't that 574s definitely was like the cheap $75 Jones. You could probably catch them on sale for like 57. Like everybody wasn't even geeking for them because people really didn't care about colors when it came to the New Balance. It's like they are now. Like I remember me and Lowen was talking one day and he was just saying how like that New Balance, that New Balance style, like the one like before Shoe City closed, I guess the one that they kind of them in downtown locker room was carrying with all the different colorways. He's like, bro, this is like the new what was that shoe that was like it was like 2010. It was a Nike Jones. It was the what was it? Was it the Wave foam? What was it called? The Wave something. It was like it had the foam material on the shoe. It was like I can't remember what it was, but it was a Nike and it was like $80. And it came out in all the same colorways as the foams did, but it wasn't the shoe wasn't the whole foam. That's what it was. Yeah. Not that once I thought it was called like Wave something. I can't really remember off the top of my head.
Plastic joint, right?
But the whole shoe wasn't plastic. Like the middle of the shoe was suede, and then the side of the shoe had the foam material on it. It literally the shoe came out. It was basically the shoe was basically black, and it came with all the same colorways as the foam. It had the copper Jones, it had the purple Jones, it had the eggplant. It literally had all them Jones. The green Jones, it had every jump. But everybody in the Go-Go's was wearing that Nike. That was like an $80 jump. And Low made the joke. He's like, bro, this is the new version or whatever the name of that shoe was. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But in other news, let me play this clip of Donald Trump was doing a rally in the Bronx in New York. Because of course, I'm for sure for people who are really into politics, you probably know that Donald Trump is in trial on New York for the hush money trial. Of course, it's not a politic podcast. I really don't know. I try to keep up, but it's like too hard to explain. But I can tell you this one. He what's it? No, not that shoe. Hell no, not that Joe. No. The Joe. This was like that. Hell no, that was when we was young when them came on. That was the no. This was like literally 2000 and what's that like 2010, 2012, something like that around that time. I can't remember them. I can't remember. But this is Donald Trump, and he brought out Sleepy Hollow and Chef G. For people who don't know who Sleepy Hollow and Chef G are, they are two of the popular rappers that helped popularize the New York drill. Like they were kind of hot right before Pop Smoke, and then kind of like when Pop Smoke got big and Fabio got big, they kind of lost their steam a little bit, but they still respected in New York, especially in that New York drill scene. Okay. Yeah, them Jones. And again, I mean, you know, it's so funny because, and y'all know that I just listened to like Hot 97, a bunch of other stuff. So the day before this happened, I'm listening to Hot 97. And for people, just a quick backstory for people who don't know, in New York at one point in time, Hot 97 was the go-to radio station, the only radio station, and they still, of course, had one of the biggest concerts in hip hop, which is Summer Jam. And I think that believes it comes up June, even if it's the first week of June, like that June 7th around that time, or June 4th or something like that. Anyway. So really a couple of days before, and I guess they had one of their biggest back and forth was against the Breakfast Club. When the Breakfast Club was starting to become hot before it was syndicated all across the world, they had their back and forth radio beef on New York City. So I'm sure if you're listening to me in whatever any other city, you kind of got two major hip hop radio stations in your city. So from the DMV is KYS and it's PGC. So in New York at that time, it was Hot 97 and it was Power 105, the Breakfast Club and Ebro in the morning. Both of them got their morning show. So anyway, long story short, Charlamagne on his book tour right now, so I believe he was doing Good Morning. He was doing Good Morning America, but I believe he had a clip go viral on The View, and it was with of course Whoopi Goldberg, and they were trying to kind of like press him to endorse Joe Biden, and he was kind of like, nah, he did not say he wasn't. He didn't say he was voting for Trump, but he was basically like, I'm not coming out again and sitting here saying I'm endorsing Joe Biden because I did that last time, and he felt like Biden and them kind of did them dirty. They didn't do, ain't basically do a lot of the promises, whatever case may be. So anyway, long story short, the next day after that happened, the day before this happened in New York with the Sleepy Hollow, because Sleepy Hollow and Chef G are supposed to perform at Summer Jam. And that's why I kind of wanted to get a little backstory. So Rosenberg was killing Charlamagne. Like, he's realistically, even if you follow him on social media, he really just be hating on Charlamagne, like just any random time with Joe Rogan. Now, any people who are successful for talking in the same spaces as he are. And you know how sometimes people will give different excuses, like his basically, oh, well, Charlamagne only popular because he catering to too many different audiences. Just whatever the little miscellaneous reasons. But he was upset because Charlamagne wouldn't sit here and say, hey, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. So with all that being said, this happened the very next day. And it was kind of, and I made sure, when I seen this video, I tagged both of them under the video. I said, I want to make sure y'all got that same energy you had. You dragging Charlamagne for like 30 minutes, had that same energy for them. I knew you wasn't, because realistically, you live in New York. And Charlamagne is different. Charlamagne don't be outside. These two niggas, you're going to have to see them in literally 2 weeks. So I guarantee you ain't going to go as crazy as you did. But realistically, you can't, because okay, this is their opinion. These two niggas is gangsters for real. They literally just got put hit in a RICO right after. Of course, they got out. They got a bond, but not too long after the Young Thug situation. They are out on bond right now. So I'm sure, and let's be clear, Ebro kind of tried to play the politic game, and he realistically was like, I want to kind of shoot them some bail, one, because I know both of them are out on bail right now. So I'm sure that their parole officer or somebody, you trying to get good favor or good graces in the court, and most politicians or court appointed lawyers or whatever going on, I'm sure they got some relationship with Trump, or they got some political ties. They may be Republican, so they saying, hey, you want to get some time knocked off, or you looking at this RICO case coming up for you, you do this favor for Donald Trump, you come out here and show him some support, show him some love, we will remember this when it's time for you to go to trial. I'm almost 100% positive that's what happened. But Rosenberg, he tried to take a stance, but I just paid attention to how aggressive his stance wasn't. Don't get it twisted. He did come out with Mike. I real respect that. He was like, man, I don't even want them to perform at Summer Jam. So I kind of respected him a little bit for that one, because I'm like, all right, cool. You're trying to take some form of stance, but I do still realistically, I just know how people just be like, to me, my only thing I don't like is, I don't like how, especially because Rosenberg is a white man, I don't like you telling black people who they got to vote for. Like, that to me is corny. I'm not a fan of that at all. Like, oh, you're not black. How are you telling us who we got to vote for?
And I think that's probably even watching the clip from Charlamagne. I feel like that's what he was trying to get at. Like, I'm not going to use my platform to endorse. I'm trying to tell you which one you should, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pick your side.
Of course.
I can't make you. And I think that's probably the thing where a lot of people feel like, well, you need to endorse so the black people or the community can go vote for that person. But no, what's best for you in your interest? Mm-hmm. I can tell you what I think or who I think might, but what's best in your interest, because everybody's interest ain't the same.
Of course not.
So for me to just sit here and keep beating you down, yeah, you should vote for this. You should vote for this. You should vote for this. but then it might be beneficial for me, but not beneficial to you.
Of course, for sure, of course.
And like I said, I put Charlamagne probably got it back a lot of backlash beforehand.
Yeah, the last time when no, of course, because the last year.
Yeah, I'm not putting myself out there on the limb.
No, because the last time, of course, when they were both about to go head to head, and this was, of course, when all the interviews were Zoom, and President Biden did a Zoom with Charlamagne, and he made a comment, and it went viral, and people kind of was criticizing Charlamagne for not even giving Joe Biden. And so I'm thinking at this point, Charlamagne kind of know, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't, because Joe Biden, it was a video went viral, and Joe Biden was like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He said this to a black man. Charlamagne is a black man, and Joe Biden came out of his mouth and said, if you are black and you don't vote for me, you're not. How can you say you're black and you don't vote for me? He literally said this to this man. And the niggas was mad at Charlamagne for not saying nothing back to him at that time. So I'm like, no, what do you really want from him? And I think sometimes a lot of people be, again, when we, no, you want too much from some people because it don't matter what I say or what I do. Some people gonna like it, some people not gonna like it, but they gonna always find something to say about it regardless. So I'm not mad at it, and I'm not mad, especially I'm not mad at these two. I'm literally, they just got locked up. I remember, I know we talked about it earlier, they got locked up on a RICO. Like for some crazy charges. I think like one of them Jones was like, they was talking about committing like a murder or something over Facebook DM. And that was one of the things they got picked up for. So, like, let's be clear. Like, it's just a little bit different. But it's just like, to me, I don't like, especially when I be listening to Rosenberg and he go on these long, strong spills. Like, bro, you're not black. I get it. You talk about hip hop, but you got, I think sometimes people, again, when we talk about you with the Kendrick Lamar thing, I think sometimes people get so infatuated just because you listen to the music a lot and you talk about the music a lot. That still don't make you black, dog. And that don't make your opinion on you telling who we should vote for and why we should vote for them. That don't make it valid neither. Cool. I'm glad that you feel like you that endorse into the conversation, but you not. So it's kind of like, bro, relax a little bit. Like you sometimes people, you can make your opinion kind of like, but people don't even want to hear it no more. I just wonder. I don't have no real take on that. I respect her gangster for saying it and being honest about it. But two, I know for a fact I couldn't date nobody like that. So I ain't mad at the dude for wanting to break up with her if that's kind of really her behavior. Like you feel like you always got to be in somebody's section. You got to always kind of be up in some dude's face. Like, yeah, I'm cool now.
She sounded like one. Just saying the way she was saying that type of stuff, like that. How are you expecting to take you even serious?
You can't. I really realistically, you can't. I don't necessarily know what you're looking for. I just wouldn't do it. It would be a no-go for me. But I do want to get into, I guess, a couple serious topics because it was Memorial Day weekend, and y'all know in most cities, the hotter it get, the more violent a lot of cities get. So of course, I mean, no other city than probably one of the most violent cities in America is Chicago, and I want to state this number the proper way. I want to say it was, hold on, give me 1 second. Oh yeah, at least 31 people were shot over the Memorial Day weekend and 5 were killed in Chicago, bro. Chicago is just one of those wild places. That's why I wasn't even mad when Angel Reese was like, what's all the good soul food places, but don't give me nothing that don't do delivery. I'm glad she's smart enough to kind of know that, like, bro, stay on your P's and Q's out there and don't go out there just parlaying and playing around too much, because that city is a very dangerous city. Like I said, and then even just kind of even tied back here in the DMV areas, and one of the reasons why I never particularly even cared for this club, because I kind of just know the audience of that crowd, and it's just like, it's one of those jumps where like it's a club, but bro, some clubs ain't clubs to me. Like it's just when it's just too many hood people to go there. For people who don't know what we're talking about, of course, last night with most clubs in DC close around at 2-3 o'clock mark, it was a shootout in front of Barcode. I want to believe somebody was left in their car shack right in front of the club. So I believe 2 men were shot in front of the club, and like it had to be a real bad shootout because it was out front of that. The police were out there in front of the club for a long time. And again, that's to me like if you have been out in the city, you've been a club, but it's not an upscale club. It's not no real dress code. If you got some money, you can come in there. You can damn near do what you want. You can come dressed as you please. It literally niggas that come from just literally straight off the block, come from wherever the case may be. It smell like weed. It's just a dirty environment. Like people just come there, and that was like one of the first clubs like that allowed the dudes from the hoods to come from there. Oh, we let the hood dudes let you come in there, bring all your drug money. Don't matter. We're gonna sell you sections that's overpriced, and niggas gonna come in there, smoke their weed. They're gonna do whatever. They're gonna let you get. But that when you allow those things, then that kind of attracts a different type of crowd, and you kind of know how that the male ego gonna always be the male ego. And then you mix the male ego with liquor and dudes stunting with their money or getting high, whatever the case may be. You kind of almost know how these stories gonna play out. And that's why when I top send me that, I'm like, bro, that's why I stay in the house. I'm cool with being old and washed in my Keisha and Emmett voice. I'm absolutely cool with that because I just know certain. It's just like, nah, dog, for what? And when you hear these type of stories, and it kind of almost make you, it makes you happy with your decisions on staying in the house, but then it kind of almost make you question sometimes when you're even thinking about going out. Like you got to kind of almost feel like you got to, is it worth it? Playing out the scenario, like worst case scenario. And I ain't even talking about this being the worst case scenario, but it's just like, how is the vibes really going to be? Is it really going to be worth paying for parking and paying to go here and this, that, and the third, paying for being careful? Somebody will break into your car, got to find somewhere to park. All of those, or getting a ticket, all of that stuff to me kind of plays out in my head. I know me and you talked about that before here, but it's just like, be on your P's and Q's. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring, because the summer is literally right around the corner. We basically almost here at the summertime. Sean Kingston, I don't necessarily know the real story, but I know Sean Kingston. I try to listen to academics break it down, and it just sounds like Sean Kingston owe a lot of people a lot of money. Sean Kingston has been getting over and getting things off of his face card. And that's probably sometimes when people live in California and these places, and I always be like, damn, why do people just be so pressed to live there? I guess it's with stuff like this with Sean Kingston doing, getting a lot of stuff literally on IOUs, on face card credit. And I don't necessarily, he ran up a bill. It was I believe he was getting like a custom made home screen system, like a TV system. And I want to say it was for like $130,000 or $60,000, something. Yeah, something crazy like that. Don't have $100,000 system in your house to just watch TV is insane. That to me is like ridiculous, though. I don't even know how big or how many TVs it is. Yeah, like from wall to wall, but dog, like, yeah, LeBron is different though. He's a billionaire. You can knock yourself out. But even when academics was even talking about like how some of these rappers, like, don't get it twisted. Sean Kingston, I believe when he was saying Sean Kingston helped co-write on the what's the popular Chris Brown song right now, Sensational. Sean Kingston wrote on that, but that money still don't come in like if you writing the song and you performing the song, because you doing shows and you're doing whatever. And I think that was one of the things academics were saying.
He was at a performance. I think they took him. When they came in the book.
But no, what he was saying is a lot of rappers and these celebrities, you accumulate bills for a certain lifestyle and you're still not getting paid at that lifestyle. Like, yeah, if you accumulating bills, it's cool when you at your peak and you getting show money, you getting streaming money, you doing all of that. But what if you still got bills, like you still making $20 million a year and you may not be bringing in 20 no more. You may be only bringing in 3 million, but you still got bills like you bringing in 20 million. Now them IOUs, you never pay them off. And then even I've been seeing people in the comment section like, "Oh, you could have just paid this person; they would have never even came to your house. Your mom bill, his mom bail was the same as how much ever he owed these people for this putting up this stereo or TV system or whatever it was." Like like I said, I ain't no huge Sean King fan, so I ain't got no crazy deep dives on it for y'all because there's like, I mean, it's Sean King. I kind of really don't care. You're keeping it a buck. Other news. America's Best, I guess the eyeglass company that's called America's Best, they pull all Sean John eyeglasswear out of their stores. And Diddy has also been hit with another allegation from the early 2000s. It was a young lady, I believe she wanted to be a model, and she was going to what's the name of that school in New York? It's whatever that school is. the fashion joint in New York. So anyway, she painted a picture and painted a story. Like she went to this school, she met Diddy, she wanted to get into the business, of course. And I think at first she originally kind of was curving him, I guess, and maybe her career wasn't popping off like she wanted to. So she kind of dealt with Diddy a little bit. That went left, and she kind of separated. And I think one day him and Kim Porter came into a restaurant. She was there, and I think she was working at the restaurant. That kind of went bad. She almost got hurt. The girl fired when she was at the restaurant. I think and then she ended up again going back to Diddy house, and it was some situation where it was between, I think he made her and Kim have sex and he watched, and then they had like a threesome or something. So basically it's gonna be over. It's gonna be soon. I guess at this point we kind of everybody's just looking at the clock to figure out, hey, when they just gonna lock Diddy up at this point. That's all. And to me, that's all it kind of realistically is at this point. All the rest of it is just you just dragging out conversations and just people just piling on their stories. And I'm not discrediting none of these stories. I just want to know, when are they gonna lock him up? And I hope more of these things is just not about just the money thing. Put him in jail. I want to figure out, when are they going to actually just put him in jail? Because at this point, it's just like we hearing the stories and you're going to kind of get numb to them until you see some real repercussions behind some of those stories. Shout out to a young, and we always kind of talk about bad parenting, but I do want to give a shout out to this young man in New Jersey who's graduating from high school and also getting his bachelor's degree as well. Because he was taking classes. He was taking classes where he was doubling up on. I believe he'll get his bachelor's when he turned 19, but he was doubling up on his classes. So like during the summertime, what some people may be doing summer school, he was taking up college courses as well. So he basically can get his first degree as he graduated from high school and college at the same time. And then, like I said, he will be going to get his bachelor's when he turned 19. So just shout outs to him, because we do talk a lot about bad parenting too. I do want to kind of highlight when you have situations of good parents. A bad story though, it was that dude. I believe we talked about this and this time frame is like, damn, it's crazy that he didn't get no real time. But it was a young man, I believe he killed a young girl I want to say it was at a house party or something. The girl was 17 years old, but this guy's only getting sentenced for 15 years, and which is sad because like, bro, that's not no real time. And hopefully, you hate to put this in the air, but hopefully her family will be able to get some form of street justice when he get out. Because 15 years ain't enough to be taking somebody's goddamn teenage daughter life, especially over something because she didn't want to give you her number or entertain you because you were trying to like street call her. Like, nah, that's crazy.
Was he young too?
Yeah, they had a stab in New York. Yep.
Was he young too?
He looked kind of young, but he looked like he might have been like in his 20s or something.
But I was going to say maybe that's probably why
he wasn't as young as she was. No. But he did look young. And in other news, I guess it's kind of just miscellaneous stories. It was a 17-year-old dude who got took into custody, and they were interrogating this dude for the murder of his father. The whole time his dad is still alive. At the time, they thought his dad was dead, and they held him into, how long did they hold him into this? For 17 hours. They held him in custody and like was basically interrogating. They had him in the interrogation room. I'm sure we all done watched First 48, so you know how it would be in the interrogation room. They had him in there for 17 hours, and he ended up just breaking down. He ended up just literally crashing out and literally was like, he admitted to the crime. The whole time he admitted to a crime that he didn't do because his dad was still alive. He ended up winning the lawsuit for $900,000. He didn't end up doing any time, but of course, they were about to process him. I don't know where his dad probably popped up and was like, hey, I'm not dead. But it just kind of showed you how crooked the police thing was. So, of course, they just tried to throw him some bread, hopefully $900,000. I mean, if he didn't do no real time, I kind of would took the $900,000. I almost felt like it was a work job between him and his dad at this point.
Okay.
So they thought his dad was dead. So they took him into investigation. Like I said, y'all seen the First 48, so you know what the investigation room looked like for the murder of his father. But he didn't really murder his father because his dad was still alive. So I don't know if his dad just went missing or was hiding out somewhere or how it played out. But they had him in the interrogation room for 17 hours, pressing him out, trying to get him to commit to his dad's murder. He didn't really kill his dad. So then I guess that his dad ended up coming back, whatever. I don't know if they were going to trial him or whatever the case may be. And he ended up suing the police department and ended up winning $900,000 because his dad was still alive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a hell of a come up.
Did he even try? I mean, did he actually try to? And it just didn't go through? Because that's what I'm just like, how can you say that I committed a crime if you didn't even have a body? Because that's why I'm just wondering, what I'm saying, like, how do you get committed? Because you say you confessed to it. Did you actually try to kill him and he just didn't die?
Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know. That was the headline. I don't know the real backstory behind it. We talked about Cardi. We talked about Ayesha Curry, Kyrie Irving. BBL Trizzy.
Oh, Boston.
Oh, Boston won, so they jump.
Jalen Brown got MVP.
Oh, they do the Western Conference thing now.
The Labor Trophy.
Oh, that's fire. That's fire for him, especially for him. Just because you do feel like,
because he said, "I don't never win shit." I'm surprised.
Yeah, because it's just you know what's messed up, and I mean, of course, sometimes you can kind of with black people, we can kind of make it a colorism thing between just all of. I think it was more because of the way his stance he take for black people, but then because I can't say it's just because he a dark skin dude, because LeBron dark skin, Draymond, there's other niggas who do get highlighted, but I do feel like the sports media be trying to push Jason Tatum way more than Jaylen Brown, and if you actually kind of watch Celtics games, them two niggas is like. Is they take their turn. It's night and day. Like I don't feel like one is way better than the other one.
He averaged 29 in the series.
I mean, yeah, he had a 40-point game. I mean, don't get it twisted. Jason Tatum had the game 3 he had 35. So I'm not. That's why I said to me, you can't never go wrong with either one of them and them two on the same team. Like it's gonna be a good series between them and Dallas. But I mean, just for me personally, I'm a Jason Kidd guy just because I'm an original Dallas Maverick Dirk Nowitzki guy. And I just like Kyrie. And I like that Kyrie story to me is a little bit more fire. And of course, I know the media going to make it more of a Luka thing.
So do they put Luka ahead of Dirk if he wins the championship? Or that still put him in the same? It still put them even. They both won't be 1-1. I think, of course, realistically, because I'm a diehard Dirk Nowitzki fan, I know for a fact that Luka done got way more coverage than Dirk Nowitzki ever did. Of course, they played at different times, so the media space ain't like it is now. Like, you can listen to a bunch of podcasts, or it's almost 24-hour news cycles where people giving their opinion on it. So it's a different time. But, Dirk Nowitzki's still a top 6 scorer of all times, so they still going to be even with the championships. So, but I do feel kind of, I'm on the fence with it. Like I don't even necessarily know. I don't know who I want to really bet for, but because I feel for Tatum and Brown because I do feel like they kind of need that championship just as bad as Kyrie needed. For all three of them, to kind of like Luka is kind of like the only person that is like his legacy won't win or lose. He gonna still be Luka. But for Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum, all three of them kind of need this championship to kind of change their story, how people look at them, because people feel like every year you kind of hear people saying, well, Tatum and Brown can't get it done, break them up. Or you hear, like I said, the backstory with Kyrie. Well, shit, even Jason Kidd getting fired from working in Milwaukee. Like, he really ain't getting no real chance at Milwaukee with Giannis. So it's like, it's a lot of good storylines between that Dallas and Boston situation. But real quick, I guess while we kind of on sports, but we ain't got to stay here for long. Damn, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah, LeBron James. It is rumors LeBron James is officially a free agent. He will opt into his free agency. He had the option that he could have walked into. He could have re-signed under his player option, basically where he would have got some guaranteed money. But he basically walking out like, no, I'm cool. I'm going to try the free agency thing. And then you already see rumors of different teams is looking at to try to pick him up. Is, of course, the 76ers. And then there was a rumor that the Phoenix Suns had a workout with Bronny James, and they thinking about taking him at the 22nd, and then if they can get him at 22nd and get LeBron to come in at the veterans minimum, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at seeing that. Just as a LeBron fan, and just kind of like even just as KD being just from here, I kind of wouldn't mind to see that. Like that to me would be cool, especially for people of a certain age to kind of just see, let them to kind of like go out on their own little Avengers tour, the old head tour. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad to see that. And I'm sure for Phoenix, that kind of will help them keep the Devin Booker situation, because it is rumors going around that Devin Booker may want to get traded to New York, or New York wants Devin Booker. So we'll kind of figure out how that want to go. I definitely don't want to see LeBron James be a Laker fan again. And you see a lot of those I seen that tweet going viral that Kobe Laker fans can get to be Laker fans again. Listen to them tell you, I never in my life want to share a team with Kobe fans. I tell you, I know, because I see the backhand compliments all the time that they give LeBron. If you follow enough, especially on Twitter, I told y'all I'll be following enough Laker fans, they'll find any type of reason or any conversation to bring up Kobe Bryant. I seen a little girl at the Sparks in the joke. Little girl, and this little girl was too young to even know about Kobe Bryant. She looked like she ain't know about 5 or 6. She was holding up a sign that said, "Welcome Caitlin Clark to the house that Kobe Bryant built." Like, what the hell was that for? Like, why did that happen? I know that little girl didn't write that sign. This little girl looked like she was 5 or 6. Kobe Bryant been damn near almost dead for 4 years now. And that's just like even when I saw the I don't know if you saw the Lamar Odom video, him in the barber chair.
Mm-hmm.
and the girl was twerking and all that.
Why did they have a picture of Kobe right there?
That's what I did. I'm like, dog, Lamar Odom has a name outside of Kobe.
Oh,
He had a career. He had a career before Kobe. Like, you just keep every time you got to attach him. I remember you attached him to the damn Kardashian and Kobe. I'm like, especially at that. Like, why you put that picture up
Yeah,
there?
for sure. I seen it. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
That shit I did not like. I'm like, dog, that man had a career. He had a name before Kobe.
But listen to what I'm saying. But that's my point of why I want LeBron to lead the Lakers. Allow the Lakers to just completely die off. Because if LeBron leave and the Lakers just go back to the same sorry franchise that they was on Kobe's last couple of years and the years that they had when Kobe left, like, let them go back to that. And then let's see if these Kobe conversations still keep popping up, because the Lakers conversations won't stop popping up. So I do hope LeBron go to another team. But in other news, Lil Nas X, and this was a conversation that I got a couple of videos to go viral for this one. Lil Nas X was basically complaining, saying he wished that he would have had the same open arms as Beyonce and what's the other dude name? I don't know. What's his name? Shabazz or Shabooz? I don't know how you pronounce his name, but the dude that redid the country song with the Tipsy jump. And my only thing to Lil Nas X is, I think sometimes when people sit here and say certain things, like, I don't think he actually thought or realized how big Old Town Road was. Yeah, I understand that first country music didn't want to give you the proper push, or didn't want to.
Country song, right? Did he say that?
No, he did. He wanted to get on the country charts, but you got to think about it. So black people, of course, in black music spaces, they made a big deal about it. Then he ended up getting Billy Ray Cyrus on the song. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, still, Old Town Road is bigger than any song that either one of them got combined. Beyonce is Beyonce, but Beyonce don't got a bigger country song than Old Town Road. Yeah. This other dude, he just getting his foot wet. But I think Lil Nas X, one thing what he did is, you tried to go to Nicki Minaj route, and I think that's what, again, when I say here, why you got to give Nicki credit. She built up her audience organically. I don't think Nicki Minaj tried to cater to the gay community. I think they organically liked her. It was just that they just built that space. She just built a organic fan base with that audience. The same way with Beyonce, but I felt like Lil Nas X played in the gay community face, and I think a lot of people in that community got turned off by Lil Nas X behavior. I think a lot of people just did not realistically, they didn't like him. It was turned off by a lot of things that he did, and him trying to fake pander to them, him dancing with the devil, leaning into the gay stuff too much, but also playing with God. I think it turned off a lot of people, and I think he kind of, in his mind, and especially probably maybe because he's really, and people, that's why people think it was a character, because there's a lot of people who are gay who still go to church, and they battle with those emotions in their scriptures, and when preachers preach to them in their own times, they battle with that on their own times. For somebody like Lil Nas X to try to play in everybody's face, it backfired on you, because people were supporting you, people were championing you, everybody in their mouth was like, oh, look at this cool little kid, because nobody didn't know you was gay when you was doing the Old Town Road. But then when you try to do the breakdown and make it seem like the song was nastier than what it was, or whatever the case may be, the real definition between Old Town Road, you turn people off completely, and made you the one killed that song. You killed that momentum, because two things, let me tell y'all, one thing I tell y'all all the time. No, down south, they don't play two things about it. They don't play about God, and they don't sit here, and play about their football. You can play with anything else, but you can't play about God, and you can't play about no goddamn football. And he thought, how can you sit here and think you was going to do anything in a country music space and play around with being gay, and these people are super religious? That wasn't going to work. So you killed your own career. So don't sit here and go and be like, oh, I wish I would. No, you did it to yourself, dog. You played in the people's face. You played with God, and you think, and I understand, like on social media, it'd be a lot of people who be if and down on what their religious beliefs are. You learned the hard way. You was the person who got to learn. Well, guess what? You ain't gonna play. You ain't gonna play with God's name. You ain't about to play with Jesus Christ. You learned the hard way. Now you don't have a career. Nobody ain't thinking about you. Nobody don't care about no music you put out. Nobody ain't trying to follow you. Nobody ain't thinking about you. They don't care nothing about you. So Lil Nas X, you did it to yourself. And nobody didn't do that to you. You did that to yourself. You was playing in people's face. In other news, because we're talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z and Big Freedia are getting sued for copyright infringement on the what's the jump Wiggle, whatever, what's the song? It was off of Break My Soul, but it was that part she sent when Beyonce sampled Big Freedia something wiggle, I can't remember off the song on the top of my head, but it's that wiggle part. It's off of Break My Soul, but it's the part where they sample. It's the wiggle part, but whatever. It's a group from New Orleans who basically had a song with something with that same wording, the wiggle, in it already, and they trying to sue Beyonce and Big Freedia, basically because Big Freedia is the one who took it and put it in her song. So I don't know how it's going to trickle down to Beyonce and Jay-Z, because of course I think Jay-Z wrote on that song as well, but I don't necessarily know how it's going to trickle down to them, because you should have sued Big Freedia originally. How do you wait? Don't sue Big Freedia. Now you're trying to sue Beyonce and Big Freedia because he sampled the song. I don't necessarily know how that one will play out.
But so would she have to be like, would it be her song live? Because that's what they sampled it from, her song, right?
From Big Freedia song? Yeah. But they trying to say Big Freedia stole it from them, and then basically Beyonce took it from Big Freedia. Well, didn't take it from Big Freedia. She sampled Big Freedia. Yeah, on the song. So it's like, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't necessarily know how that one is going to play out. And what we talking about? I feel like we talked about pretty much everything. There was a little rumor that I think people were trying to say that YG was dissing Drake. He put out a new song, but YG came out and said he wasn't, because it was something about some weirdos. The name of the song was called Weirdo. I tried to listen to it. I'm not a huge YG fan, so that one kind of just didn't do it for me. But he came down and he debunked whatever the case may be. Erica Banks is still reaching for Meg Thee Stallion, trying to reach for Meg Thee Stallion's attention. It's just not gonna happen, dog. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And again, like I'm saying, I love when you see some of these stories break like that. And we can go to that Rap City jump, because I did Rap City. Man, if I can tie this into with the Erica Banks situation. But anyway, Erica Banks was sitting here trying to get Meg Thee Stallion's attention. All right, so I wanted to play that clip, and the reason why I brought it in with Erica Banks is because I think Erica Banks, sure, for people who are familiar with her, she done went and got her second BBL. She called it a double dose of the BBL. And people, again, when we talked about the body shaming earlier, and I think we missed her a little bit, but I think she is trying to over promote it. Like, that's all. Even when we talked about the freestyle she was doing of the Gucci Man, I think I love her, when her and Meg both put it out on a Monday or whatever. Or hers might have been out already at first, and then Meg put out her jump, whatever the case may be. But hers was more like, and I even talked about it, it just seemed like she was just trying to over sexualize a freestyle video. So I do agree with Rap City when it comes to that, because I think about Erica Banks. Like, every time I think of her.
Is this the same lady that busted? That's the same.
Yeah, that Erica Banks. Yeah, that's her. So, but that's my thing. So it was just like, every time when I look at her, it's always just over sexualizing sex. Like, that's all she's trying to like, I want to rap, but I want to over sexualize myself at the same time. And it's more like, hey, look at my cheeks, look at my BBL, than it is actually putting out good music or her actually rapping. So I feel like, and of course, people would get her together all the time in the comment section. Where it's like, especially when it came to this Meg situation, because I think people even pulled up old tweets where she said, "Meg Thee Stallion, that's my alter ego." Like she was praising Meg. And, you know, people like, especially, and I seen people in the comments like, "Bro, if you know for a fact you ever was on somebody's dick and you was like geeking over them, you should delete your whole Twitter account before you think you want to start sneak dissing them." But because we got a woman in the room, I do want to ask you a question on how do you feel, I guess, about the space when it comes to female rappers, like. Because somebody like a Rap City doesn't kind of get the same push. And I guess that kind of even go into the topic where I said earlier in the situation, it was like, if we do want to see change, I guess we got to kind of take the blame or push, I guess, a different narrative of our own. But I guess for you as a woman, how do you feel about, I guess it's how it seemed like only women who kind of really get to the forefront, especially when it comes to rapping, is the ones who kind of only rap about sex or like use sex to sell themselves.
Because that's the only thing that they really promote. So like that's like a lot of them probably feel like that's the only way they can be popular because that's all they really promote.
Do you feel like that's the only thing they promote, or do you feel like that's a little bit more easier for other women to kind of digest it a little bit?
I feel like that's what they promote. Like if you look at social media, it's not the homebodies or whatever that's trending. It's the Instagram girls. It's the baby suit pictures. So that's what people are pushing. It's the BBLs. It's the surgeries. It's the makeup. It's the lashes. So that's what they're promoting. So that's what that's what a money market is.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I do anything? If I'm trying to get successful, why would I go against the grain?
I mean, I agree, kind of, but I always wonder, is it like, because even I guess I can kind of tie it into the WNBA, because when I try to see it, they like push, like when they like women who, like I said, been watching the game, and you push like the young lady who dropped 40 the other night. She's not as easy on the eyes as some of the younger girls, of course, like the Angel Reese's or the the Raquel young lady or the Cameron Brink. So I kind of wonder, because even when we talk about rap, I look at like Lady London. I feel like Lady London is like kind of like very right there in the middle of like, I can do both because I do like, I still rap with a hoodie on and put my sneakers on, but I'm very pretty and I kind of know how to lean into my sex appeal. Where somebody like Rap City is almost like every time you see her is like a hoodie, a fitted on, some baggy clothes, baggy jeans, and it's kind of like there's no sex appeal there at all. It's great rapping right there, but it's like I'll be wondering like who are we when we say they don't push it, but it's like I wonder, are we looking for it?
I think we are.
Are we?
No, because even if you think about it, if you go back to like when Eve and Trina and all them back in them days, Eve might have been the better rapper, but she was making her music off of more so the pop side. You know how like when she had to get with Gwen Stefani, like when she was under, with Rough Rider, just making those like more her songs. A lot of women probably could relate to her songs in her early albums, but they wasn't selling like that. Where somebody like a Trina or who was more of the sex and showing my body, where all right, the girls in the hood are kind of looking towards that.
But what I'm saying is, when I say, because I think we live in an age where if you looking for it, you can find it. Even when, like I said, when I'm just talking about just like how easy, like just think about it from before the WNBA season started, where I told you I could have made a community on Twitter where I'm just following a bunch of people who watching Lakers games, because of course the Lakers games come on late at night. So you kind of got to find people who are up that late. So 9 times out of 10, you got to find people who live on the West Coast where they up that late tweeting, talking about games. So even like now, where my timeline is literally more WNBA heavy, that's because I started tweeting about it more. So of course, most algorithms only feed you what you're looking for. Like that's like even my Instagram, John. It don't show me a bunch of just random naked girls now. It show me a bunch of girls who work out. So I feel like with the more you engage with certain things, that's why I kind of wonder, like, because we live in a time frame, is like, can we blame it on the algorithms or whatever media outlets or whatever platforms we're using, or is it kind of just feeding us our appetite?
I think
But
because even if we look at the Sexy Red album and Rap City album. Rap City album is way better than the Sexy Red,
for sure.
But I'm pretty sure a lot more people, because it was Sexy Red, probably just ran to click it and go listen.
Perfect example. That wasn't an algorithm. That was you.
But that's what but nobody's still not going to talk about the Rap City project, because, like I said, it's not been publicized because she's not the eye catchy, or she's not being all feminine or whatever. But we'll talk about Sexy Reds. We look at these interviews to see Sexy Red. This is like the Joe did an interview rap. We ain't really see that because they put it behind the wall, but then we saw Willow and what's name with Sexy Red.
Yeah, so that's again that's my point of is like, is it? I don't want to. I can't blame the media or the algorithm. I almost want to blame the people more than the algorithm. Because what you just said, perfect example. When both of them albums came out, when Rap City album came out, she got it was on her homepage. The same way, just perfect example. Like shit, Vince Staples is a man. His album was before Sexy Red. Like if you're looking at the way it was laid out, and I like Vince. To me, this is probably one of Vince Staples' best projects to me personally. But Vince Staples' jump was there first, and then it was Sexy Red. But more people even talked about Sexy Red than they talked about Vince Staples, and he's a man. So that's my point of it. Is like, is it realistically? That's why I can't just blame it on the algorithm. I gotta kind of blame us as a people because it's what we looking for. We go looking for this stuff. We went to sit here like nobody sit here and say on Fridays when new music come out, you get to pick and choose which one you want to play. So if you pick Sexy Red over everybody else, that's on you. That's not on Apple Music. All they did is just presented you the music. You can pick whatever songs you want to listen to.
But what's being promoted though?
Yeah, because that's why I still think
how is it being promoted? It's just like
because we see that in our face.
You ain't pay attention to the WNBA until you started seeing them like with the lashes.
For sure, of course, yeah.
So it's what you see. It's how it's portrayed, how it's pushed. When it was pushed before, it was just like a bunch of like girls that kind of look like men.
For sure.
So you didn't really find interest in it.
Exactly, for sure.
That you see is more attractive, and they go. Then it's like, oh, okay. So it's what's being pushed, how they're pushing and how they're selling. They're gonna put it out maybe about the same time, but they're going to back this one more than this one because they know this is what's drawing the attention of the people.
Shit, cause like just the WNBA, you stand on that WNBA, like them showing their fits off before the games, like this is a more bigger thing. Yes, they was doing the slow roll.
Oh, you know, but it go crazy now. No, it go crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like everybody got putting on their.
No, yeah, they put it on their best outfits for sure. The WNBA, and for people again, like I said, if you just need different little storylines to find reasons to why to watch the WNBA or even follow some of their social media pages, bro, their fit game is crazy. And that's what I'm telling you will throw you off. Where you won't know some of the gay girls are actually like studs because the fits that they putting on, all of them ain't coming in there dressing like no goddamn dudes. Like the Angel Wilson, no, her outfit for that last game, nigga, she had a goddamn halter top and a mini skirt on.
Like that's why I feel like now just sex is going to over trump anything. Regardless of course. How you perform or anything, sex is always going to over trump it. And I mean that's the society we're in right now. Don't matter how you promote it or how you look at it, sex is always going to be number one.
But it's not in all cultures.
It's not.
It's not because you know the crazy thing. No, but just to keep it in the WNBA, and I agree with what you said because I seen two different shows where they sit here and said that Caitlin Clark had pretty privilege. Niggas on social media had a field day and said, "What planet is this girl pretty?" That's if y'all think that this white girl who look like goddamn what's the nigga from SVU? What's the police officer, the white dude on SVU? The main white dude is the lady partner. What's his name? Scheffler, is that his name? I can't remember his name, but anyway, it's a picture of them two people keep posting saying this was y'all calling pretty privilege, and this girl looked just like this goddamn man from SVU. It's SVU.
I thought it was crime.
No, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna find it. Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna show you.
Dirty dude.
No, nigga, I'm talking. No. I'm talking about him, nigga.
Oh, okay.
He looked just. I gotta put this on the screen so people can see it. Nigga, this is him. I don't even know if y'all can see it because the blur might come out. But dog, this is. Come on, stop what you talking about. Ain't no way. But anyway, they said that was pretty privileged. But I agree. Like I said, I do agree with y'all. I guess maybe just Rap City probably has to find a way to kind of lean into her sex appeal a little bit.
But that goes back to like them people not bending. Like he asked before, like do they do it for the money, the likes or whatever? She's doing it probably for
the love.
Because she likes hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not going to fold on that. I don't see her. I mean, I don't follow her like that. But when I see her, I just don't see her folding into. Okay, let me be more sexy.
And that's why, like with Lady London, I think even with her, like with her project, the little project she put out, like that. Oh, that drug was dope. But like I said, I feel like if it's not sex involved, or we not putting the, I'm looking like this, it's going to fall to the wayside.
No. Of course, I do know. I do think I one, I think Lady London had an amazing project from beginning to end. Of course, we played it on here. We talked about it. I think, and then real quick, and shout out to her because she did her first show here at the Howard Theater, and it was sold out. It was a sold out show. I even watched her interview with B. Simone, and she was even talking about how when she was going to Howard, she worked at the Howard Theater in that same exact green room. Like she was one of the people who, go get stuff off of the people's rider list and whatever show to make sure the green room was straight. So that was one of her jobs while she was at Howard. So I'm just, with all that being said, it was still like she still don't get it twisted. I think she's still reaping the benefits of her thing. But I do agree with you. I do think because there's not a bunch of dumbed down sex selling type of music, that project did come and go very fast. And I do think realistically, if you do take that stance on I'm doing it for the love of the music and I kind of don't want to bend and fold, I think your clip have to be a lot faster. Almost like a Coil Ray. Like people may not be listening or paying attention to the Coil Ray, but if you're going to kind of take some stance where I'm going to be like, I'm going to go against the grain, you're going to kind of have to shoot at a higher clip and stay a little bit more consistent with dropping music because a lot of that music will come and go. So, I mean, I do agree with you with the Lady London situation, but I mean, and even with the Rhapsody, then maybe you just got to get bigger features.
But you know what? And I think
because that was a cheat code to me for Sexy Red because she had the Drake feature.
Yeah, but even still with that, I think it's if you play into an image or you play into a certain type of, I guess, company or whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, Rhapsody can be just like a comic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where all right, yeah, you rapping your blah blah blah, your backpack rappers, but it's not as big as a 50 Cent,
of course,
with how he's rapping with the gangster rap and all that. So I feel like as long as you're happy with the project that you're putting out and you get your support, I don't think you can't appeal. You're not appealing to everybody, and you can be happy with what you got right there.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but then most people in the back of their mind is that Jay-Z line is. I started to see I'm gonna screw it up, but it was that little bar. I ain't rap that long, and I ain't rap that much common sense and whatever. How long I know I'm messing that screwing that bar, but whatever that common sense line that he had, basically saying I'm not about to rap like common sense because I like money. And I think that is, again, when we talk about the original conversation, are you willing to bend on, or what are you willing to bend on to actually see some success or actually be able to make some money? I know if I'm anybody, I see, even if we use Common for that example, it's like Common music career was cool, but Common real money came from when Common became an actor.
Yeah, and he even talked about, I listened to his interview with Mello and them, and how he talked about how he ended up getting in there. He was just like, somebody just presented to me and I ran with it. He was like, it wasn't my thing, but it was right there. And somebody said, oh, you should get an acting coach. And he was like, all right, I'm going to try it out. And he ran with it. So, but I think that's what, even with the ladies, I feel like it's kind of, you only got so many lanes you really can hit, because if you're not hitting it, who really going to pay attention to you? Because, you got like Cardi B, how they got the little fashion, what I'm saying? All these brand deals and I got, blah, blah, blah. And like we get on Cardi B for not making music. But if I'm making money over here, I really don't have to go back to there. And I feel like even with the women rap industry, is just like you got a very tight window to use it.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, to me personally, I just will put this out in the air, and then hopefully if it gets to somebody in the head, I think even for somebody like a Rhapsody and a Lady London, I think one of them, especially for Lady London, because I think I even watched when she posted clips of her interview with B. Simone when she did her podcast. A lot of people just love the way she talked and what she talked about. I think to me, if I was her manager, I mean, of course, I know music is probably at her forefront right now, but maybe so she can even pace herself a little bit differently, I would kind of recommend her to figure out how to start a podcast. And even put, especially in the sweet spot right now, because where the WNBA is right now, figure out a way to even kind of tie those two things in together where you can kind of talk about hip hop from a woman's perspective, and you can kind of figure out the way to kind of talk about sports a little bit, because that window is kind of it's wide open. Like you really don't see, even like when you talk about the women who talk about sports, like the Joy Taylors or whatever, they still talk majority about men's sports. It's not a huge, like I literally over the weekend, when I was working, I was looking to see, like, damn, who can I find to actually give me some WNBA breakdown? And only podcast that I found was Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops got a jump with a young lady. Matter of fact, what's the name of that jump? So for anybody else, if you really just into the WNBA like that, I could just tell it to you. It's called Queens of the Court. And that was literally the only jump that I could find. And their jump is only once a week. So it's like I said, that space is kind of open. So for women, where it's like, we always even talk about that, where it's like for the hip hop space, like, yeah, people interview, but I'm talking about just actual, like, what's the woman version of the Joe Budden podcast? It's not one. Like most women who are even in the hip hop space, they may do interviews like an Angela Yee, but her big podcast is talking about sucking dick. Like it's not like, that's to me, like that is the space that, I mean, it's kind of left. So I mean, I guess I feel like realistically we kind of answered that question. Ourselves, we talked about it.
It's a chick I'm gonna see too. She be doing recaps of the movie. Yeah.
I do not like if she trying to be funny with it. And did she talk about like the people's elbow and all that other weird shit? I seen this girl. She got a huge following on Twitter. I seen people even tagging her in the WNBA joint. I hated that.
She
shit.
played basketball.
Oh, it may be somebody different. Then it might not be the same girl. But this girl that I seen, like she literally was trying to make like a whole joke out of the Angel Reese shit. I was like, bro, this is not one is not funny, and then two is like you're not funny at all. But she had a huge following on Twitter. Like because of course, like I said, sometimes you can change your timeline. I forgot they was talking about, I guess, the little dating conversation, and they kept tagging her in and trying to get her to make a video of it. So I was like, oh, well, obviously she must be a big deal in this community because people like even her. I think that her Angel Reese video still had like 5,000 likes on it. I just didn't personally. It wasn't the taste that I was looking for somebody to break down. Like if I want to listen to somebody, actually, I want to hear somebody talk about the WNBA. I don't want to hear a nigga trying to like make jokes because I'm just not like hee ha type of nigga. So it just may be a little bit different for me. Real quick, it was we don't talk about baseball real quick, but it was this lady. Oh my gosh, she was at the Blue Jays game, and then she got hit with a fastball that was clocked at 110 miles, and it left the biggest knot on her goddamn forehead. Oh my god, dog, that joint look crazy.
Oh my god.
It literally looked like the baseball still left on her damn forehead. Like she just tagged him. Like she like, hey, I stayed at the game the whole time. I just want y'all to look out for me. I don't know what you want them to look out for. Like I don't know if you're trying to get some season tickets or what. That actually looked like it hurt bad. Like dog, that was crazy. That was like the most ridiculous knot I ever seen on somebody's forehead. Like shout outs to her because I know that had to hurt. We didn't talk about Saucy Santana because I really didn't get it, and I kind of didn't care about his voice. He be throwing me off. But anyway, because we talked about this a few weeks ago when we talked about debate settling with Nike, and we talked about Omi and the Hellcat. So we did kind of was trying to figure out what happened to Cool Cat. So Cool Cat ended up getting sued for $1 million. It's not bad. And a lot of people saying that that's not bad especially for as many people we have seen with his sneakers on. So we sure that we kind of pocket watching, know that he'd at least made over $1 million. I seen somebody say, I think when those lawsuits happened, though, I think you had to give Nike a percentage, and the payout. I mean, that $1 million is almost like I guess if you put it in sports terms, it's almost like the buyout. I mean, not like a buyout, but like, when football players sign their signing bonus, the $1 million is on top of the bonus. So I think you got to get a percentage of whatever sales you made, and you give Nike a percent. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I just seen people in the comment section saying that. So I don't necessarily know what that is. But if he literally only got to pay them $1 million, that's definitely not bad for him because he definitely kind of got over. I'm not going to hold you. Roddy Rich, baby mama drama, he ended up settling and saying he was going to pay her $8,000 a month for child support and an extra $1,000 a month for her to, I guess, to be able to get a car. So, and pay her legal fees is $37,500. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't necessarily know. I ain't pocket watching Roddy Rich, but I don't know how long he gonna be able to hold on for that 8 bands. 8 bands a month. I don't know how long he gonna be able to. This thing ain't had a hit in a long time, dog. In a long time. So I don't necessarily know. Unless he got another hit on the way, I don't know how long that child support gonna last. I don't necessarily know how long she gonna make it last, but yeah, that one look like that one gonna be coming to a short-lived situation earlier. We talked about Glove, we talked about Meg. I feel like we pretty much talked about everything on this list. Oh, besides Tay Diggs saying he don't want to date no more after his relationship with him and what was that lady named April Jones?
Oh, they done?
Yeah, they done. And somebody, I think one of her homegirls came out and basically said she canceled it. She called it quits. That is one of the things that suck about having a public relationship because it'd be like, no, they was OD posting each other, and he was out of his body. He was acting extremely different. He was coming out of character, like at a whole different type of level for this girl. So it's kind of just like, damn, that's crazy how it go when like them little relationships don't work out. Especially
the son say something.
No, they probably haven't, to be honest.
So that's the last time I remember hearing about them too.
Yeah, that's it too. Before we get out of here, of course, let's talk about the Shy. Did y'all got a chance to watch the last episode? Hey, the crazy thing is I was trying to finish up and watching it, but they kept. I hate when the TV keep doing, especially when you're watching it on cable. They keep doing them goddamn interruptions for the goddamn weather report, the little tornado. Oh my god, that shit was blowing me. But I think I only missed like the last very 10 minutes of the show, but I seen the rest of it. I guess the biggest takeaway for me that had me kind of like, oh my god, what the hell was going on, was the pastor's wife giving some cheeks to Jake. to Jacob. I can't not believe. I'd be like, bro, when you see some shit like that on TV, I'd be like, bro, why my life can't never be that easy? Because this little nigga was not supposed to luck up like that and be able to get him some goddamn grown women cheeks off the strength of just going to church. And that was just crazy because and it was literally like one of them things like, the pastor real live, really getting to the bag. He really getting some bread, finessing his congregation, and his wife still stepped out on him and cheated on her and gave him some cheeks. So all the women in that pastor life kind of all over the place because his daughter literally out here. The little dude who's up under Duda, he kind of just he trying to paint his own little solo seeds. He trying to get him a little girlfriend. He trying to invest money here and there. Yeah, I don't necessarily know what was. I know what was worse, but I kind of was almost damn like the daughter just as bad as this goddamn his wife. The daughter ain't do nothing but smoke some weed, but it was just like, damn, how
like a date? Was that a date, or they was just like, because all they did was sit in the car and smoke?
It was supposed to be a date. But you know what was crazy though, and that thing, I think to me, that's one of the things you can kind of take away for how some women just look for certain things out of certain men. Because think about how what's my man Papa, he went out above and beyond the way he was trying to take her out and cater to her when they dated, took her to the bowling alley and did all this other stuff and was playing like he was even willing to play stepdaddy for this. And then you literally, you know that this dude is up there like the no good. Even when he flirted at you in the church, he came at you sideways, kind of like, oh, that little story about the pastor's daughter, is that you like you whatever, like he basically was trying to see and say, is the pastor's daughter a freak? And then she kind of bit on that and gave the nigga the number and gave him a chance. And like he pulled up and they literally just sat in the car, smoke weed. I'm like, dog, that's crazy. You made my man Papa go above and beyond to even get a kiss from you. And you really sitting in the car hotboxing with another nigga. So that was crazy. And then, of course, I'm not going to lie to you. That is, I don't know necessarily what Jacob did to Joma is that the benefit of being young and just dumb. So of course, like I said, Jacob got the pastor's wife to cheat, or I can't say got, she pressed him out and took the dick, basically, pause, no Diddy. So I guess she ended up, I don't know what the text message that she sent them, but him and Joma was laying on the couch, he rubbing Joma back, and he was just so hot and obvious. He get a text message, he look at the phone, he starts smiling at his phone and giggling. So she get the, oh, who texting us? And be honest, like she throw that in his face. Hey, be honest, don't lie. We're gonna have a real relationship. He's like, you sure you really want me to be honest? And she was like, yeah. And he just come out, oh yeah, well, this lady came over here today and she gave me some pussy. I was like, hold up, this nigga is crazy, dog. There is no way in hell you literally just told your girl that you got some cheeks today. Oh, he went so crazy. She just hopped up and she just giving her little fake tears, started to come down her eyes. And he like, dog, come on, be serious. So you ain't do nothing with Brittany? And for people who don't know who Brittany is, that is Bakari's sister. So she was like, yeah, we kissed one time, that was it. So he said, no. He said, man, come on, be serious. And we gonna be what you just say to me. We are here to keep our options open. We need to be honest with each other. He's like, so you ain't never think about doing nothing else with her besides kissing her? So then she got quiet, still got a tear coming down her eyes. And he was like, yeah, exactly. That's my point. And he said, dog, I'm only 18 years old. You think that you was gonna be the only woman that I was gonna have sex with for the rest of my life? And she kind of was with the stuck face. And he like, you want me to be the only dude you had sex with? Like, are we being serious? And it was just like, I kind of respected how he was carrying it, but I was kind of just shocked that he did that. From the way how the whole conversation even started, I was kind of just like, oh, this nigga's crazy. Like, there's no way in hell he really believed in what he said. I cannot believe he just said this, but he said it. And he stood on business. Like, and she kind of took it for what it is. And I do think realistically, I think she didn't blow up and really get super aggressive or super mad with him because she probably had to be honest with herself and know for a fact that he just pulled the move before she did. And she'd been thinking about it. Because even before that happened, the date with her, her mom, the date with her dad, and his girlfriend, where she came to her apartment, that was before he told her, right? Yeah, so she knows she dead wrong. She just as wrong as he is. He just was honest about it, and she been just dragging her feet, beating the bush with it. Because even her dad came out and was like, hey, if you got anything to tell me, you want to, just tell me.
Yeah, because she definitely was feeling the real.
Yeah, and she was super flirty in front of her father.
Yeah.
And that one was like.
But I think that's why Jake said it so easily, because he knows. Like, he probably felt like, come on, like, really? Yeah,
let's be serious. I ain't gonna lie to you. The only thing that kind of blew me, I felt bad for. Well, I can't feel bad for Jake because he got to hit the mom. Hit the stepmom. But it was like, damn, I thought he was gonna hit the daughter.
But it has to be a catch. Because why? You just saw him. Well, I'm not gonna say maybe that one time, but like, how did it just happen like that? Is it a catch? I feel like it has to be a catch too.
On who part
On her part, like maybe the pastor pimps his wife out, something like that.
Oh, why you saying why she gave Jake the cheeks?
Yeah. Because she was flirting with him in front of the husband, in front of the pastor.
Yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought that was gonna have like I thought he was gonna have like I thought the pastor was gonna slap his wife after that one because that was kind of crazy. Like I like your head, whatever the case may be. Maybe he ain't think nothing of it because sometimes a nigga ego could be so big. Like nigga, I'm tricking that bad. And don't get it twisted. Even when she tried to lure to Jacob and ask him like, "Hey, you want to spend some money on me?" He was like, "No." So I kind of like I don't. That one was tricky. I'm not even gonna hold you. That one was tricky. Papa's mom was pissed that the pastor bought new podcast equipment for Papa's pool pit, and she was like, "Damn you!" That's what. So when you was telling me you couldn't make it to church on Sunday, you've been going over to their church, and that's kind of wild though, because your dad, you know for a fact, your dad hated this man. He hated his style of preaching, and you've been going to his church and missing out on your dad's church is kind of crazy. And I do respect that Jacob and Bakari even called out the pastor. Like, bro, how many times he gonna pass this goddamn collection plate around? And that's one of the things I do like about this show because that show is still so realistic.
But can I ask you when it comes to the church thing, and it's like when he was there before, his father wasn't really accepting him for, you know what I'm saying? Like I was following in your shadow. So what if I didn't really want to be that, you know what I'm saying? I kind of like this more.
With that style of preaching more?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be easy. I mean, that can be easy. I mean, because realistically, that is why you see so many different pastors that's popular on social media now, because I think everybody has a different ear or a different space. So even in that episode, when they was asking him, hey, you gonna come back next Sunday, whatever case may be, and they kind of all brushed him off and was like, nah. And he was like, and the pastor was like, it's cool. Everybody find Jesus on their own time, because I think everybody do. And I think that's how you find different preachers that you may like because of their style of preaching, their tone of voice, their storytelling, how they make their story relatable, how they make their self relatable, how they make their self vulnerable when they telling stories. That's why so many women love Sarah Jakes, because she was a teen mom before, and so it's kind of like she breaks all the stereotypes of a pastor's kid, especially a mega church pastor. So it's like it's a little bit different. So I do feel like that that's why I like the way the Shy even tied that in, because you do get to see. This is people's reality. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of kids out here who are pastor kids. And it is a lot of pastors out here who preach on the money hungry thing, passing around the goddamn collection plate 2 or 3 times before they even get into the word or before they let people out the church. So, I mean, I do like how they even kind of tied all that into it. And then shout out to the Shy for even their casting, because I'm not going to lie. Leon, for people who, I'm sure y'all know who Leon is if you watch enough black movies, but I guess the one that stand out to me that I can remember, he played Shepard on A Butter Rum. Now, Butter Rum is one of my favorite movies of all time, so that's what I remember him from. So he plays Ahmad Shepard's dad, and when I say great casting, nigga, they literally look like they could be father and son in real life. Like they did a great job at casting him to be Ahmad Shepard's dad. And I want to do now, honestly, hear the backstory on how the dad and the mom got together. Because even way
so the mom is the plug. I mean the head person in there.
Yeah, because even the way he tried to tell the story, where he was basically saying my dad was a defense attorney for murderers and drug dealers. And so then that's when Tiffany asked, well, how did your mom and your dad meet? He's like, it's a long story. So I'm imagining the dad must have been defending the mom or something, whatever the case may be. Like he was a lawyer on one of their courts. That's the only thing I'm kind of assuming, because the way they explain what type of cases did the dad take. And obviously he taking Victor's case right now, trying to get, and basically the only reason why he came back around because he's trying to get his son to testify against Duda, and which is kind of crazy. Like, why would I do that? I think I'm not gonna have no type of street. You want me to be a rap? I'm not gonna have no type of street credibility left at all. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if he did it, because it's like realistically, you're not no killer. So how else are you gonna get Duda off the street? That's it. I mean, that's kind of like your only option, to be honest. What else? What's your thoughts about just the miscellaneous brother that they try to spring out on Emmett? Like, how you just randomly pop up with a son that's damn near the same age as him?
But he knew that. I mean, I'm not gonna say he knew that, but he knew the mother and the father wasn't together. So, but how can he judge when he got like 3 or 4 baby mothers?
No, of course, yeah, I'm with you on that one. So you absolutely can't judge it. But I'm just thinking of it like, why though? What's that? What purpose is this brother going to play? I guess that's my bigger question, because you're absolutely right. You can't judge because nigga, you literally done the same exact thing. You are literally a split in image, behavior wise, and everything of your dad. You'd have done the same thing, so you can't judge him for that. But my thing is like, where is this brother gonna fit in?
I feel like
the mother didn't know about it.
Yeah, the mother knew. The mother they had a dinner date. They had Sunday dinner.
So Emmett was the only one that didn't know.
No, he ain't know about this nigga. I mean, I'm sure he knew his dad got other kids, but his dad ain't never brung the other kids around.
This was the first time meeting him. Even the mother, I think. It was probably the first time meeting him too. But why he's bringing them around now is kind of like, I don't know.
And then my next question is, because of course I made a video and I posted it on social media, and I was asking people, do they feel like Emmett and Keisha are just settling? And I'm gonna say the writing has done such a, of course it is still come up on the screen is like this is season 6, but just remember how we all felt about Keisha last season or just last year when the last episode was going. No, we all hated her guts, the way her attitude was, the way she was treating Emmett, and then it was just like, oh, this new season, her character has done a complete 360.
Because he checked her last episode.
That's a crazy 360 that she did, dog. She was giving this nigga hell. Like she was giving this nigga attitude. Literally, it went through what? From episode 1 through 9. From episode 1 to 9, she was giving this nigga her ass to kiss from 1 through 9. This nigga couldn't catch a break. It didn't matter what he did. He was completely wrong from episode 1 to 9. And then it was like they come back with these 2 new or 3 new episodes now, and now like her attitude is a brand new person.
But how much do you expect me to keep taking? As much as you keep shitting on me and keep telling me I'm doing wrong, how much am I supposed to keep taking this? Because at the end of the day, like you said, I'm doing everything to try to keep you happy. And every time I do it, it's not enough. Just like even with the house, you got the house, you wanted this house, the picture. Oh, you shouldn't be taking money from, like, I'm trying to do everything to please keep you happy.
Yeah.
I don't think the attitude is still, I mean, it's not the attitude, but I think the way she goes about it is a little different. Because even when she made him breakfast and the phone texted or whatever, she was questioning about when you want to ask him other. You know what I'm saying? But he kind of was like, "Damn, let's chill out." And she was like, "Okay, you right." So I think it's still there, but it's not as bad as it was because of the talk they had. Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. You got any other takeaways from that episode? What is the mother going to do? What's his name, child? Like she's setting him up. I
mean, yeah, I think we all kind of seen that even when she was flirting with him, because we kind of figured it was like, he don't got nothing to offer. Like he really had nothing to offer her at all besides her end up having him be a crash out. And we see that because she give him the leather coat, and he kind of course, he coming out of that relationship where he felt small because the lady paid all the bills that he was dating with, and he didn't have no bread. So now this lady giving him this new like Hitman leather jacket, and was like, oh yeah, but I don't even know why she just hadn't even tell him that it was a used jacket from before. Because I was just like, what? She just bought it. Like, well, I didn't get what was the point of that one. But then she even telling him like, hey, you want a real job, whatever the case may be, you can be a security guard. She's telling him, but you're gonna have to carry a gun, whatever the case may be. I want it because to me, he went to jail, but his character, I don't even necessarily know what he went to jail for, but the way his character has betrayed himself so far, even the way he was having a heart attack when Bakari asked him to hold them guns, it just don't seem like he really on that type of time. Like, yeah, he went to jail before, but he just don't seem like he really on some hard criminal type of, that's just not the energy he giving off. So I do kind of want to see how she going to turn him out. But I mean, realistically, I guess she got him in the best case scenario because he need a place to stay. He needs some money and nigga needs some cheeks. So she kind of got 3 things she bringing to the table that he actually need.
Would you have taken that leather jacket?
Yeah, probably, because it's just like, I mean, it would have been easier to take it. She wouldn't have told me you had it for another dude, but it's kind of like, how don't you take it? Because what do you really got? And it was a nice jacket.
But you said he said, "Oh, I want to be my own man." But clearly, you can see she's trying to shape you and mold you into the man she wants you to be. So you still not.
Because sometimes you can talk and then at the end of the day, you realize who you are. I can say I want to be my own man. I want to be independent, but then at the end of the day, shit. Only way I can get around is, got a mama.
Yeah, I'm with you. I guess you can tell he wants to be a champ from even just the previous episodes and listening to him talk and how he kind of feel frustrated. But even just still though, like he want to be his own man, but then he still got some type of pride where he didn't even want to work at Smokies. The thing about it, Emmett offered him a job and he said, "Nah, I ain't working at no goddamn Smokies." Like he felt like he was too good for that.
But you took another man's jacket, so what's the difference?
I'm with you. That's why I said like I kind of that's why I want to see how they kind of.
But you ain't gonna you gotta walk it too.
Yeah,
you want to be independent, you want to be his own man, but shit, you got to take the responsibility. And I just feel like with him, I can't even say it's an ego thing with him for real. I think it's just
It is an ego thing.
But yeah, it's definitely ego.
But how can your ego be so big if you? Because I mean, I guess because we don't know what his backstory what he had before. Because it's like, how do you get there where you have that ego or that mind frame? Like, well, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not. Because didn't he fan out about what's the character that Del Rey played? The little
he was basically supposed to be like a fake Dr. Umar.
And he was all high praising him how he what's name. And then when they sat down, like, oh nigga, I don't do this shit. It's like,
yeah,
it sounds good, but do you really want it?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't necessarily know how he going. I do want to see how his character going to play out because I just don't know. Because it's kind of like we get some backstory about him, but then you see, like you said, it's like he didn't want to take the job at Smokies. He kind of was like, he was iffy about taking the leather jacket, and he kind of really was like I said, he freaked out when Bakari asked him to hold the guns. He freaked out about that. So I kind of can't even imagine how is he going to be okay with walking around with a gun every day, and you still on parole? Like the Bakari just asked you to hold some guns in the house and hide them, but you literally realize she about to try to have you out here walking around in the street with a gun on you. And she's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna pull some strings." Like, what type of strings you gonna pull? So yeah, like I said, I don't know. But we here each and every Tuesday. Again, thank you for everybody who's coming from the podcast app, coming over to the YouTube situation. Like, share, and subscribe. If you know some other people who already used to be hip on the podcast app, and we kind of just want to get everybody familiar, tell them to hear each and every. We will. It'll be here. So here on Monday, Tuesday night, early morning, whatever case. I don't know how you like to rank your days or your time, but we here each and every Tuesday. So like I said, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, even leave comments, especially when people want it on the YouTube and you don't have to no more. You ain't got to DM me. You can leave your comments and your thoughts on, because that's one of the things I don't like about the podcast app, because you can't leave your opinions and your thoughts in the comment section, but you can now on YouTube. So let's kind of build that community as well, where we can build dialogue on whatever your thoughts is or conversations or topics that we may miss out on, so we can kind of lock that in each and every week. But like I said, like, share, and subscribe.